हेलो चैट, क्या हाल चाल सभी लोगों के? कैसे हो सब लोग? वेलकम टू अनदर स्ट्रीम। क्या हाल है सब लोगों के? बढ़िया हो सब लोग? सब लोग पहले तो फटाफट लाइक करो। पोल डाला हुआ है, पोल पे वोट कर देना, ठीक है, अपने फेवरेट टीम के लिए। आ गए हम लोग लाइव और काफ़ी सही टाइम पे आए हैं क्योंकि टीम एंट्री हो चुकी है। लेट गेट स्टार्टेड लेट अस गेट स्टार्टेड। लेट्स गो एफएनसी। आज भी क्लोज मैच होने वाला है क्योंकि पिछली बार भी एफएनसी केसी से ही हारी थी आई थिंक। साउंड वगैरह सब सही आ रहा है ना?
हाँ सही है।
कोरोड एफएनसी ने पिक किया है। हेवन कोरोड बाइन, ओके। हेवन ही वो मैप है जहाँ पे मतलब एफएनसी हार गई थी। पुराने जख्म याद दिला रहे केसी वाले।
Yeah, and Fnatic pick to start on defense on Haven. Flyer,
it's a statement.
Yeah, what do you think about this choice, and what did you think about their defense?
I mean, in my opinion, or I'll say their defense first. Their defense was definitely very weak. It seems very like free
FNC
and
ने
open.
पहले
Like it doesn't feel like they
डिफेंस
actually have like
लिया
a whole
है,
lot of
ओके।
ideas of like playing together or like set. It's more so just like play on your own. I would say that I think their approach is just get rid of the hard side for them first and then get on the comfortable side. So instantly when they go to attack, they have more control and they'll come back if they're down.
Also, the third map being bind, like I think that Fnatic, you know, they've had a good.
आप लोग किसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हो गाइस? पोल में वोट करके बता देना।
To see that they're like settle on the Lotus, I would like to know how they're feeling about the map because at the end of the day, they're still on the verge of like everything has to be ready for champs.
Yeah, for me though, I think the bind makes sense. They love bind. They've been first picking it a few times as well. But overall though, quite a balanced veto, all things considered.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has like a massive advantage or a massive disadvantage from where they should be at in this veto.
Yeah, I mean, so much comes down to
Hopefully
form
आज
too
काया
when we
कैन
come
और अच्छा
into an
खेले।
elimination match like this. But let's talk about this
Booster
Haven
काया,
because Flyer, of course,
फिर
you're familiar with
अल्फा
KC's
यार,
Haven.
क्रैशिस,
Yeah, talk us through what they do.
क्रॉनिकल।
What is it like being in the
मजा
receiving
आएगा
end?
पूरे टीम को देखने
I
में।
mean, they're super heavy on their attacks, taking garage, just like they like dueling, and on their defense they love flooding. Like they just start everywhere. They start 1-3-1s. They like being on the same site you show instantly. Like there's a lot of manipulation with them. In my
कोई
opinion.
भी
And,
जीते और
they
हारे,
wanna fight
विनर इज
more than
विराट
Yeah, and
कोहली।
I think
ये
both of them are very good at
पोल
it.
पे
He
भी
should do a
विराट
good job on
कोहली
the
को ही
attack
ज़्यादा
side of
वोट है,
reading into that. Like,
जैसे कि हम लोग देख
KC
पा रहे
don't
हैं।
have the rotational tools like in order to kind of fill those gaps. So as soon as they're stacked up in a spot, Bosa should be able to read that and go somewhere else. So I'm looking for that from him today on the attack side.
Yeah, maybe we see more changes potentially because obviously when they played this map, Pyro wasn't there. We know that Sada has moved around, so I want to know if they
केसी
continue
वाले
even with
पुराने
the
जख्म ही
double
याद
duelist.
दिलाना
We
चाहते,
were
बता रही हूँ
Fly,
मैं।
we were speaking about the
हेवन
gambles,
से
no,
शुरू
the
कर रहे हैं,
angles of
देख
the
रहे हो आप
strong
लोग?
keys at kickoff and just being surprised. So I wonder if in just 1 week he can do all of this because as we said, it's do or die for them.
It is, and KC, if it's any team that could do that, not even a week, a day, it is them, you know, they're not afraid to make changes, they're not afraid to be weird. And as we take a look at Agent Select, I even want to know if Fnatic changed their comp, because they're not usually the team that do that, they don't sort of, they're not trigger happy about it. And my goodness,
Did
yes.
not lock that.
Yeah, I think he's never going to do this. But yeah, talk me through the Aves over on Phoenix on this map. And of course, that does look like Static will stick to that Cypher as well.
Yeah,
गाइस
exactly.
सब
So
लोग
Pyro
लाइक
will be
कर
going
देना और
in the Sova.
बफर
They do
वगैरह
not
हो रहा है
change
तो
the
बता
composition,
देना,
they just
ठीक
change
है?
the roles there. Let's see how Pyro also as the sole initiator for this team, especially starting on the attack, how he merges with the rest and if he's going to be good support for the duelists.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that, you know, in week 5 we saw that Fartine was no longer there. It was Martine again, and Flyer again, a massive win condition if you have your Yoru Phoenix players shooting on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just, when they build their comps on every map, they go for comfortability. They want these two to fight because of how strong they are individually. And Martine's also picking up the scope more. The off a
पिछले
lot
बार
than
वाले
he was
ही
before, and he's looking really
एजेंट
dangerous on
पिक
it.
है।
I think
हेलो
for me it's gonna be
विक्रम
that Sadak
राठौर,
took back
कैसे
that
हो?
impact
वेलकम टू
versus
द
title
स्ट्रीम,
path.
क्या हाल है?
Usually we talk about it on the attack side, and I think that's going to be interesting. But on the defense, how are they going to problem solve when he's probably towards that C side of the map, and his players are having to deal with Fnatic re-clearing A and doing things there? He's probably not going to be able to input in the same way he usually would on the defense.
And I don't want to hone in more about Fnatic and their defense on Haven, but what I did not show in that Telestrator is what
Start
happened on the
करो
later
जल्दी
rounds,
start
right when the
करो.
map was about to end, and it was Fnatic
एजेंट
just
पिक
being
भी देख लिया है हम लोगों
incredibly
ने. W
aggressive
एजेंट पिक
onto
पे
mid. Speaking of TP and just
दोनों
running
के
out of
सेम
double doors,
परसेंटेज है
just a
देखो.
little bit. I
बट
think that we're seeing a
केसी
desperate
का
team a lot today,
थोड़ा सा
but finding solutions
3 टाइम
later just
प्लेड
because
है.
they couldn't deal with that. I want them to be, whomever wins this map, I want them to be sure of what they're doing. I want to see good adaptation from Fnatic.
और
from what they've
FNC
learned,
का
and
आपका
a good
6
read
टाइम
also from the
प्लेड है
side of
हेवन.
KC, expecting that Fnatic have done their homework.
Yeah, and especially
क्लोज होने
considering
वाला है
KC
ये
are
मैच.
coming into this playoff
देखते हैं
after
आगे क्या होता
beating
है, कौन
Team
जीतता
Liquid.
है आपका.
I think they have to be, you know, in a state of confidence. Maybe this honeymoon period you guys spoke about is going to be activated right now, and I want to activate some casters as well. So over to you, Haza and Cairo.
Thank you, Sue. Yes, it's
लेट्स
a
गो.
long way
क्या
from
बात
home.
है गाइस, सब लोग फटाफट लाइक
VCT
करो पहले तो.
EMEA. 4 wins required against 2 teams that we saw in the top 4 last stage on the gauntlet that they have to run. For KC here, it gets no easier against our previous champions.
No, it doesn't. In the past year or so, we've seen this matchup 5 times. And well, KC's only been able to win it once. That was all the way back in 2024 kickoff. So your automatic favourites.
लेट्स गो. फर्स्ट मैप स्टार्ट होने वाला
Exault,
है.
of course, denying the Juggernaut from returning to the international stage. It was Fnatic at their peak. Our introduction to the
KC
new
must
era
make
of
a run
KC.
to the
Even newer
grand
one here with
finals to
Pyro in
qualify
the
for
face of it.
Paris.
It's a long road to
In
that
their
grand
Waste and
finals, as we know.
FNC,
Kicking
Giant
off
X,
on the
Team
attack
Liquid
side of Haven.
and
It's
or
a bold pick
BBL.
to make
Okay.
against Fnatic.
All teams
One
they
they're hoping
have
is gonna
not
pay off.
beaten.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Fnatic decide to start on the defender side as well. Get the difficult one done early doors and trying to
अगर
fight
केसी को
all
क्वालिफाई
for
करना है
the
तो
lobby.
उनको इस स्टेज के फाइनल्स में होना पड़ेगा. डब्ल्यू बूस्टर क्या मारा है.
Really getting involved with a lot of the jewels on their attack side last time for Fnatic, but immediately setting
अभी
the
भी
tempo. and
सुइगेत्सु है.
KC fully crunched.
Yeah, Alpha here on the flag. Both players not looking. Sugetsu turns.
सुइगेत्सु अकेला रह गया. अभी बूस्टर ने अच्छे फ्रैग निकाले यार.
Still look for a way towards one of the sides.
Inclined as it stands, but back into 3 players on the Fnatic side.
हेलो सॉरी सो गुड. क्या हाल है? लाइक वगैरह फटाफट करो. चुपचाप एकदम. ये विराट कोहली को वोट करने वाले कौन है? ये बढ़िया था. हमारी ऐसी किस्मत नहीं होती है. ओ माय गॉड, अभी से देख रहे हो, अभी से एक्साइटेड है. मैं स्ट्रीम में आके लाइक ना करूं, ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? ये बताओ आज कौन जीतेगा, FNC या KC? भाई विराट कोहली को वोट करके रखे 67% पे है, देखो. ओम, अरे अल्फा यार क्या हो गया? ओके ओके, सेकंड राउंड में पायरोल अकेला है, मार्शल उठा लिया है. विराट कोहली जीतेगा, क्या बात है. गुड प्रिडिक्शन. अभी तो मतलब ये सब ऑनलाइन गेमिंग माने ये क्या बोलते हैं, बेट वेट लगाने वाले ये सब इंडिया में बैन हो रहे. नहीं तो मैं बोलती उधर प्रिडिक्ट करना. ये सब गाइस गलत चीजें भी है, गैम्बलिंग ये सब जो भी चीजें. अरे बाप रे, ये करना क्या चाहता था पायरो? ड्रीम 11, हाँ वही, और भी बहुत सारे ऐसे आई थिंक, पता नहीं क्या क्या ऐप से. मैं तो ज़्यादा ड्रीम 11 का ही वो देखती हूँ. हमारे इधर तो कब से बैन था, इधर चलता ही नहीं था. और मैं कभी ये सब क्या बोलते रहते दोस्त लोग, 49 रुपये कभी नहीं. मेरे जैसा हगा पेरोल भाई, वो आई थिंक नाइफ करने कुछ तो चाहता था वो, वरना मार्शल से उधर से ये लोग जितने प्रो है ना, विदाउट स्कोप विद स्कोप मार ही देते हैं. ना ना पुश नहीं, अल्फा उधर ही बैठो. हाँ नाइस गाइस, सब लोग लाइक कर दो फटाफट, कम ऑन. और ये 67% लोग विराट कोहली को वोट करें.
The calling will be different fundamentally for Sadak on the Cypher, a role which he previously played towards the beginning of his career. And now grouped up with the Spike at his side, Pyro starting to work the C long space. Repositioning in garage as Crashies catches info on the
नहीं
other
क्रैशिश
extremity.
को ये फाइट नहीं लेना चाहिए. FNC और KC नो बट विराट कोहली यस अच्छा.
Alpha needs to be careful about his positioning. Thinking about a recommitment towards the mid space, but Sugetsu is holding on to it.
पुश नहीं करना चाहिए था ये. एज अ ब्रोंज भी मैं बोलती हूँ पुश नहीं करना चाहिए था. आने दो इनको. ट्रैप एजेंट्स बहुत ज़रूरी होते हैं. आप लोग मतलब साइफर वगैरह जो लोग खेलते हो ना बहुत ज़रूरी होते हो एंड तक. एक साइड का मतलब वो नहीं देखना पड़ता है जब ऐसे एजेंट्स होते हैं.
And KC need to make a move. It's going to be the C site where Boaster is, and there's a couple of players very close by.
I think Crashies has spotted this.
ये राउंड तो
Boaster
KC
teeing
का
up the blind side,
होगा.
gets the first of the kills off the back of the paranoia, and Crashies right behind it. 10 seconds. Spike only now
मैं
going
कमबैक
in.
कर रहा
Flank
हूँ
has been
वापस
detected.
वैलोरेंट में. अब
From on the scene, KC
बहुत हो गया
starts to fight towards the
सन्यासी.
defender
वाह.
spawn.
Yeah, there's also a dart that Crashies
Nice.
can use to set up Kron as well if he can get into position in time.
From behind this Viper wall, it does feel like a good opportunity to split the post plant that is currently sat on site, but
Sadak
from
ने
the
मारा.
corner, resolute with the
और
rifle
आज
in
मैंने
hand now. Kron has work to do to try
कंपोजिशन
and
एंड
at least create a
इफेक्ट्स
bit of
वगैरह
damage here,
सीख
but
के
it's going to
आफ्टर
be too much
इफेक्ट्स
to
में
ask of him.
स्लोली कर रहा हूँ
And
सब.
KC
नाइस.
will have liftoff on Haven.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that we've seen already in terms of what we expect from this match. You were speaking about the garage and how important that can be for KC, but also talking about Kukuka's telestrator segment that she did and the mid aggression as well.
अभी दोनों टीम पे बाय है.
Speaking of that,
कजक
we've
को
already
क्या
seen
हो
it from
गया?
Fnatic, and
मेरे
KC
को डर
well up
लगने
to the
लगता है.
challenge and well
कजक को
aware
उठा दो
of
कोई.
what Fnatic's priorities are.
कायाक उठ जाओ.
Finds itself directly linked to what the Killjoy setup is, and there are two players in garage reinforced by the Viper Wall from Kron.
ऑपरेटर किधर है? नाइस. देखा बोलते ही सुन लिया उसने. सुन लिया कायाक ने सुना. देखो गाइस
Finding that first
ऐसे
kill,
बोलना चाहिए आप लोगों को. मैंने देखा कि 1 किल पे मैंने बोला कायाक उठा मारा.
immediately catches our attention. That quick double on A has forced a quick
3v4
reaction.
FNC के लिए पॉसिबल तो है.
Players for Fnatic trying to flood over, but there's plenty of bodies for KC to overwhelm the site if needed.
Trying to get there, but it's a slow creep towards the site. Kayak's already arrived with the op in hand.
It's a glass cannon op.
How much value could he possibly get from this position? KC completely stalled out. And with
अरे
Kayak on the angle,
थोड़ा सा और दिख
Martin
जाता ना
to win
कायाक
the
को
fight.
तो मार देता
Has his
ऑफ
number
से.
this time. Kron still playing behind the cloud. Break of the dart, and KC reconsider.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so much time to play with. Why would you try and exec into a site where all
गाइस
Fnatic
कम ऑन
players
सब लोग
are?
लाइक
But
करो.
as ever, Fnatic on the prowl, trying to be proactive and trying to get to C site
सी
first.
जा rहे हैं
But
अभी.
Alpha is.
The Viper wall is up as well. It's only going to help aid Althea make this crossing. Safe passage backside. Martin to try and open up the play. Has he been left unconsidered? It seems to be the case, but Martin does
मार्टिन
with
का
the
ऑलमोस्ट
focus
एसी
score.
था.
Kron finished off
2-2,
by the shot
nice.
dart, and it's a tied game
मार्टिन का
outside the
एस
first
था.
4
4 किल.
rounds.
नाइस प्ले.
KC responding in the rifle.
And I think the
पुराने
big thing
जख्म कुछ
already
याद आ
as
रहे
well
गाइस?
is
पुराने जख्म.
performance-wise, Martin is top of the pops. I mean, you think of the last
ये
two
बढ़िया
rounds,
हमारा
Alpha
ब्लाइंडेड
has
भी
been
था.
able
देख
to
रहे हो
find-
गाइस?
Why not?
Yeah. And a 4K from this round just shows you
सारी गलती एनवी की है. वाह.
the
यार, मेरी
performance
कैसे
just shows
गलती?
you, like, he's ready for this playoff run, which
चैट में
Carmine
बोला जा
Core
रहा है.
really need.
We need to see that
सारी
consistency
गलती
from
इसकी
him
है.
because you say he's
अरे
taken
कायाक
the
को
ball and
क्या
it
हो
is
गया?
through the
उठाओ
4K
उसको
which he
कोई.
just picked up, but that has to
इस
channel
राउंड
round
तक
and
तो
round.
हम
We
लोग
do get it
आसमान में
here.
होते थे.
The outlaw out for punishment. Alves
बेचारा.
watching Ceylon, collecting
यार.
Kayak. Fnatic down to their last 3
ऐसे ना
members.
एनवी भाई आप बुली करेंगे ना. वाह.
These pushes have been foiled so far by KC. And to carry
यार
on the
मुझे
Martin
थोड़ा थोड़ा वॉच
conversation,
पार्टी में हंसी
yeah,
आना
we're
लगा.
going to look at his stats in just a little bit, but it's the last couple games where
ये
we
जो
have started to
एजेंट्स
see
लोग
him
जो गिर के
bring
मरते
those
हैं ना,
numbers back
जैसे
up.
गिरते एक
It's
बार
the
इमेजिन करो
decision-making for
स्लो
me, though,
मोशन
which
में
is
ऐसे
most
चाटा
pivotal
पर गया
in
सीधा ऐसे गिर
making
गए.
sure that he
हंसी
stays
आएगी आपको.
at the
मैं
top
अभी
level,
जस्ट कायाक
which is
को बोल रही
ultimately
थी
what
खेलो
KC
खेलो, वो
need if
आगे
they're to
जाके
have any
उसको भी
chance of this
टपली
chance
पड़ी.
run.
Yeah,
ऐसे
and I
गिरा है,
think as
मुझे
well,
हंसी आने
coming out
लग गई.
of last year, 2024, people were saying Martin probably like top 3, top 4 duelists in the region, right? This year has fallen to the wayside, and for a
मुझे
player that I
लग रहा है
was really
थोड़ा थोड़ा
excited
नो
about coming
ये
from Zoto,
हेवन
seeing you
एफएनसी
try
के लिए
to
वीक
support
पॉइंट
those
बनता
players
जा रहा है.
coming up, I just felt like, I don't know, there was a lot more to be desired when it came to his performances.
30 seconds left.
The round still at play, and while the clock is running down, it isn't Fnatic on the attack. KC have taken their time, but assessed the options and found the A site.
इको राउंड है फेनेटिक का, तो ये राउंड भी केसी को ही मिल सकता है अनलेस 50 हो जाए.
The smoke poster finally reveals his position. Flood out covered. Alves has it handled
Nice
well.
play by
KC
KC.
now in the lead. That was the half invest from Fnatic, of course. This is where you expect them to fuck up their ideas, especially with ults.
दोनों डुएलिस्ट का
Yeah,
अल्ट है
100%.
केसी में,
You've got
योरू
Lock
एंड
down there,
फिनिक्स.
Martin with a dimensional drift. Obviously, they run it back for Aves. So, Carmichael, you can argue, have the better of the scope of ultimates.
एक राउंड सक्सेसफुली हार गया. वाह.
As well. Sure, the result against Koi was strong. Fnatic playing the same opponent and narrowly getting over the line in comparison to the dominance we saw from the French side. Looks like a quick pace change. Alves right into Garage with the run it back.
And also, he's got the fake clone, the Euro clone, to try and fake steps as well.
Okay. So it will be a B
थैंक
execution
गॉड
with
ये
KC,
थोड़ा
and there is a
पीछे आया
penalty that
आवेश,
they'll look to
वरना क्रॉनिकल का पता नहीं 50-50 हो जाता उधर.
The extremities here, Alpha close
कुछ
by.
ब्लाइंड वाइन
See
कर
Kaya
देता,
looking
फिर
to
मार
poke
देता,
the
तो
prod towards
4v5.
that lobby as well. So while the spike goes down, KC are losing a lot of map control at the same time.
बी साइट
Maybe
एक्चुअली
waiting to get
ओपन है,
Martin
बट
involved, has the
एक्चुअली
dimensional
अच्छा
drift,
भी
but
है
the
फॉर
Dsouza's
ओपन
lockdown
प्लान.
from
फिर
Alpha
बाहर आ जाओ,
forces
बाहर
plays
से
towards
इधर उधर
Garage. Big
देखो.
fight about to go down with the ult now in play.
Still a trap there for KC to get that extra information if needed, and they're trying to explore elsewhere. KC get one back, make that two, make that three. And it's
भाई
Pyro to do it. Caught out again.
क्रॉनिकल अकेला
Trying to make
बेचारा.
his way
ओ
through,
माय
but
गॉड.
you look at the position of
ये
the
लोग
last
तो
two
फुल
players,
मेरे
there's
जैसा
no
प्रो
way
खेल
that
रहे हैं.
Kron
तुम्हारा
should have a chance.
शर्म आ रही है तुमको?
Off
एनवी जरा
the
चैट में बोलना
French
इसको
side,
टैग करके.
make it a
Pro.
lead of two.
शर्म नहीं आई
Brilliant
होगी
round
बोलते
from
हुए.
Pyro. The previous week, of course, just him
काया
settling in
को क्या हो
to
गया?
the squad. Precious time spent, every moment on that stage. And KC responding
Sorry,
to
so
a
good
difficult
for a
round set up
mic.
by
ये
Fnatic.
मैंने
Conceded
T-Bone
RT when
बोलता
he
है.
exits his ult, is all the way out on the C side and drops back into deny the diffuser once the
क्रॉनी
spike
का
already been
ऑलमोस्ट राउंड था. अगर एक और जिंदा
Early
रहता.
timeout called on the
स्लोली
Fnatic
स्लोली
side to
बेशरम बन
respond to
रहा हूँ
this.
ना. अरे अरे अरे.
But back to that Pyro conversation. Yeah, it's all about climatizing him as quickly as possible.
एफएनसी का टाइम आउट है गाइस. काया को क्या हो गया? उसके फैमिली वाले नहीं आए क्या?
The opportunity they had to do that.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's also a trial by fire, right?
Nice.
The first game against Team Liquid, that's a tough one.
2-4.
What's your next one gonna be? Pyro, you're playing against Fnatic,
इस
mate, so,
राउंड
like,
को तो हम लोग गाइस सातवें आसमान पे होते थे.
The
आप
fact
लोग
that
बोलो
KC
मैं अगर झूठ बोल
qualified
रही हूँ
to
तो.
the playoff stage before reaching that match, definitely
यार ये हेवन
aids
वाला
their
मैप
preparation,
वीक
and it
पॉइंट
takes you back
बनता
to
जा
what
रहा है
we proposed at the
एफएनसी के
start.
लिए.
Were we going to
और बाकी टीम्स
potentially
यही
see
मैप
them
यूज करके एफएनजी
play
को
their
और
strategy
दबा
out,
देगी.
or wait until these playoff games now where Paris is on the line
या तो
ultimately
इन्हें
to
एजेंट
actually
स्विच
start
मतलब
bringing out a bit
ज़रूरत
more
है लाइक
strategic
सोवा
depth.
की
We
जगह
saw
फेड
a
यूज
semblance
करके.
of that
बट
in the
सोवा
previous
इज
round,
गुड
at
हियर.
least with how they
लाइनअप्स
attacked
बहुत
the ult spin.
काम के आते हैं. केजे की जगह
5 out of
साइफर.
5 from them against Koi. So the first couple of defeats immediately off the pistol, and here you can see, yeah, Fnatic have that kind
डुएलिस्ट
of
में भी अलग
credit
डुएलिस्ट
on
ऐसा
their
मतलब कर
CV.
सकते हैं. या फिर लाइक डुएलिस्ट अल्फा को खेलने दे दे. स्विच करके इन लोग को ये मैप थोड़ा वो करना पड़ेगा.
the history that you've been able to make as an organization. It's about the here and now. They look to try and take it in the here and now as they push in towards the KC backline.
Similar position to what we had before from Kron. This time it's a stinger though. Up close. The clear must be diligent.
Oh,
Kayak's baiting for it, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just been seen. You can see Sadak being lured in, but no, instead goes elsewhere. Still very stagnant from KC though.
ना नहीं निकलना चाहिए. जिधर है उधर ही रहना चाहिए.
Gonna
नाइस.
go looking punished. And there you have it. Fnatic with an opening. And the
हम लोग होते तो
ball from
घुस के
Kayak
पूरा
as
देख के ही
well.
आते.
The supportive utility is
किसी को
superb.
चाय पानी
Puts
तो
out
नहीं
their
चाहिए.
no
पूछ
trouble.
के आते. एस
And
मार
now
दिया.
KC
लेट्स गो
left
एनिमी के
scratching
लिए.
their
वाह.
heads. How do we get numbers back on our side? What do we do to try and make this round in our favour, because with the bodies all in Fnatic's favour, they can start to bundle up now, and you can see that towards the seaside of the map, especially Garage where Kron and Kayak still are.
Not quite getting that information off the cam, but as soon as they go knocking on the door of Garage, it's a reposition from Fnatic. Now ready to receive the B execution.
Crashy's a little bit more hesitant to move any further forward. He's the weak side of this hold.
सेविंग राउंड है इनका, निकल जाए तो अच्छा है.
Towards the left side of B main, the players making their way towards A, get denied by Crashies, but that spike will be going down. Or will it? That's a big hunt
Nice.
for Fury, and manages to get one. That's Fnatic, 3 to the good.
1v4.
Players to get past. He's found his first.
भाई मार्टिन पे भरोसा नहीं कर सकते. नाइस वन. W राउंड. एनिमी टीम बहुत मार रही है यार, मुझे खाओ खाओ मार खाओ. Thrifty by FNC, क्या बात है W.
Thrifty goes Fnatic's way. After that first kill, you're seeing Sadak is playing as part of the pack, and this was another one of the questions I had. With him not taking up many lurks on another 3-site map, Lotus previously, I wondered, is it going to be more of the same here? If he's having to maybe micromanage Pyrol a little bit more as well, does it then make that macro calling a little bit harder for him? Now at the foot of the scoreboard, but I think sort of stats aside, yeah, it was just a really well set up round from Fnatic. They want more of that in middle.
Oh, continuing to force the issue.
Placing swarm grenade.
It is though.
Nice one.
Sadak all on his own with no possibility of being traded, gets caught out.
One of the times you do see the 4-1. Now into Garage.
That Blaze wall's doing so much. The alarm bot can't see the players walking through. Con gets picked up. Poster though, looking for a quick trade.
नहीं यार.
Knows Boaster's tricks well. KC and Fnatic more than familiar.
Operator safe कर रहे.
KC will be taking the lead for themselves, but it's important to address that as well. Maybe not the best example in the round, but these teams have been scrim partners so far in the stage after that opening match for the following weeks. Not expecting to see Fnatic in this lower bracket because, as I said before, it's not something we usually see from them later in a year. In fact, we've never seen Fnatic in a lower bracket in Stage 2. It's only happened a few times in general in EMEA. Lowers in Stage 1 last year and both kickoff events, of course. So,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Stage 2 and Fnatic. Stage 2, they generally...
Nice round by KC.
Final,
अच्छा
right?
खेल रहे
The last time that they
KC.
did so was all the way back in 2021.
jeez, man. Yeah, how much... How much of a feather duster, how big did you need to dust off those history books? Because that's been a long time.
I looked at Tom Biz's Twitter, mate, to be honest.
Usually does the trick. Yeah. Little VLR scoreboard here and there.
Sure.
No harm done. But yeah, we coming out of this round, I think another player to be looking at on the opposite side is going to be Alpha, plying his trade in the second stage, always looking like one of the best players that Fnatic have towards the later end of the year.
Yeah, and I think this is a really good look for him considering the year that he's had, and the fact that people were saying, like, is he up to his best, is he starting to have a performance dip, and straight away as the year progresses, he's back to it.
Crashy's the one to start this round in Fnatic's favour, though. These first engagements have very often indicated the direction of the round. Fnatic only finding their first outside of the opening 2 means that KC have been able to turn these situations
Nice.
on their head.
Chronicle खेल रहा है ये
5
मैच पे.
versus 3 as Kron makes the next incision through B. Has them sat in mid with little options and little space.
So much control for Fnatic, but Boaster being all alone on A. A player that needs to be careful. That could open up that A side of the map for KC to walk into, or at least create a question mark that Fnatic need to re-clear.
Has to be cautious playing by himself. Crashies his duo called over, up in arms on A, but thinks better of it now towards Link.
Yeah, but look how far Martin's getting at the minute.
He has found a lot of space towards A.
A पे
The
यूरो
question
घुस
is,
गया
can
है.
he clear out enough space? Can he find Boaster?
Boaster पकड़ा जाएगा अगर उधर से आके इसने पिक ले लिया तो.
Themselves, moving more players, more bodies towards this site.
The timing's
Yeah.
insane. Boaster doesn't know, and he's been found by Martin. That should allow the spike to make its way on towards site. There's a little bit of a gap in timing to allow the spike down easy enough. But where does KC go with a post plant?
नाचो नाचो ढिंचिक
Still two
ढिंचिक आओ
flashes left
डिस्कॉर्ड
here
पे
for
कैमरा
KC.
शेयर
One of the
करके
moves by
नाचो
Martin to take that aggressive fight. Sugetsu notes the flank. They should be looking towards defender spawn now.
The time and the delay, it's going to not work in Fnatic's favour. They want all three players here, and with Alpha so far away, it's going to allow
अरे
Martin
क्या
to play
खेल
in
रहा है
the smoke.
मार्टिन 2v2
Two apiece, more utility being sent forward, and that smoke going allows Alpha the next kill. Sugetsu now needs to clutch up a clean
अरे
headshot.
सुगेत्सु बहुत
Leaves them
अच्छा
in a
खेलता है
1 versus 1 against Alpha. The spike looking to be half, but Sugetsu looking to try and find the next fight. But it goes Alpha's way.
हो गया क्या अरे नहीं
It's not going to be close.
टाइम नहीं था
A Red Bull clutch for Sugetsu. Playing the time
3-6.
all the way down. That second tap not baited for. So a slip through the fingers of Alpha is brilliant work from Martin to kick this round off. And these are the moments that you're putting under scrutiny. If he can find the right fight, and he does. The skin of their teeth, KC staying in front and building on that
यार
lead.
केसी वाले अच्छा खेल रहे हैं कायक को पता नहीं क्या हो गया
रियल जैसे खेल रहे
And that should have been the second. Let's be honest. Should have brought them within one, but now the gap
Next VP.
to 3. KC on this attack side really getting momentum that it's going to allow them to put themselves in a good position for the second half. Ultimate's available though for Fnatic and KC. Depends where they want to use them.
For the time being, it looks like the attack is gearing up towards the C site. Very exposed turret in front of the Viper wall from Alpha to just check for any player presence. Yet to register. Meantime, Martin is trying to fake A as much as he possibly can. This Euro has usually been a telegraph for where KC look to plot their course.
आई थिंक बी नहीं तो सी जाएंगे ये
Still
लोग
very reserved in the mid round. This is what Sadak was brought into the team for, his effectiveness at these stages of the game, but still a stalemate.
And you look at Fnatic, previously in rounds were being proactive, this time round very reserved. We're going to get the dimensional drift on towards B, where Boaster sits above. He's been identified and picked up. Unfortunate, Hunter's Fury in towards C-Link. It isn't quite connecting.
Will land one of those pulses at the very least. Kayak and Crashies clamping on
वेटिंग
down.
वीसी
Spike
मस्त
still
है
not yet
वैसे
planted,
वेटिंग
but
वीसी
they're
अरे है ही
still
नहीं हम
on.
वो डिस्कॉर्ड पे दूसरे
Finally
डिस्कॉर्ड
will be. And yeah, as you said, Viper's pit deployed
Nice,
straight away
Alpha.
and one back towards Fnatic.
Plant in though. KC will just be looking for spam. Crashies
पीछे से
can
आ गया
alleviate all of his
Crashies
pressure.
नाइस
And does. Big pick. Now the player's distracted in B. And Crashies knows about
Nice.
Sugetsu, trying to flank him. He's doing this all by himself and calling for players to get on the spike. But Abez is denying it.
No half.
It's not, but finally it will be. And now the players looking up Fnatic to
नाइस
find the
4
best
किल
place to
क्रैशिश
roll.
क्या
But
बात
is
है
there enough time
कोई
for
ना
Crash
इधर
to
से ही
finish
मस्ती
this?
करूंगा ये
He's going to be able to get it over the line, and Fnatic will find another round through a retake. It is one which they paid
4-6,
a hefty
nice.
price for. 3 of their ultimates spent. But I think you take that trade.
सारी
almost every
एनवी
day of
की
the week
गलती
with
है
how
ये
some of these
देखो
rounds have been playing out.
I mean, Crashies is doing God's work on this
क्रैशिस
flank.
ने अच्छा
मेरी-
खेला 4 किल
so weird.
Not what they expected from
अरे
the
भाई
previous reps that they'd got, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely not.
So we will see
है सारी
the second
गलती
time
एनवी
out of
की
this first half, and this time it finds itself painted
हैं
in
टाइम आउट
KC
ले लिया
Blue, wanting to maximize their returns, heading on to the defender's side, which looked better for them, arguably. An 8-4 against Koi.
Yeah.
Checking in with the coaching staff, they have ults to
ये
build
देखो
around.
सारी
Fnatic, of course,
गलती यही
investing
लिख
theirs
रहे
in
हैं
the previous.
I think with this match as well, like we spoke about Pyro and his trial by fire, I think as well KC playing against Team Liquid being able to win that out. This is how they go and prove that that wasn't a one-off, right? Going and beating Fnatic, starting their lower bracket run perfectly, and against you think towards the next stage, GX, right? They're on a little bit of form of their own, and a completely winnable game for Carmine Core.
Yeah, I think that's the one difference between KC's run and some of the other teams that we've seen in a similar position. BBL have been showing their results since kickoff, and GX have grown throughout the group stages, pulling off a number of upsets along the way. KC, on the other hand, have to build from the ground up. The roster change and the consequences that brings just leads back to the narrative in the previous week. How long does the honeymoon phase last?
Open all the way to Paris.
The city of love.
Yeah.
Perfect for a honeymoon.
Yeah, that it is. Spike down and straight into a post plant. Very early doors. Fnatic now have to pick up. And where do they go for this retake?
बाहर B plant हो
Committed mostly towards
B
the
side
C
अच्छा है plant के
There's
लिए.
doubling down though with this run it back. Alfia's going to spot him and chalk off a lot of the HP. Molly at the feet, sets up Sadak, converts.
क्या मारा है अरे
But finally Fnatic have to get their hands busy. Kayak flooding out to create some of this space. There's no second layer, no flank this time. They're fully reliant, being able to dissuade the players that face them down. Abbas new lease of life back out of the ult. Another kill for him, and numbers in their favor until
Crashes
steps on the scene again. 3 kills from him, but it still might not
अरे
suffice.
Time
करना
था
पड़ेगा.
नहीं हुआ.
It's Pyro to bail them out again.
4-7 but टाइम आउट क्यों लिया इन्होंने तो जीतते रहे ना.
Utility simulator, so many flashes, so much to just throw at their opponents, and also the fact that they're trying to upset the
This story is
retake
so
by
good, कुछ
playing on the front foot, using the run it back to stop anybody getting out of garage. And yeah, I mean, brilliant from Pyro to get that double at the end. 7-4 is the scoreline we find ourselves at. KC
ये राउंड FNC को मिल सकता था, but B side का प्लान बहुत ओपन होता है.
Half of the kills that Pyro has so far have been in clutch situations.
आज आपकी ओपी देख के शॉक हो गया. क्या मस्ती है, मस्त है ना. और एक बाकी है, रुको. 5-6 निकाल लिए थे उसमें तो.
This half is yet
एक क्लिक करी है वो.
completed, and Chronicles already found the first of those kills. Kayak fighting from sight. KC trying to retake this space, and Alves doing a brilliant job, but the backline has been compromised.
It has, and there's Alpha with a rifle here. The players now trying to search towards CT.
पता लग गया
Being
जो
the sole player to do so. It's not really finding much.
Nice one.
Alves gets caught, and now it is on Sadak, the captain to clutch it.
CS to join करते ही VCT जैसी परफॉर्मेंस फुल आई.
There is no way back for him
ये
now.
नाइफ बहुत
Alfia
बढ़िया है यार.
closing the net. Sadak boxed in, running through.
Nice one, 7-5.
साइफर जो नाइफ लेकर घूम रहा है बढ़िया.
Brilliant recovery from Fnatic in the last few.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good half for both teams. Let's be honest, Fnatic, who's decided to start on the defender side, move on to the attack where we know that they can thrive. That's the big thing here. The second half is what's going to make it. And well, we got some thoughts from Crashes on his
7-5 क्लोज है.
Fnatic.
अभी देखते हैं अटैकिंग FNC का कैसे करते हैं.
Getting along with the team.
वो मेन है.
Another international grand final.
2 राउंड कम बैक मारना पड़ेगा. 2 राउंड
पिस्टल राउंड मिल गया तो हो जाएगा. FNC को पिस्टल राउंड चाहिए बस. 7-7 हो जाएगा.
Like accomplished our regional like dominance, I would say. It'd be nice to go back to back, but we're really looking forward like to champs and prepping for champs. So going into playoffs, there's not really much pressure for us. We're just gonna play, practice some stuff, and you know if we can win, then it's great. But yeah, not too much pressure or anything.
Nice. Alright, we got our round. We got our round. Let's go, boys. Are you sure you don't want to show the kills, Zoya?
First year VCT EMEA was definitely interesting. Never really thought I would like fly
चलो मैं
across the
चलता
country
हूँ.
and compete in like another
खाना
region.
खाना है, बाद में
Especially to
आता
win
हूँ
my
फिर.
first,
ओके
like,
बाय बाय.
regional
स्टोरी सो
champion in
गुड.
another
खा
region.
लो.
It's
Bye.
very surreal to me even to think about it now. But I definitely say like it was a successful year so far. Obviously the year's not over, but yeah, definitely successful leading up to this point.
A player who is
Bye
starting
bye,
to hit the
bye
levels
bye.
we know he's capable of.
Bye
But
bye.
even then, contrasting it to the previous week, the series we saw from Crashies, the BBL game, probably his worst performance so far this stage. Hoping that we get more of that from him at Champs, though. You can get your tickets now, of course, using the QR code. We had a few more allocated recently, so make sure that you find yourself there. Kayak the goat in the boat.
Yeah. And that's the big thing, right? The Orange and Black going to find themselves there, but they want to find themselves in a decent spot in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely, and to carry on that Crashy's point as well, I think the last time we saw him really suffer as much as he did last time out was in the G2 game, maybe getting a little bit in his own head against regional rivals, and with the BBL match as well, also bringing its own situational pressures. You've seen that already alleviated here. 15 and 7 heading now onto their attack side.
Attacking में अच्छा खेल ले यार.
The best from
FNC.
Fnatic.
Starting towards A lobby, and KC up to the challenge, trying to fight through Chronicle's Viper wall, and Fnatic actually found themselves.
बंदा
Makes
पूछा
the
आगे.
party, wins that first fight.
वो क्या मारा है?
Martin's still hanging around.
Yes, he wants
Low
that
aim
trade
it.
and gets it. Backs away.
अरे
Fnatic already
trade
so
हो गया.
far up A long.
It's a long rotation here for KC.
Yeah, and Pyro found the players squirming out, manages to escape.
Nice.
Can't quite get the pick.
अरे
Martin
मार्टिन ही
still
खेल
holds
रहा है
on
इनका.
towards short, and Kayak has set his sights on
Nice.
finding him, and does. That should allow the spike to go down.
मार्टिन को ही निकाल.
Fnatic looking for extra information on the last two.
The King of Pistol won't be outdone here. And with numbers on Fnatic's side, they've set up post, but still thinking about a potential flank with how long Martin was able to hold it down in sewers.
Yeah, there's absolutely no utility really that KC can use. Perhaps waiting for Sugetsu's smoke to chain their way out.
Looking for the contact on Kayak here.
Yeah, and well, Kron playing off him as well, trying to clear the corners and does so. This gets worrying.
हाय ये सुगत्सु मतलब
Against Sugetsu.
वो है.
Time waste, time waste, time waste.
That's all Crashes needs to play with.
एक प्लेयर होता ही है, एक प्लेयर होता ही है जो
वाह.
सारा वो कर देता है, पलट देता है.
नहीं होगा ना. हो गया 6-7.
राउंड तो आ गया बट एक प्लेयर होता ही है गाइस जो पूरा राउंड पलट सकता है.
Screams all the signs of a KG elimination match that you'd expect with KC's Paris hopes on the line. Martin does excellently well in holding on to Suez for as long as he did, and you can see that reflected in Fnatic's post plant. Something which coming out of Toronto, they did want to try and work on, because it had been a bit of an issue on this map specifically. But now you're just thinking about how much momentum can they build up early. KC all classics.
Yeah, but all five
एक
on
साथ ही
A long.
जाएंगे, एक साथ ही जाएंगे.
That's a blue wall.
Yeah, it certainly is.
पूरा लाइन पे
Facing the
खड़े हैं
wrong way,
उधर.
though. Guess if you were to
पूरा लाइन से खड़े उधर.
take it, but
कष्ट.
yeah, no, quite literally. Chronicle is weaving his way around.
लाइन से खड़े हिल ही नहीं रहे हो.
Careful against Sugetsu though, so ball back up. Ooh, plenty of toxins to get out with.
You know, I was critiquing the
ये देखो
craftsmanship,
पूरा लाइन
but
से खड़े.
that's a sturdy wall. They've not moved after that first player spotted. And it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many more of those do we want to potentially pick up? Alpha has spotted some targets at the very least, and
Yeah,
from the Fnatic perspective here, you're looking at building up ults.
saving grace though, realistically, was just a pistol player, right? That was Kron found, and all the other weaponry was on that C side with the spike ticking away. I don't even think KC are really going to attempt to retake this, and would rather just.
अभी इधर खड़े हैं 3 लोग एक साथ. एक
But
साथ
this is
खड़े
exactly
हैं
what
भाई.
you want to do on a round such as this. And when you
Power
talk
of
ults,
friendship,
one
power
thing
of
for KC that
friendship.
you're always going to be thinking about, and made up a lot of the previous half, was Ave's low-cost run it back, just 6 ult points, the
Yeah.
cheapest in the game, and Martin already halfway to the dimensional drift. You're wondering, how can they partner up best as possible? 2 duelists that can flash. I mean, we don't really see Phoenix all too much, but if you take away Alpha here, it's just 2 rifles in the next. It's exactly what it'll end up being, so
7-7 हो गया. बोली थी मैं बस पिस्टल राउंड FNC को चाहिए फिर
All
इक्वल हो
even
जाएगा.
coming into what will be the first rifle round, and in fact it looks like both sides will have a fair amount of it.
Ooh, 4 ifs. Now we know. 5-8, boys.
But the threat was identified and dealt with in the end. This looking like a pretty strong bonus, all things considered, for Fnatic. KC, once again, starting with bodies on a long, trying to push them out of lobby. Fnatic are very quickly crossed behind their own toxic screen.
They have, and Martin's been left all alone on A to hold this down. Sure supported by Cypher Utility.
It screams retake setup to me when you look at the TP in the cam, but
that's a big pickup though in terms of information for Fnatic. It's only Kron being seen, and he's usually the luck player like they saw on the last round. So you look at the setup, and KC are leaning so heavy towards C.
Sadak will have notification of this push in with his trap, but Martin fakes the TP. He's committed to long.
Yeah, he's tried to commit to the fight, and it's Fnatic who's won every single one. A site opened, Spike can go down, and even enough time for Crash.
फिर भी एक आधा प्लेयर ऐसे ना पूरा राउंड पलट सकते हैं वो लोग.
Carmine Core will reconsider here and not put any further effort in trying to change the round outcome. It has been settled. Fnatic finding 8 and moving in front in this map of their opponent's choice. And while we have a moment to look at the veto here as well, it is different from what we saw between the two teams before. Bind, one which was previously played, but the addition of Corrode for Fnatic and just that one previous match against BBL, the one positive really to take from it last time out, I think is scary if you're KC.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Fnatic have been suffering from success, let's be honest, with the amount that they've played. We've already spoken about that. And I think coming out of that BBL game, there was a lot more question marks than exclamation marks.
8-7 एक राउंड के लीड पे FNC है.
Right now it seems as if with this performance,
Hopefully ऐसे लीड पे जा के जीत जाए FNC.
It's the goal for them to rectify as much as possible. If they were to go out today, it would definitely be seen as a failure, despite the fact that the core objectives of this mission in Stage 2 have changed. KC with their second timeout. It's an early one in this second half right now.
Early timeout ले लिया है
but I heard
KC
someone
ने.
shout because they need it, and I think that's probably fairly accurate of an assessment. If you want to come up here and take my job, you can.
Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't mind that actually. Just
what, we have like a fan come in and
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Do a competition for it?
Yeah, I should stop giving them airtime. It hasn't stopped. But as we do dive back in, it is a bonus converted, and we see not yet challenged. You can see the frustration from Eng, someone who selflessly said he would remove himself from the setup if they didn't believe, they didn't trust in his ways to carry them through this lower run. But it's what has been asked of the team. And just looking at it here, someone else they've got to get past. Alpha is having a pretty good showing so far.
Yeah,
he knows what it means to go to an international event.
Knows how to win one as well. Knows how to hold down the fort, clutch up if needed in a grand final.
Yeah, we've seen it. But no icebox in the veto and no icebox in the upcoming champs. So no double spray downs perhaps, but who knows? KC immediately putting the pressure on. Out of the timeouts, love to immediately set the tempo, and you can see that with Martin buried at the bottom of mid, a TP to escape if needed.
There's a time limit on this position, right?
There is. You would still feel though that he would want to retain this positioning when you look at the rest of the team and this overcommitment towards the A site. Something else that the desk was discussing is how KC do like to flood as much as possible.
That first TP gone, repositioned, and this time you look at C, it's so much more open because there's not going to be a quick rotate towards that.
यार ये वाली नाइट 5 years हुआ की मास्टर्स की नाइट
वही बोल रहा था मैं तो
बढ़िया बढ़िया लगता है यार ये.
Still a sense of comfort in how he's set up here. KC recollecting information on A, remaining stalwart in their positions. 3 blue shirts ready for
A
Fnatic.
पे अभी heavy fielding है. 3 लोग हैं A पे.
The fact that they've sat here for so long, and now there's more bodies working over. This looks like it could be a 5 versus 5 site take.
But still, a surplus of utility for Fnatic to escalate their efforts towards the KC stronghold on A. The blue wall built yet again, but cannot crumble if the road to Paris is to be a success.
Nice, ult से clear करा भाई.
Alves getting sprayed with bullets, but it's Pyro.
Plant के लिए time ही नहीं है इतना.
Stepping up, Boaster low, has to respect the wall. There's no time for the plant to come in. KC have stood their ground and stood it successfully. 3 players on their feet. And the scoreline resolved equal once more.
The fact that they get the payoff, Carmine Core, from just staying on that east side, not moving. I mean, Fnatic, sure they break the Cypher cam, but as they come in towards the site, the usual wait for the third like kind of regeneration of utility, that third set that we usually see in rounds is what ends up undoing them.
Sticking to their call as well, but
8-8 हो गया एक बार.
Consistency, that word which we continue to throw around for KC, and their pickups on this defender's side. That the first, of course. This time Martin left with Cypher util. A repetition in how this defense is functioning. It's Martin catches visual on Chronicle, and as you said before, starting to build up a picture of what this attacking default looks like for Fnatic.
Lucky boy to be getting away with his life there, Martin.
Full face check.
Havez in the corner though. Could have a curveball to set up Sugetsu from long.
It's even played the other way around. You have this deep deposit now. Havez detached from the rest. Alpha still prowling outside front B, and as you see,
B
Fnatic
पे
starting
जा
to
सकते हैं,
congregate
but
towards A.
काफी
You think
open है
that's
वो
the late
side.
lurk. But no, Boaster, spike on his back. Joining up with his team.
Hello पीयूष, कैसे हो आप? Welcome to the stream. क्या हाल है?
Is only there. Kayak as well is the only attacking player. Might have heard that TP. Still 20 seconds left. Fnatic need to make a move.
Time बहुत कम है. Plan कर पाएंगे? Frags भी नहीं निकाले हैं और time इतना कम है, देखो. इतना time कम में push करेंगे तो यही होगा. भाई नहीं, बहुत मतलब टाइम बहुत वो कर रहे हैं. क्या हो गया है FNC को? उठो FNC,
Not
उठो.
from the prowess that we know of all the players on the FNC side. With that being said, I think we could be start to move very quickly in towards timeout territory, because let's be honest, right? KC, sure, in this round have done very well to get their deep deposits, but I don't think Fnatic have done enough to undo what KC want to do.
9-5.
I wholeheartedly agree that you expect Boaster. He is one of the best, if not the best, callers in the world on this map specifically. It's been around.
Thank you पीयूष for the 50 donation. क्या बात है W? मैं edit कर दूंगी, रुको जरा, मेरा screen shared है ना पूरा. Guys, पीयूष open the chat कर दो. हमें सीधा donation क्या है UPI पे ₹50, huge donation. Thank you so much. पीयूष open the chat कर दो, come on. जल्दी जल्दी सब लोग पीयूष ओपी इन द चैट कर दो. मैं इधर डोनेशन गोल पे ऐड अप कर दूंगी. पीयूष ओपी कर दो जल्दी जल्दी, कम ऑन.
Milan and the Fnatic side that have been speaking highly of Scott. We've seen it from previous teams that he's been on as well, and I mean Milan, the job that he's done as well since the start. You can't just speak about Scott and what he's done.
It's not much, but it start for something big. Piyush, thank you so much for your support, means a lot. छोटा से छोटा डोनेशन भी हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट होता है. Thank you so much for the support. आपने इतना सोचा और आपने करा भी. Thank you so much, means a lot. Piyush OP, Piyush Jod OP. ये W chat W. यार FNC कैसे हार सकता है?
They try to fight out Garage to get the value from it, but Crashes needs to escape. Too low to have another fight.
KC एक राउंड के लीड पे है, देखो.
With how Martin's been performing so far, I don't know if that's the trade you perhaps want to take, and with A now looking like it might need to be recovered from KC. It's the missing ultimate as well,
मैं
which
इतना भी
poses to
कुछ
be a
खास
further
नहीं,
issue.
अरे अरे
They're
अरे
still flanking though.
सब लोग खास होते हैं यार.
Space that Fnatic have found at the same time. As Crashies
हाँ,
looks to
weak,
stand up to
थोड़ा
the
सा weak हो
flag.
गया,
It
कोई ना.
doesn't work out, and now the front two players, or at least the front one of Poster, tries to find something back. and
अभी
it doesn't work.
10-8 हो जाएगा. केसी वाले जीत
KC
रहे हैं ये
coming
मैच.
out of the
क्या
timeout,
खेलता है यार
looking
सुगेत्सु.
rejuvenated,
Oh my
a
god.
slight tweak in terms of their own positioning. Bold
मार्टिन
call to make to go and
सुगेत्सु
fight right
आवेश
now
क्या
Garage,
खेलते
but
हैं
it's well
भाई.
supported. Paranoia and the blind side. Aves continues that move onwards as the round
बहुत अच्छा खेल
continues.
रहे केसी वाले, देखो.
When it expires, KC more ults, more control.
वेरी वेरी अनपॉसिबल लग रहा
Yeah,
है.
the fact that they come out of that timeout with
केसी अच्छी टीम है. हाँ वही ना, अभी बीबीएल भी अच्छी टीम बन गई है.
And now they come out the better of it.
मैग्नम वगैरह क्या खेलते हैं.
One off that run it back.
Still with a dimensional drift. as
इनफैक्ट
Martin
जाइंट
has
एक्स भी कल बहुत अच्छा
reprised
खेले.
his
टीएल
role
जीत
in
के ले गया,
Garage,
बट बहुत
TP
अच्छा
towards
खेले वो लोग
backside
भी.
C. Alpha perhaps the first to test. Fnatic queuing up into his position.
कल क्या हुआ बीबीएल का. बीबीएल वाले जीत गए ना.
Oh, no, there's so many bodies.
बीबीएल ही जीता
Martin's
कल.
able to escape. Haves maybe dancing with the devil a little bit too much. KC have deposited a lot of bodies to respond to Fnatic's pressure.
Not an angle that you want to repeat all too
टीम
many
हेटिक्स
times
को भी
without
हरा दिया
support,
उन
but
लोगों ने.
now Sadak by his
कुछ
side.
कुछ लाइक ऐसे टीम हैं जिनको लगता था
KC
लाइक
in a
इजीली हरा
2-2-1.
पाएंगे. 2-0 इजी हो पाएगा.
Solo Pyro,
जैसे
saving
G2
face
कर
on
देता
AS
है
Con,
अमेरिकाज
who's
में.
continuing one of
सेंटिनल्स
his
कर देता है.
vintage
बट अभी
lurks.
वो टीम भी बहुत तगड़ा खेल रहे.
To cancelling the ultimate. Martin here, there, and everywhere so far in this map.
How long does that TP last for?
So we're
Nice.
to find
अच्छा
out.
हुआ
Martin
देखा.
has been gutted. Crashies to collect him. Fnatic backpedaling. This paranoia to reinforce the space, still not committed.
30 seconds
No,
left.
but time getting low, and you know Fnatic need to commit to the C site.
Find lines of defensive cover, dark cover, so gets
Nice,
in the
Alpha.
corner. Still yet to be cleared.
Nice.
Time ticking down. Boaster has the ult, repositions A. Clean
ए पे
through
आ गए.
Chronicle to
क्या
remove
बात है.
Pyro.
डब्ल्यू आइडिया.
And then we'll get the plant in 5 versus 2. A save call perhaps for Okami and Core now.
Fair play to Fnatic for being that cool, calm and collected.
And that's the other side of the coin. It's a round like that which gets you excited and proves exactly why we hold them in such high regard. Just trying to bait out those positions on the map. Uncover Martin, who continues to pose that threat even later into the round. We're seeing once more that KC are really enjoying these deep sea long deposits, getting players there.
दोनों टीम के टाइम आउट खत्म. आई थिंक एक टाइम आउट केसी का बचा हुआ है. और आई थिंक इस हाफ के 2 टाइम आउट एफएनसी के बचे हुए हैं.
That they haven't.
या फिर एक दोनों टीम का एक टाइम आउट बचा हुआ है.
With that, we
यार
will
कायाक
take a
को
look
क्या हो
at
गया. उठाओ
who,
कोई
one
कायाक
new
को.
boy on the server, right? Pyro
उसके
has
बिना
had a
पॉसिबल
fairly
नहीं है.
सुस्त हो गया
big
काया.
couple of rounds to the past,
उसके
the
फैमिली वाले नहीं आए
He
हैं क्या?
has, and then we immediately
Nope.
put up this graphic, which feels like a disservice to him, but these are the week 5 stats. It does place him rock bottom of the player performance standings regionally, but this no doubt will have been an improvement.
नाइस
And that's
लाइनअप
not what
यार.
it was about. It's about building the routine.
पर उसने ट्रिप लगाया ही नहीं था.
You set up the monitor, the mouse, making sure
अभी लगा है
everything's in
ट्रिप.
place.
गया.
Getting up in the morning, the boring stuff.
कायाक
But it
को
plays its
मेंटोस
part.
दो यार. कोई नहीं उसके फैमिली वाले आते हैं
And I
तो वो
suppose
मोटिवेटेड
the thing
रहता
that's
है.
been its biggest part, KC's rotations.
फुल फॉर्म में खेलता है वो.
यार बी
As
पे
a
नहीं है. एफएनसी बी पे
reactive as
नहीं.
well
टाइम रहती
to
जाओ
what
कहीं पे.
Fnatic are doing. And with Martin,
ये जाओ ये जाओ. ये
far
खाली
up
छोड़ दे.
pace,
खाली छोड़ दे.
has no TP to
टाइम
get
बहुत
back,
ज़्यादा
which is
खा
the
लेते हैं.
most
मतलब
used up
फ्रैग वगैरह
to
निकल जाए तो
get
ठीक
out
है.
on towards the A site after being cleared.
ये देखो.
No second TP for
बोली
them.
थी मैं.
He's going to try and force the issue himself, push the envelope. A majority cleared, but his own teammates smoke, which has actually forced him to double back.
बी कर रहे हैं वो लोग.
Confirming that Fnatic have
Thank
ambitions
God
in
B
the middle of
खाली
the
है
map as
थोड़ा
it
सा.
stands. But KC are ready to respond to this. Aves still with the run it back into this retake potential.
Plant.
Destroyed it in the end, and it seems if the ultimates are going to come
What?
through, I'll run it back in an overdrive, but Spike
आग
denied.
में ही मर गया
Kill.
क्रॉनिकल
Aves looking for more, denied it, but
Time
on the
नहीं।
opposite side, Fnatic have to retrieve it with no
टाइम ही
time
नहीं, मैं
again.
बोली
And
थी
no
यार
man's land need to
एक
roll
दो
their way
फ्रैग
through
निकल
this
जाए
site, and
तभी
it's
आप
not gonna
आराम
work.
से मतलब
It's a
कहीं पे भी
choke
प्लान
point.
करो 20
KC
सेकंड
खत्म।
बचाओ
turn this into a meat
ले
grinder.
9
It's
level
mostly Fnatic's bodies that have gone
खत्म
through it. Having to save, having to call
9-11
it right here.
राउंड
And it's going to be KC reaching 11 within touching distance of map point.
मैप पॉइंट भी हो जाएगा अभी
Time is a resource, as they say, and with Fnatic put through
ये
the
देखो आग में ही
10
जल
here,
गए
it's intuitive
यही
play
होगा ही टाइम
from
नहीं है प्लान
Aves
भी
with
करना
the
है प्रेशर पड़
hot
जाता है
hands,
पूरा
but once that molly's played its part, it's some of the problems we saw from both the BBL and the
9-11
Liquid game for
भाई
Fnatic.
11-9
Slight
round
hesitation in these latter stages of the round when they're needing to recuperate and break into a site for the first time, leaving themselves little opportunity to do so.
एक साइड में ही कमिट होना चाहिए वो साइड में ज़्यादा भीड़ है तो दूसरे साइड में जाके थोड़े उधर तो कम होंगे ना एक साइड में 3 है तो बी पे 1 होगा सी पे 1 होगा वैसे टाइप करके
Fnatic immediate to take up the C space.
Yeah, but is this what KC want? Is this the plan for the round?
Nice.
Sadak maybe it's taken a bit too far. Allows to get the
फिर
end.
भी मार दिया
An indirect trade on towards
Ooh.
Crashies and an extra ping onto Alpha.
Pyro has been very good.
यार
with his
FNC को
Sova
क्या हो गया
ult so
हेवन थोड़ा
far.
वीक मैप लग रहा है
Flexible player
FNC
stepping
का
into
भी
the lineup, and part of this flood now backside.
लोटस वगैरह पिक कर लेते हैं मेरा
Kayak at the back of side, looking to hold it
and
himself, but can't quite do it. This is turning into a
2v3
death match of a round.
ये देखो ये होता है
Spike is heading elsewhere. Fnatic
Thank
got
God इस
nothing
बार टाइम
more to
रहते ही
do with
वापस
C
आ
as it
रहे हैं
stands. Kron has the pit, a molly. Boaster of paranoia.
KC वाले बहुत अच्छा खेल
Stockpile
रहे
of utility. These last few final pieces that could stave off KC. The Pyro has the drone, and that is the natural counter to clearing this space. It needs big value.
It does.
प्लांट तो अभी कर तो दिया है
He takes a step out of the pit. Boaster watching for the heaven.
बहुत कम टाइम रहते हुए ये लोग प्लांट के लिए जाते हैं
Not managing to get into
20
the pit right
seconds
now,
में
walking around the
फाइट
side,
भी नहीं
dropping
लेते
from the
20
heavens
सेकंड में
instead.
फ्लाइट भी लेंगे
Pyro
प्लान भी
is
करेंगे
heaven sent. A tricky
1v3
अरे बूस्ट कर गया
KC's new
ओ 3 मार दिए क्रॉनिकल ने 3 मार दिए ओ माय गॉड भाई
क्रॉनिकल फॉर्म में खेल
क्रॉनिकल और क्रैशीज ही खेल रहे हैं 3 मार दिए अंधाधुन
A gut punch for KC. A masterclass from Chronicle. Maybe a sprinkle of luck, right? Maybe a sprinkle.
But you don't get lucky without putting yourself in the right
नाइस
position.
वन यार
As
क्रॉनिकल
he traces Pyro,
ऐसे ही खेलो
he finds
क्या पता
everyone
होती
else.
अर्ली प्लान
Level
करके
clutch in the
डिफेंड
pit.
करे
I
तो
don't think
थिंग
even
माइट
he can
फेवर
believe
वही
what's
ना
happened.
फाइट भी नहीं ले रहे थे वो लोग 20 सेकंड्स तक 2 राउंड ऐसा हुआ है
You need to take
20
it, right?
सेकंड में प्लान भी
Sometimes you
फाइट
need a
भी
bit of luck.
नो फ्रैक्स नथिंग 5v5 और 20 सेकंड में प्लान एंड फाइट
Most of this ahead.
इसमें ज़्यादा प्रेशर
आज
पड़ता है
ये
कि
पड़े।
अरे स्पाइक प्लान नहीं हुआ अरे स्पाइक प्लान वाला गिर
सीधा
गया
सीधा गया
Spotted by the alarm
अच्छा।
bot.
ऐसे ऐसे मतलब ज़्यादा प्रेशर पड़ता है अरे प्लांटर और ये गिर गया ये गिर गया है बहुत दिक्कतें होती है
And the support is a little late to arrive.
अरे
Has to
कायाक
win
को
the
क्या
first
हो
one,
गया है
does.
भाई
He does, and there's more utility to
Kit
come
Kat
through.
break
That
दो
hero
कोई।
theft is massive for information.
Second reveal, hat off his head. Sadak letting it rip. Now KC in a position
3v5
where they
सारे
do
लोग
feel
ए पे ही
yet
है
again inclined to take 12 rounds.
दे नीड टू प्लांट एंड होल्ड वही ना
But Fnatic with the players to still create problems. You have to be thinking about Alpha here.
ये देखो स्पाइक अभी भी इधर होल्ड पे है
The one to unlock the site. Sadak.
नाइस
Pyro and the
Nice.
allows Fnatic into the site potentially.
And now we need another big Martin moment.
2v3
30 seconds
30-second
left.
mark now crossed. Spike still committed. And all three players on the KC side here.
As graffiti needs to be cleaned, that's where a double stack of KC deposits are.
For the execution as it comes in, Martin has
अगला
his,
मैप मैं
and
गाइस
both
केसी को सपोर्ट
duelists
करूंगी
deny it. Fnatic try
अरे
to
यार मैच
leave their
पॉइंट
way
ऐसे
back
20 सेकंड में
into
क्या
another
प्लांट होगा
heavily
इतना ज़्यादा
unfavorable
प्रेशर बढ़
round,
सकता है
but
कि स्पाइक
this
डाउन
time
अरे
it is
प्लांटर
no good.
डाउन
One
अरे
can't
अंदर
strike
भी जाना
twice.
है.
Fnatic have a big challenge to defy. KC taking this
ओटी हो जाए
map.
तो थोड़ा.
ओटी यार, कम ऑन ओटी.
Yeah, and at this moment in time, KC's defense, it has to be said,
ओटी यार, we need ओटी.
very spot on.
That's the one
अभी
thing
तो
that you're
एग्रेसिव
focusing on, the
खेलेंगे.
reads, the initial setup. It's when the round grows long and tired that Fnatic are the masters of manipulation.
उन पे बाई भी नहीं है इतना FNC पे.
Back to garage we go. Alves on the
एक
line.
फैंटम, एक वेंडल है, बाकी 2 स्टिंगर, एक
Slightest
शेरिफ.
of slivers between the double doors. Crashies could be the first.
So close and personal, he decides to go.
नहीं नहीं,
trigger in
क्रैशेस
hand.
नहीं.
He has
बैठा
the
हुआ है 2
spike. Fnatic have really fanned out on their map control, but back to garage we go. It's the drone that Martin wants to try and play in front. With no TP, he's committed still to
Nice.
this corner.
It's a big one to win and manages to protect
ऐसे
the
फ्रैग
spike
पहले
as
निकल
well.
जाए तो कभी भी प्लान करो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
KC at the same time, they lose that pick and
टाइम
mid,
नहीं है
and
अभी.
then start to look elsewhere towards the extremities, towards C long, through
Match point
Dsouza.
पे आ गए
But
दोस्त लोग.
Fnatic, they go
खत्म.
elsewhere. They start to make that spike towards B.
Problem with Fnatic's recent V post plants is they haven't had a second leg to stand on. It's been very one-dimensional in terms of the setup, but this time they do create a little bit of breathing room for themselves. Boaster towards backside, but it's the back line that you've got to be looking at, and Sadak has already given numbers.
Alves up against Alpha, yeah, and it's Alpha to
अरे
win
यार,
it now.
क्रैशेस को निकाल.
Sadak
4v3.
looking for something to go his way. The buy still in favour of KC, even though Fnatic have a player advantage.
Nice,
It's
भगा के
set
मारा.
piece to set up
Nice.
Kayak and deny KC the round is there.
Nice.
As every single player will drop.
11-12.
And Fnatic bring it within one.
11-12 guys.
चलो और एक
Fnatic will not
और एक
play a
राउंड
game
चाहिए
of
बस.
chasing
ओटी जाए.
shadows. They create some light for themselves in the dark at last. This call to send Kayak through Link was brilliant. Alpha holding it down as usual, but just waiting for the contact before making the play. Looking a whole lot better. It feels like night and day round on round from Fnatic here, and they need one more to push KC to yet another overtime in the last couple of weeks.
Another E lobby.
11-12. ओटी कम ऑन यार, इतना दूर आके वापस नहीं जाना.
But Martin and Sadak have a combo that we've seen quite a few times on this defense side.
डिस्कॉर्ड पे हो
Your
क्या? हम
player is
लोग
always
दूसरे
expected
के
to be
डिस्कॉर्ड
on
में
those
हैं यार,
extremities,
अपने
collecting
सर्वर
as
में
much
नहीं
info
है.
as possible, but in tandem with Sadak, it has created a lot of the setup for these reads that we've been talking about, but this time KC are a little bit light on their feet towards A.
आप आई थिंक उस सर्वर पे नहीं हो, दूसरे के सर्वर में एक प्राइवेट सर्वर बनाया था जब हम लोग लाइक क्या बोलते हैं, किसी के खिलाफ कुछ मतलब आवाज उठा रहे थे, उस सर्वर पे हम लोग खुफिया सर्वर.
We know that the Euro is still here and bodies being pulled across, but
हाँ,
it was just to
वही.
take the ultimate orb. Lockdown available
अब टाइम नहीं है वापस इन पे.
and looks to be used. Alpha
हाँ,
maybe
टाइम
saving
का ही
it.
सारा खेल हो जाता है
KC
हमें.
though, they want to go hunting for a pick.
Ooh, Kron cutting off one of the avenues of approach though. for
KJ
Fnatic,
का
and
ult है.
without strong sewer control, it's the lockdown long instead. Can't fully push KC off site.
But Martinez went searching and found a whole load of
आ रहा
danger.
है.
And on top
Noise
of
मार.
that, Hunter's Fury to deny anybody getting into sight and Poster at the same time.
नाइस वन. 3v5 ओटी जा सकते हैं गाइस हम लोग, कम ऑन.
One player less to consider
Plant.
though on
Plant.
the site as
Okay,
Boaster
plant
is
over.
removed. Crashy the same in main. Effective 3-on-3 if they challenge it.
यार
but
FNC
KC
वाले
still on
हार्ट
the
अटैक कर
outside.
देते हैं.
Yeah, that they are.
Hmm.
Was delayed to come through. But Pyro at the same time finds Alpha
4v3.
here. From where? A brilliant spam.
Nice.
But Crashes at the same time finds
2v4.
that solo. Time ticking away. And KC need to get a move on.
नाइस. 12-12 ओवर टाइम, लेट्स गो.
Here we go, OT.
हाँ, अभी तो जीतना ही है, अभी तो जीतना ही है. फिंगर्स क्रॉस्ड एकदम, अभी तो जीतना ही है.
In their last 4 maps played, KC winning the final 2 in the series against Liquid, but it feels like such a similar start.
अभी तो जीतना ही है.
A frustrating
Come
one
on.
for them, but for Fnatic, Champions grade quality that you expect to be able to
Holy moly.
turn these kinds of situations around. Now coming into the first bout of OT, it's back to the defense for them.
With that being said, Kayak is going to bring out a
इतना
glass
दूर
cannon
आके भाई
operator for this
जीतना है
defense.
एफएनसी तो मेरे
Oh,
एक्स
his
से ज्यादा
confidence.
फीलिंग्स के साथ खेल
Just
रहे
a
हैं मेरे
general
अरे
never
अरे
mind, just the fact with the operator and the fact that
Nice.
he's willing to take
ये
those
बढ़िया
shields.
बढ़िया था ये नाइस
And
वे
set
टू
it up
डिस्क्राइब आपके दिल में क्या चल रहा है अभी
instantaneously. Kayak on the line, Sadak has to cross.
नाइस वन काया कैसे और एक प्लीज
ऐसे मार
Drift
प्लीज
with the cipher gone, the
Maro,
sailing towards
Maro.
A suddenly feels a little short-handed, and you've still got all of that utility to deal with towards the C site if you're Carmen.
Martin, though, you look towards that mid space. He's trying to be the
Turret
protagonist,
को
trying
देखो
to be the
बेचारा
guy to make it happen.
एक टेरर एक विंगमैन और एक
Yeah,
टरेट
it's just a positive as a
हमेशा
potential way
पीस
to cut off the rotates and get something back. But KC still slow roll their way onto C, where Alpha and Kron lie in wait.
Inserting himself in the corner, Molly at the feet of
अरे
Baba's
नहीं
decision to be made. He sits around for long enough to
4v4
collect it, but there's no second swing. Oh, it finally comes in delayed from Boaster.
3v4
Schoolboy, it would seem, shut down, and now numbers KC.
They know exactly what they need to do to hit in towards this site, but Alpha
अल्फा बाहर नहीं जाना है एक उधर ही है
looking for
हाँ
information, maybe even a pick to get back
पूरा
in
पूरा
towards
जिला है
Fnatic's
नहीं
favour
जाना
as they are a player down.
In the meantime, having Kayak on the other side of the map, collecting all of that information, it has enabled the stack.
अरे नहीं
Still
2v4
Alpha goes down. No
गया
synergy
ये
between the
राउंड भी
remaining members. Has to be the Crashy show. Needs to see his name in
खत्म
lights, but put out in the dark by Martin.
4 against 1. A Kayak clutch, a glass cannon up, and
खत्म
a run it back heading his way.
और एक होगा ना
But he's found the
हाँ
first
हाँ
one.
और एक होगा
Wallbang is ambitious. Those
जीता हुआ
ambitions
राउंड
put
था
to
यार
rest.
एफएनसी का राउंड था
Score
ये
now. Up to map point again. One more opportunity, this one in OT, to convert. Must just reiterate, it is their map pick. Corrode laying in wait ahead of us. To put further measures in place, there is a timeout coming through on the KC side. Look pretty good after their pauses so far.
They have, and it's an important one, right?
केसी वालों ने ही टाइम आउट लिया है
Overtime to try and send this one home. Fnatic though allowed a chance to speak themselves.
केसी की अलग खिचड़ी बन रही
Scott probably
आवेश
trying to
क्या खेल
come up
रहा है
with some
20
sort
to
of plan
14
on this
केडी है
attack
उसका
because at the end of the day, the attack, it felt as if Fnatic were the ones shooting themselves in the foot a little bit.
It really depends which round you're talking about. We saw some brilliantly
true.
played rounds and some rounds which looked a little bit more laboured. The history between Boaster and Sadak going all the way back to their first meeting in the lock-in grand final, of course, where the history of Fnatic being a team which choked in those kinds of situations was completely flipped on its head, and that really set up
FNC का ही
their
round
career
था
in
वो भी
2023. Think about that one a little bit more when we head to the new map after this. Pivotal, a factor that could play. Is KC back on the defense, not leaving anything down to chance. Already wanting to get aggressive, as they have done so many times.
But will it be their undoing? It seemed as if Fnatic were able to adapt to it towards the latter end of that second half. Just like KC adapted to how Fnatic wanted to play through mid themselves, the timing, and Alfie are up close against the Vez, and he tries to take him
Nice,
out, and will
Alpha.
do so. A big one to find.
सदाक ने ट्रेड ले लिया
Still find Poster.
Sadak has a decision to make. Does he want to play on site or drop off? Looks like he's gonna stick it as long
अरे
as possible,
नहीं
and the trap's done its job. Alpha closing the distance.
अल्फा नाइस
That it is, and garage control important because there is
3v3
no smoke, and there is
2v3
no players left on C.
अरे
Alpha
नहीं
caught
क्या
out
रे
trying to
2v2
escape. Brings us back to a 2-on-2.
Pyro
थोड़ा मुश्किल है अब
with Martin. So many big clutches between the two of them, and now the 2-on-2. Kron and Crashies.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much initiation to try
Garage,
and get
garage,
out of
garage,
garage,
garage
but that
से
utility could be the
अरे हार गए
But
भाई
it's Martin, and he'll
अच्छा खेल गए केसी वाले भाई, मैं सपोर्ट नहीं करी एफएनसी को, हो गया मेरा संन्यास। गाइस संन्यास, फुल संन्यास, केसी को सपोर्ट करूंगी मैं,
2 बार
क्योंकि
धोखा दी।
इससे पहले वाला राउंड भी विनेबल था जब ओटी शुरू हुआ था। अल्फा बेचारा अकेला कितना क्या कुछ करेगा, फ्रैग्स उसने उस राउंड में भी निकाले थे। मैं केसी को सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ। अब लेट्स गो केसी, क्या बात है, डब्ल्यू विक्ट्री, हिस्ट्री गॉना रिपीट। हर बार गर्म करके ठंडा करके छोड़ देते हैं एफएनसी वाले यार, हार्ट अटैक बहुत देते हैं। कुछ राउंड ऐसे थे ना, आपने अगर पूरा मैच देखा है एफएनसी वाले जीत रहे थे, बट पलट दिया केसी वालों ने। बहुत अच्छा खेले केसी वाले। अब नेक्स्ट मैच में मैं केसी को ही सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ भाई। बहुत हार्ट अटैक आता है, एकदम दिल धक धक करता है। गाइस सब लोग लाइक करो, पोल पे वोट करो। 1 सेकंड देना, मैं आई, मेरा पानी का बोतल खत्म हो रहा है। कंसिस्टेंसी वो क्या होता है? अरे यार कायाक को पता नहीं क्या हो गया, उसके कोई फैमिली वालों को बुलाओ, वो मोटिवेटेड रहता है। मैं पानी लेके आई, रुको। लाइक करो गाइस सब लोग, तब तक हम लोग करेंगे सपोर्ट केसी को।
Red Bull gives you wings.
एफएनसी वालों की आरसीबी बनते जा रही है, ऐसे ही लग रहा है मेरे को। +1 अरे नहीं, एक चीज भूल गई। कितने 827 का लगा ना।
आगे में एफएनसी वालों की आरसीबी बनते जा रही है यार। एटलीस्ट आरसीबी का मतलब लगता था हारेंगे हारेंगे करके। एफएनसी तो उम्मीद बना देते थे, आरसीबी वालों का, आरसीबी फैंस को ही लगता था वो लोग जीतेंगे, और इस बार जीत भी गए। अच्छा खेला उन लोगों ने। हमें तो यार पूरे मतलब आधे से ज़्यादा वेलो कम्युनिटी को ही लगता है एफएनसी ही जीतेगा।
वेस्ट में अवतार बहुत बढ़िया है।
किधर?
क्वेस्ट में बिल्लू आई है, बिल्लू वाला अवतार है।
नाइस। गाइस सब लोग लाइक कर दो। कोरोड मैप है दूसरा, एफएनसी नहीं पिक किया है, देखते हैं क्या करते हैं एफएनसी वाले। मेरा तो सारा उम्मीद अभी केसी पर ही है। मेरी अभी सारी उम्मीदें केसी पर ही है, केसी को मैं सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ। हार्ट अटैक बहुत हो गया मेरे लिए।
अगर मान लो इस बार ये वाला ये मैच हार गई एफएनसी तो क्या हो?
आई थिंक एलिमिनेशन है ना ये वाला, लोअर ब्रैकेट है ना। आज का मैच का विनर सीधा जायंट एक्स को वो करेगा, फेस करेगा। नेक्स्ट मैच टीम हेयरटिक्स को फेस करेगा तो बाकी सारे आउट हो जाएंगे। चैट मिस आपने इंडिया की वीएलटी नहीं खेल रही क्या कॉम्पी मतलब?
To find solutions, they were putting Kayak in different positions. They were trying to be aggressive. Yes, KC
इंडिया का वाला
were shutting them
स्प्लिट
down in
स्टेज
different
तो
occasions,
ओवर
but
हो
at
गया
least
ना?
it is something that they identified themselves and wanted to change.
Yeah, better 5. What is it? Was it 5? Right, 5 is better than 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, in theory. But for KC though, on their attack side, they just had the formula figured out. And what was that formula?
Well, there was a lot of the B kids, and also a lot of the taking advantage of the garage.
Yeah, Garage going B simulator and Fly, but a lot of these times you see Sadak with his team. He's not trying to lurk, he's not trying to do an act or
वेलोसिटी
anything.
गेमिंग
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking about before the
उनका
game even
स्प्लिट
started.
स्टेज
Like,
खत्म हो
calling
गया
when
ना,
you're in the
वो
pack
लोग
versus out
जीते
of
भी
pack
थे
is very
इंडिया
different.
में।
You can already see. I mean, I counted 3 rounds
अभी
off
तो
the top of my head where
एसेंशंस
Sadak
वगैरह
tried
होगा,
the
वो
AK,
लोग
he
तो
died with 0
T2 में
kills,
है अभी।
and then for the rest of the game, he was working garage or B with the team. You can tell he's very uncomfortable, like working by himself and calling at the same time.
एसेंशन जीतेगा तभी
Yeah,
मतलब
and at the end of the
एपेक
day,
के
there were
रीजन
many
से मतलब
different
वो
versions
टीम
that we
जा
saw of
पाएगी
this B
एसेंशन
hit.
टीम।
No 2 rounds were the same, even though it looks like so get to my TP and just get the plan and whatnot. But the incursions onto garage, they put in Fnatic against the ropes and making difficult decisions with no time. You cannot just with the composition that KC are playing, you cannot just go in and fight this before it happens. You have to react afterwards. And if you're quick, they're going to be there to shut you down.
Yeah, and Fly, you mentioned beforehand, you know, having the players like
गाइस सब
Martin
लोग
and
लाइक
Alves
कर
online,
दो,
the double
फर्स्ट
duelists,
मैप इतना
it's going to
क्लोज
be a
आ
win
गए थे हम
condition.
लोग, इसलिए
And
मैं
I think, do you think that
केसी
we
को
saw
सपोर्ट करने जा
the
रही हूँ
best
अभी।
of KC when it comes to having
क्या
these
आप
2 players?
केसी को सपोर्ट
Yeah, I
करेंगे?
mean, for sure. I will say though, I think that Pyro was very dangerous in the late round as
Yeah.
well. I mean, Martine, you can see these entries. You can
ये
a
देखो,
lot of
ये
entries, a lot
राउंड्स
of
की मैं
value.
बात
But
कर
I
रही हूँ।
actually think that what I expected Martine and Alves to bring, Pyro and I mean even Sadak and
छोटे छोटे
other
मिस्टेक्स
guy.
हुए हैं
Tui.
कुछ,
Tui,
वैसे
yes,
मैं तो
Brazil,
बोलने
in
वाली
the
कोई
later
नहीं हूँ,
rounds,
खुद
No, they won
ब्रोंज
more
में
late
हूँ,
rounds than I
बट
thought they
फिर
would,
भी
to be honest.
दिखता है यार, दिन
I
में बुरा
completely agree.
लगता है।
Like coming into this, like especially at the beginning of the game, where I would say there's more tension. Martin performed super well, and he was delivering this kind of
मार्टिन ने बहुत
situations and
अच्छा खेला है, नो
obviously,
डाउट।
the closing moment and getting the win. I love the fact that we can say now that Martin has been
सुगेत्सु ने
consistent.
तो और
Because
अच्छा
that
खेला है।
consistency helps Pyro have this performance, because the way that he was when they were on the attack after the post plan, just working from window and how he was moving, it was magnificent. But I wonder if it would have been there if Martin did not help with all the beginning of the process.
Yeah, and something you were talking about in the green room is, why doesn't Kayak just play Yoru?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
On Haven.
Yes, on Haven. He's so good. He's so good. He would have such quick rotations. Literally, not quick, instant. There were, there's many things I would change, but it's not my team, so.
Yeah, they gotta figure things out. They gotta figure things out even. But that was not their map pick. We are gonna move on to Corrode.
हाँ, अभी FNC का मैप पिक है, इसीलिए मैं केसी को सपोर्ट करने जा रही हूँ। Let's
How
go.
would you sort of sum up Fnatic's Corrode? What was it like?
I mean, from watching it myself, I feel like Fnatic's Corrode, they do
KC
a lot of other
मारेगी।
maps.
हेलो
The
ब्रायो,
lobbies are
कैसे
more
हो आप?
competitive.
वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम।
For
किसको
example, on
सपोर्ट कर रहे हो
Abyss
आप?
and Champs 24 and
मैंने तो यार अपना टीम
Split
स्विच
just
कर
in
लिया।
general. They love just working these lobbies super late with like Viper,
वेलो में
Yoru,
FNC
Fade
एंड
Pops,
IPL में
and
RCB
it's been
ऑलवेज
super just like end
सपोर्ट
on 20
रहेगा।
seconds and
क्या
that's how it
बात
goes.
है, थैंक यू
Do you
फॉर
think
द
that
40
this,
सुपर
though,
चैट
might be a
पीयूष
problem
जी,
with
क्या बात है?
KC?
आज
Like,
तो
if
आप
we expect
एकदम
them to be extra aggressive, if we
टोर्रा
expect
जमा
them
रहे
to
हो
play
चैट
with the
में। क्या बात है?
duelists, do you think that
डब्ल्यू
is something that
पीयूष
they can
इन
take
द
advantage
चैट
of?
गाइस, कम ऑन।
I mean, it's gonna depend, to be honest, because when I think of KC, I think of a team that likes to mix
यार
up the macro.
यही
They like
यही
walking
तो
down
होता
mid,
है,
they
हम
like
लोग को
walking
भी
through the
वेलो
lobby.
खेलना कहाँ
Fnatic
पसंद है?
loves just
इतना
doing
दिमाग
nothing
का
and then
ये
taking
वो
the
हो
lobby
जाता है,
and then
फिर
doing
भी हम
nothing and taking
खेलते
the
हैं।
lobby. Like, they just mess
यही
around.
तो
So
प्यार
I
होता
think
है
KC's
असली।
gonna fight them a lot in these lobbies.
Is that what you want to see KC do as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it worked in this case. I think that for confidence, it's not only for KC. It's not only about today. We've already said it. Fnatic are already locked in for champs. KC have to fight every single
ये
day. And they
FNC
have to be very
केसी कौन
confident in
है
the plan
पता
that they
नहीं,
have, because the
ऑनेस्टली
plan-
यार
the
केसी
plan
वाले
is not just
बहुत
for
अच्छा
Exault.
खेल रहे हैं।
For me,
उसमें
I wanna
सादाक
see
है
Kayak
जो
come
मतलब
alive a little bit. It was
अमेरिकाज
very
में खेला
rare
करते थे लाउड वगैरह के लिए,
performance
और
not
एक बार आई थिंक
there.
चैम्प्स भी
Agent
जीत लिए
solo.
बहुत
Yeah,
पहले
Agent select.
2022 या
Sadak will be
23 में।
IPLing on
सुगेत्सु बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, आवेश मार्टिन पूरा टीम लॉक्ड इन है। सुपर चैट रिसीव्ड, आइए अलर्ट वगैरह लगाएंगे गाइस, धीरे धीरे लगाएंगे, डोंट वरी। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द 40 सुपर चैट, मीन्स अ लॉट। आपने डोनेशन भी कराया, थैंक यू सो मच, दिल से शुक्रिया आपका।
Neon, is it going to be the Waylay?
मार्टिन नियॉन पे है,
they're
ओके।
going for the triple initiator. I know a team that work with triple initiator against Fnatic and it
अभी उल्टा हो गया, देखो मार्टिन ने तभी ओरू लिया था, अभी कायाक ओरू ले रहा है। ये कायाक ने तभी नियॉन लिया था, अभी मार्टिन नियॉन ले रहा है। पहचाना मुझे, आप आए थे एक बारी, आप बता सकते हो क्या हम कभी खेले हैं? आप एक बारी चैट में तो आए थे, मैंने आपका चैट पढ़ा था।
Is this a misclick? What is happening?
We're doing this lobby, right?
Martin! Martin has never...
मार्टिन ने ब्रिमस्टोन क्यों ले लिया? What?
Brimstone, a 257 ACS.
2
so,
smokes?
you know, it could be worse, but is this a choice that you think you would do? No duelist, triple initiator?
Not with the team that they have, honestly. Like this is
हाँ
very,
आया
this is like
था,
a heavy
आपका तो
counter
दिमाग
strike. They
यार,
did
मैं
this
नाम
mechanic
वगैरह
last
थोड़ा
time
बहुत
on
याद
Assam when they played them as well,
रख
double
लेती हूँ,
smoke.
बट इन
So
गेम
I think it's
नेम
very
अगर
viable.
एक दो बारी
The thing
खेला है
about
तब
giving
मैं याद
the
नहीं
teams
रख
in the
पाती हूँ
lower
इतना।
bracket 2 days to prepare, like
भाई
the
2
playoffs started,
स्मोक्स,
as you know, on Thursday,
ओमेन
right?
ब्रिमस्टोन,
And Fnatic were playing on that day, but KC, this is their first match, so they had all of that footage
नो
to really
डुएलिस्ट,
prepare and adapt for
ट्रोल
this.
कर
And
रहे
with
क्या
them
थोड़ा सा?
starting on the defense, I wonder if they're going to
थैंक यू
assert
फॉर
that
द
dominance.
सुपर
Well, this
चैट,
is very interesting.
आइए
We don't see
बिल्कुल,
this
थैंक यू
comp
सो
very
मच,
often on
मीन्स
this
अ
map, so
लॉट।
Hazza and Kyra have fun with this one.
यार देख,
We
नहीं मैं ये
absolutely
गेम
will.
नहीं
The
खेलता।
series
अच्छा हाँ
taking
हाँ,
a
आपने शायद
turn
बोला था
as
आप मतलब
KC pick
वैलोरेंट
up
नहीं
Haven.
खेलते
They
हो।
had a couple of opportunities to do it, but now we
आप
go
कौन
to
सा गेम
Heroic.
खेलते हो?
Newsman
मैं
into
डॉक्टर
the pool,
ड्राइविंग
and I
खेलता
draw
हूँ।
back to
क्या
that
बात है?
conversation we were having
मैं सोच रही हूँ
of this
कुछ दिनों में
ideal
प्रिजन
head-to-head
एस्केप
between
वगैरह
Sadak
खेलो,
and
बहुत लोग
Boaster.
खेल रहे हैं। क्या मतलब
Lotus came in for
बबली
lock-in, one of
तुम्हारे
the few
जेल से
maps that
फरार।
Fnatic were able to gel instantly into and find success.
नो
One time they
डुएलिस्ट
lost it, that
केसी भाई
event
ट्रोल
was
कर रहे हैं भाई,
against
ट्रोल
Sadak's
करने पे भी
Cloud.
आगे कैसे?
It's a completely different year, a different roster though, of course.
केसी यार
But
अच्छी
is that
टीम है,
instant success from
फेनेटिक
Fnatic
गोटेड टीम है, बहुत
replicatable?
पुरानी टीम है, ओजी टीम है, फैन फेवरेट टीम है, बट
Fnatic did really well
केसी इज
against
ऑल्सो डूइंग
BPL
गुड,
and
डूइंग वेल।
controlling the mains and using that as a way to scale up and manipulate the map. Mid not a priority like we've seen with other teams, and they do so right here as Martin.
डुएलिस्ट होना चाहिए था यार मार्टिन पे।
On B site, as
दो
Fnatic
स्मोक्स
look
है,
to be
हाउ?
aggressive on A, on B, sorry, and it doesn't work out.
Martin's gonna get cleared here though, so it is a
कयाक को
4v4,
निकाल दिया
and
पहली।
Blazey simply have to
COD
respect
ऑल
मार्टिन को
the
गेम्स,
goal being
माइनक्राफ्ट,
played
GTA
from
5,
for the
RDR
time
2
being.
प्लीज। अच्छा GTA 5 में मैं आरपी करती हूँ, माइनक्राफ्ट मेरा एक सर्वर है, उसका प्रोग्रेशन कुछ नहीं हुआ है। RDR 2 ऑनलाइन मैंने खेला है, ऑन स्ट्रीम ही खेला है।
Of Alpha's Vice.
That's been detected, and yeah, Alpha up in heaven does get taken out by Pyro.
And that it does. Crashes though, still holding on towards CT. The lone player here, and he's finally routed out. Boaster pushing this orb, but it doesn't work out
अरे
in his favour. Rather disapposed
केसी
by
पहला राउंड जीत गई,
KC with
बोला
the
था मैंने
pistol.
अच्छी टीम है, देखो।
Important pistol round win for KC, mandatory in some senses. Starting to
W
build up
round
this defender
KC।
side as best as possible. Of course, they lost both on Haven. Very weird smokes placed there by Martin. I think he initially wanted the one way, but the rapid succession of Fnatic players stopped him, and the kills here.
मुझे ये जानना है कि ब्रिमस्टोन जानबूझ के
Round
लिया
to
है
final,
कि
as Sadak's trying to build confidence on
गलती से हो गया।
Pyro, the newest member in the team, of course, and I think you always want that from your leader.
Yeah, of course, Sadak knows exactly how to build up young players. He's done it many a time on that loud roster.
COD से याद आया, मैंने काउंटर स्ट्राइक खेला था,
Yeah, and that was the story
मजा आया,
of
उसका
their
शॉर्ट्स भी मैं एक डाल के
2024,
रखी हूँ।
right? The passing of the torch, I think, before he realized there was
पहली बार ही खेला था, ऑन स्ट्रीम खेला था।
he was ready for
एक
close that
एक
chapter.
दो मैचेस अच्छे गए, एक में पूरा एकदम यू नो कुछ ज़्यादा ही प्रो लोग आ गए,
Be hoping for a
हमारा
homecoming.
लॉबी था ही नहीं।
Maybe Corrode could be the map that they want in their pool to just look that little bit better to keep this
दो
lower one
स्मोक्स
going.
में भी
With
फॉर
really
ए और बी साइड दोनों के लिए
tempting
लिया
fate, a
है,
possible
सोच समझ
miracle.
के ही।
Start to this round, Kayak already out of the picture.
पूरा मैप
So that's
घूमने
one
के
thing
लिए
about
ही
the
है
Brit,
ना,
the smokes
वही
last
दिक्कत
for
है।
a long time. You can really stall out your opponent with them.
It feels like it could be a direct counter to that lock wall that we've been seeing many a time on B main. from Fnatic in terms of the fact that it will deny those lines of sight for a long time. Only question is if that Viper Wall goes up, if you try to play in the cubby, putting yourself in a difficult position in terms of you will have to take gunfights, right? Especially when Fnatic are a team that play on low
30
time.
seconds
And
left.
we saw that a lot on Haven and in previous matches, so something to think about as time is wearing thin as it so often does. Fnatic now entertaining this mid-fight, one from
Nice.
to try and overwhelm the B push, but Martin stands his ground, and that's all the
Chronicle
fight
अकेला बच
they
गया लो.
really
10
need
seconds
here.
left.
Yeah, and all the players staying away from Chronicle here. He will rescue himself a Guardian, so even if he does stay alive, it won't be the worst problem in the world. The gun that you want at the same time, though, I suppose. So he's just going to run it into the ground and by a whisker back by
NT.
Martin.
अच्छा खेल रहे केसी वाले. अभी देखते हैं बाय राउंड एंड बोनस
But
राउंड.
one which trying to see the benefits of. The comp they played here previously was
Bro, they're not playing the round.
ये तो बोल भी दिया they are not playing the round.
comp with a double duelist, just a change in the controls, and they've gone one step further this time. Bucky in play for Pyro as well, just to note in case we see anybody try to push
अपने कायाक
in
को क्या हो
towards
गया?
that A-link position.
कायाक
It'll be
ठंडा
so
पड़ गया.
strong with the close
और कुछ
quarters.
हो नहीं.
But this time KC, let's look at B main, trying to be aggressive, just to throw the paranoia out and don't do anything off the back of it. Hoping that that's
यार
enough
ये
to
फ्री किल
dissuade
क्यों
Fnatic
जा
from
रहे हैं
moving
पता
any
नहीं.
further, but it's not.
2 राउंड से तो चलो जज नहीं करते हैं. पिस्टल राउंड और एक बाय राउंड नहीं होता है.
One we saw socially using, but it's Martin.
गाइस मैंने बोला
Time
था
to
मैं
change
केसी को सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ. चलो केसी वाले मार रहे हैं.
The controller role. We've seen him on an Omen before, but this
केसी वाले
one
क्या खेल रहे हैं
right
भाई.
in their
मजा आ गया.
face is such a
उनको
problem
जरूरत
right
ही
now
नहीं
as
है
the
वेंडल
bonus
की.
goes
इसी
from
से
strength
खेलो
to
पूरा मैच.
strength. Still continuing on. Fnatic through V main. Fearless delay coming through.
Blinded
That
है ये
flash
क्या.
is absolutely perfect.
नाइस
Kayak
केसी क्या
can't
खेल
go
रहे
any
हो आप
further.
लोग.
Fnatic are having real
क्या
world
हगा है
problems
वाह.
to try
वही
to get
ना.
out of these mains.
2 को ले गए, एक
Oh,
ही नहीं.
Sajjid
ट्रेड हो
there
जाता
even
तो भी ठीक था.
finding the next
2
kill.
ही
This
गए.
could very well end flawlessly. Oster
आज तो
has some
टोरेंटो
work
के
to
बाद
do.
खत्म हो गई
He's
थी.
not even going to find one, and it is an
3-0.
flawless in the bonus round
यार
for
मैं
KC.
केसी को सपोर्ट
Complete
कर रही हूँ अभी.
shutdown of Fnatic to
GG's
start
guys,
this game.
KC for the
Especially when
win.
you
Let's.
think of the buy that KC
वो भी
had,
इतना
it's
इजी.
effectively
वही
they're
ना.
everywhere. And something I want to touch on here is Sadak's role. Back onto the KO, something we've seen from him a lot more often. It's a sort of move away from what we came to expect from KC in the sense that very often they would be playing
अभी
with the
फिर
same
से
Sentinel,
इको राउंड पे आ
especially
गए.
if it had become
अच्छा खेल रहे हैं
Sadak,
केसी वाले.
and now
डिफेंडिंग साइडेड मैप
removing
भी
that
है बट
entirely
एटलीस्ट
does
एक
free up
आधा
the opportunity
राउंड
for
तो
him to
निकालना चाहिए
sort of
जब
slot
वेंडल
back in, I
वर्सेस बुलडॉग ये
suppose.
सब हो.
It seems to be working as it stands.
प्रो लोगों से
Wonder
इतने
how
मिस्टेक्स
this
तो हम लोग
composition that
होप
KC
नहीं
has is
करते.
gonna do on the
ये सब
attack
हमारी
side
लॉबी
of
पे
things,
चलता है.
because when we look at it on the defender
सदक
side,
इस
I mean,
सदक
yeah, sure, it's gonna
इस
throw it, but
लाइनअप
you've got
में
a
न्यू
presence,
एड
for God's sake,
है
that
क्या. हाँ
is
न्यू है.
so
वो
much
लाउड
to
में
do.
थे ना. अमेरिकाज में
Standard
थे. रीजन
procedure
भी
right
उनने
now
चेंज
in
किया. EMEA में आ गए.
shutting Fnatic out of the mid space, an area of the map we'll constantly have to pay close attention to. They did really struggle when
लाउड
were
वगैरह
getting
में
these
थे वो
deep
तो.
inserts at the bottom of mid. Hard players to
एक
clear.
सेकंड देना मेरा फोन का चार्ज किया.
Has been considered.
Okay.
So who's watching this?
Last player standing.
Dealt with it as well. So Crashy's on his lonesome with the Phantom. 45 seconds as well. There's not a lot of time. We're not going to look at this as a possibility, but if you get a couple of clean fights, well, potentially in a different universe, but I'm not willing to entertain it personally. I would love to be proven wrong, but yeah, my suspicions
30
were correct.
seconds left.
Crashies isn't going to attempt this, and it lets us continue to discuss what
4-0.
the expectation is here. Really,
Baap re.
Fnatic were much better on the defender's side against BBL, and a lot of that stemming from Kayak in his first engagement, something which we do want to be paying close attention to, and how effective he can be throughout this game.
Yeah, they
10
were better
seconds
on the
left.
defender side, right? But also Fnatic won half of all attack rounds, which is a much better trend compared to other teams that have played Corrode attack.
Yeah, and it does stem back to what we were saying. That KC
4-0.
need this early success. 4 rounds.
The streak yet to end. Already besting their tally than when they played Na'Vi. Initial outing on here, their debut on Corrode. But mid-control, massively important for them there. Building into the next round. Fnatic, the only ones with an ult right now. It's the Nightfall to try and build off, but it's another reserved default from them.
Yeah, this attack side, they need something, right? They need, sure they need a round, but it's more so the economy. They need some stabilization. Even to just get that spike down would feel like a win. Because they've been completely locked out of the site so far. Something which Fnatic liked to do a lot when they played BBL was set up Alpha to place a deep Vice wall, check for any proactivity, but KC are taking this ahead of the curve. Alpha is unprepared.
मेरा बीपी क्यों बढ़ रहा है यार, मत बोलो। मैं तो केसी को सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ चुपचाप, इसीलिए।
KC ready to fight them at every
अर्ली प्लान करके होल्ड करना चाहिए। साइट ही नहीं मिला अभी तक, एक भी साइट नहीं ले पाए, बाहर ही वो लोग जीजीस हो गए। देखो आज से केसी की जय जय। हाँ वही, मैं भी केसी को सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ, बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हो वो। 1v1 में भी वो कर रहे हैं। 1v1 में भी हगास हो रहा है, फिर क्या बोलते हैं आपका, साइड जैसे तैसे मिल रहा है, ज्यादा लोग हैं अभी, क्या कर लेंगे बताओ आप। केसी ही जीतेगा ये भी लग रहा है।
Taking the time to come back in, don't want to get taken off guard by the players, but they will do. That's the main part of the forces. There's even a molly to take.
अरे मैं तो केसी को सपोर्ट कर रही हूँ।
केसी सपोर्टर चेंज हो गया।
नाइस क्रॉनिकल भाई। FNC बोलता था क्या हो तुम, आज केसी बोल रहे तुम क्या हो गए, वही ना वो ना, वो अमेरिका वाले बोला करते थे क्या हो तुम, आज इंडिया वाले बोल रहे कहाँ हो गए तुम, ऐसे कुछ मीम है ना। भाई क्रॉनिकल ने ये राउंड खेला है। ये क्या, अरे भाई एक ही राउंड गया है। शांत भाई, इसको शांत कराओ। केसी का कोच फेडअप हो गया एक राउंड मिलने पे, भाई 2-3 मिल जाते तो रो दोगे भाई। केसी के कोच को शांत कराओ, एक ही गया है। अरे इसमें टाइम आउट। 3 राउंड के लीड पे हो केसी, 3 राउंड। एक राउंड उन्होंने 0 से क्या उठाया, 0-13 चाहिए था क्या। ये केसी का कोच जो है एलेक्स बनता जा रहा है। 13-0 की उम्मीद में 13-0 नहीं कर पाए तो गुस्सा गया ये कोच। वेलकम टू द ब्रेकिंग न्यूज ऑफ VCT। ये टेबल तो नहीं पटके, बट अपने सर पे जरूर पटके थे अपना ही हाथ। क्या उनको लगी है चोट, जानने के लिए ब्रेक के बाद बने रहे हमारे न्यूज चैनल पे। भाई एक राउंड देख के टाइम आउट। चिल। दिस इज फर्स्ट ब्रिमस्टोन कॉम, फर्स्ट नो डुएलिस्ट कॉम, फर्स्ट ट्रिपल इनिशिएटर कॉम इन VCT कोरोड। वाह, फिर भी केसी वाले लीड पे है। चैट मींस बाह क्या एक्टिंग करता है, -50 ना, बट दिल से था यार भाई। केसी के कोच को कोई रोक लो। मैं होती तो ऐसे, मेरी टीम जीत रही होती, मैं दान में दे देती, बोल देती 2 और जीतने दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, एक राउंड के लीड से हराएंगे उनको। फुल चिल।
It seems as if this time round Fnatic are playing more with a death ball.
भाई FNC को एक राउंड क्या मिला, टाइम आउट बुला लिया। ऐसे अगर केसी का 0 राउंड रहता तो वो स्टेज पे आ जाता समझाने के लिए, बोलता पीसी मुझे ही दे दो।
Very quick clear and running into Martin here, having already used the molly and sat back on the orbital strike, it can cover the majority of courtyard. Fnatic second guessing themselves, but
लाइन अप गाइस, देखो।
most inclined to take.
Nightfall through mid to try and force players back from fighting, and it's going to be an ace split, as that's where the spike is heading through. It is on crashes as well too. No, but KC Weir.
अरे कायाक की फर्स्ट किल बन रहा है केसी वालों का.
Yeah, the vines were broken as well though, and KC have consolidated.
इतना तो बूस्टर भी रिएक्ट करता.
Spike needs to go down. Fnatic need to unlock the site, but they are locked out without a key.
Precious बेचारा अकेला बचा हुआ है.
The other two players for Carmine Core are nowhere near the A site.
Crashes to see if he could do. His teammates couldn't.
ये स्मोक फटकाने के लिए किया है.
He's had time to set this up. No info yet on the two retaking defenders though from KC.
Crashes distracted by CT. Oh, switches up. That
नहीं होगा ये राउंड.
His hit crashes spot on. No lines of
5-1.
and no way to clutch up the
कोई इनको
round.
बता ऑलरेडी ये लोग लीड पे थे. कोच को लगेगा हमारे स्ट्रेटेजी के कारण जीत.
Yeah, Fnatic looking
ऑलरेडी ऐसा ही खेल रहे थे वो लोग.
You're wondering who's the
5-1.
leading them forwards. A lot of times we've seen Boaster fulfill that role.
डिफेंडिंग साइडेड मैप है.
Ends up getting traded here, but yeah, that early loss of Kayak really
क्या होगा हमारा?
so well. KC
0 किल पे कौन है?
able to
अच्छा अल्फा है.
congregate of the previous round loss. And they're set up for a sixth here. The question is,
2 गार्डियन 3 शेरिफ.
can they pack into this
वाइपर का
defender's
अल्ट है.
side, which we know the comp is loaded for, and we know most teams tend to find success on this half of Corog.
गाइस कम ऑन सब लोग लाइक वगैरह कर दो.
इस लाइक करो यार, लाइक
I
नहीं
am
हो रहा.
supporting KC.
Stall out on the attack side. We've seen Carmine Core struggle with that attack, well, in general, right across all the map pool, especially with the new map. This Crash is able to get the entry. That's Pyro gone, and an upgrade to be had for one of these players.
All this is going down. AC looking to get proactive here.
अल्फा यार का खाता खुलने दो थोड़ा सा.
This round gets so
हैं?
weird because KC are trying to
ब्रिम बस जा रहा है, मार रहा है, वापस आ रहा है.
brute force their way into sight.
They don't want to go A. They want to follow up on Chronicle. He's lurked all the way
कैच
through
में
B,
ज्यादा
not
लग
getting
रहा
a
है.
chance to
है
flex.
ऊपर ही है क्रॉनिकल आराम से. ओ माय गॉड जीत गए.
Disservice. And
थोड़ा
so
सा
Mason
अगर
is through to
सुगेत्सु
be now
नीचे
open.
देखता तो ये लर्क भी
Well,
जाता.
KC, they need to try and re-clear through CT.
3v3 है.
And Kron is ready for the next fight.
कुछ भी हो सकता.
Take it on the chin. Lick of damage. Trying to
मार
run,
दिया.
but the sight line opens
2v3.
up. Now there's finding
एक
that.
ही गार्डियन है, जिसके
गया.
पास गार्डियन है वो लो है थोड़ा सा.
To KC's favor.
45 HP.
60%.
Clearing utility to try and find him here as crashes.
अरे बाप रे 2 मार दिए 1v1.
Found 2 heads.
फैंटम वर्सेस शेरिफ.
Removed and now it's
All
onto
on
Boaster.
Boaster.
Crashes has done his best.
Sadak.
Can Boaster stand up and complete
Oh
the task?
my
Awesome
damn
man.
god.
KC got
Oh my god. One more time out
offense for
KC.
Fnatic making it back from the ashes yet again.
Yeah, but
टाइम आउट ले ली.
how long are they probably
लेना
gonna
चाहिए ना,
last?
ये तो
Let's be
शेरिफ से
honest
पिट
here.
गए हैं.
This defense has got a bankroll to back itself up. In fact, actually, when I look at it, it's not really that.
नहीं लिया
It's what
टाइम
we
आउट नहीं
expected
लिया
even
गाइस.
after the success that
बच गए.
KC's had in these early rounds. So, sure, ultimates to be had here.
जिस हिसाब से
Fnatic
पहला
have an
राउंड पे बुलाया था उस
opportunity to
हिसाब से तो ये
bring the
राउंड पे
defenders
यू नो
by and send themselves forward.
3 टाइम आउट एक साथ मिला
Looks like
देने
this might be a
चाहिए थे.
chance to use the Sova ult potentially. There's was hanging around outside of B as they double flashed in, and Fnatic respecting this early. KC understanding that they can take marginal victories earlier on in the round by really pushing the limits here, where Fnatic have struggled to withhold.
इन लोग के इतने फास्ट मूवमेंट्स है,
Going towards mid.
कोऑर्डिनेशन इतना
Plenty of
अच्छा
bodies
है.
for either side to fight this.
टीम कैसे क्वालिफाई नहीं
Don't
कर.
want anything to do with it. KC know that the last time there was an A split. Don't
एक
allow
तो
that
ब्रिम थोड़ा सा
opportunity
मोटू एजेंट
to
लगता
the
है,
orange
ऊपर
and
से ये
black,
कूद
and,
रहा है.
well, they'll decide to start to look
Scoop
towards the
मेरे को तो
क्या
पता है.
वो?
Martin using the Viper's Orb against Fnatic,
यूरो
and
के
found
अल्ट
the
से
pop
वो
मरेगा.
छुप
to
गया.
work with, and it works out in his favor. A double kill.
अरे
One more player to
मार्टिन ने
find
मार
to
दी.
make sure that this A main's his, but it's Kayak through link that
3v3
wins out
है
मर
अभी.
गए.
opens up the A site.
वो छुप
Smartly
गया
played
था
from
उन्हीं
Martin.
के
Does a
वाइपर
good job
के
of slowing
उसमें,
down.
इसलिए योरू
Smoke
अल्ट ने
Into the
क्लियर नहीं कर
retake,
पाया.
Sugetsu has a
बूस्टर
timing
गया.
that wins it. That's huge. KC
2v3.
into another retake with numbers. And the Hunter's Fury hasn't hit. It's only delayed the
हैं?
spike a little bit.
वो क्या था?
क्या?
उसने अल्ट किया, एक शॉट मारा और
Exhault
वापस से
from the
उसने
French
अल्ट वो
side.
कर दी.
Facing up on two players. Seen so
कौन
many
तीनों
spread
एक
out
साथ
so
ही
far
खड़े?
this map. We have, but won't get the opportunity this time. Still waiting to play in Sugetsu, and he's really taking his time. And Kayak knows, because of the information that Boaster gave him earlier, the paranoia not hitting, but the spike no longer in Fnatic's control. The Carmine Core players are on top of it, but time is getting low, and you know the players need to start to get to work to get this one
अरे
done.
कैसे नहीं मार पाया वो?
Crashes, knows that the spike's being worked on, but with Sugetsu there,
गया.
it will be a Carmine
6-2.
Core round. And efficiently they sweep it up. The smoke plays
भाई
this
कितना
so
वो था ये.
smartly done from Martin. Playing around the attacking
मारा ही
hyper
थी
smoke
उसने.
from Chronicle. And then finding a little pocket from which
अच्छा
to
खेल
play.
रहे
Doesn't get
KC
cleared,
वाले.
finds his two. 11-5 right now. On an agent you weren't expecting to see him play coming into the day, but for all the questions that we had from him, they have been settled up until this point. But Fnatic still prove that they can be just as good on an eco as a gun round, and that's something they'll tap into here. And this is the thing, right? 4 rounds left. If Fnatic can win at least one, I mean, 2 would be a godsend for them. Then you've got a pistol round where, let's be honest, Fnatic have looked so good time and time again because of Kayak, but for a moment, we'll park that. Sugetsu's taking a walk in mid and doesn't want to go any further. But Fnatic have to invest utility to clear that if they want it. This is a split push, and the spike has to head through middle, so KC are in a brilliant position to handle this. Ultimate. There's a TP towards the top of mid, and Kayak's taking that. Sugetsu trying to hold on with the classic.
अच्छा स्टार्ट तो कर लेते हैं FNC वाले, बट बाद में थोड़ा सा
इसी हो जाता.
The spike has been completely stopped because of this mid duel. And 40 seconds left for Fnatic to try and fight their way out of it. Is this going to pivot to an A-play? It almost has to. You can see the movement, but still, because the spike's in mid, they have to get past Pyro. He's the last line of defense for KC. And Fnatic once again find themselves in a difficult position. But the patience is what always does them so well. Onto a Pyro they go, and he's holding on. Alpha, spike down, and now Chronicle. He's only got a stinger for God's sake.
प्लांट के लिए अभी टाइम ही नहीं है. शुरुआत अच्छा करते हैं फेनेटिक वाले, फिर पता नहीं क्या हो जाता है. 7-2.
Seal the fate of Fnatic on round number 9. KC already with their advantage out of the opening 12, looking to grow that lead. It was a mixed investment, but it just doesn't feel like Fnatic at all. It's so slow, so laboured. KC, on the other hand, have got it bang on with this mid-fight. More brilliant utility from Sadak to support. The null command made things so difficult. It makes you wonder why the spike was committed through that part of the map, perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It doesn't feel like Fnatic, but I don't think slow and labelled is necessarily the words I would use, but it just feels like they don't have the answers that they normally do to buy themselves out of those slow and labelled rounds.
Shadows traveling.
I think his name is Kayak, because you want to draw parallels to Durka in previous years and the shoes that he had to fill, the shoes which he has filled. Something that Kayak was great at doing on Apex is being that autonomous leader, the one which brings direction to the rounds which feel hopeless. But if he's not able to carve out those advantages and already here dead inside the first 40 seconds, then what do the rest of Fnatic have for us? Does it have to be clutches every single time? That's how it feels right now.
They're identifying at least one in main. KC still looking to find information, which they won't actually get through the drone of the Sova.
इको राउंड ही है, गार्डियन वगैरह.
Trying to use the Viper smoke to just push out of the choke, but KC have it covered.
2v4.
twice
फिर
the
से ये
numbers
राउंड भी
now.
गया.
Still slow rolling forwards, but into the jaws of defeat. Alpha
NT.
will walk away with one. That is all.
8-2.
The sole concession
Dude.
with 10 rounds played. KC starting to hit the mark of expectation for this defender's side.
Yeah, and I mean, at this moment in time, right, if it continues this way, we will be missing a Fnatic from a Stage 2 Grand Final. Again, as
KC
already
वाले
said, the last
literally
time that
बहुत
happened
अच्छा
was
खेल रहे हैं.
2021. And what happened that year, Hazza? Where was champs? It wasn't Berlin, it was an EMEA.
Oh, that's a reacher. I don't know, have you got any more of those for KC perhaps to get their fans excited? Because, I mean, this performance alone is seeming to do the trick. Alpha with the first kill. That is a change of pace.
Deep down mid, given that passive information that Fnatic haven't interacted, but there's plenty of bodies here. And KC know that if Fnatic feel
Just
the
had
mains,
my dinner
like to try
watching
and
your
pivot
stream.
to
Thank you
split
so
through mids.
much.
And look
क्या
at how
खाया
far they're
आपने
going.
फिर? यार FNC वाले हार रहे सही में. ये देखो
does.
1v1
Kayak connects
मतलब
to follow it
1v2
up.
ही था.
Spike's
एक
still in the
को
hands of
ड्रॉप
Crash.
कर
He's still
सकते थे.
entertaining the possibility of this duel. The B site is free.
खेल
They
ही
don't
नहीं
know
रही
that
है.
yet.
3v3 है again.
Working his way through.
मार्टिन अवेस तीनों ही अच्छे प्लेयर ही है. ओ नाइस अल्फा. ओ माय गॉड, यही देखना था, यही देखना था.
Sure, I guess that is what it takes.
फाइनली
A quad kill.
ऐसा ही पूरा मैच खेलना था यार, ऐसे ही.
That could be the watershed moment here on Corrode.
yeah, this is going to be a big round to win out. Alpha, absolutely fantastic, sure.
Nice
a little
Alfio,
bit of
sick
luck.
round, bro.
But listen,
Let's kill
a lifeline bot with ultimates in the last round.
KC also playing not just double controller but double scan. They are looking for this information as much as possible. It's actually Sadak's knife that has already spotted the first player in B main.
Kayak's done so well.
कायाक ने मारा. ओ माय
Double
गॉड.
entry.
W
This is fights that they've not been winning.
8-4 हो सकता है.
So that B site opens up.
आज मम्मी ने मस्त
so
बिरयानी बनाई
far
थी.
away.
क्या बात है. W यार.
So is Sugetsu though, and without his ult, it's going to take a little bit more time for KC to get into position. Fnatic have plotted course. So Nightfall in here, and Kron tagged in his pit.
ओ भाई कितने
All
यार.
the way down to 17.
Still managing to keep himself alive, and now it's protect the president to keep that pit up. Deny KC a way back in.
5v3 8-4 हो सकता है इसीलिए.
Prove a big problem, a
चलो
component
गना.
that KC wishes that they had. Fowler spots the first player. They know the aggression of Kayak, paranoia to take him off the line, but Fnatic still fighting this.
Yeah, but every single time Fnatic find themselves in a crossfire towards CT, and it's crashes up on Heaven with Kayak holding on
Nice.
down low, trying to make their approach through the pit is not to be advised, but Kayak and his utility gets caught. Time now starting to get low. And this
8-4
round going
W
into
round.
the realms of Fnatic, into the realms of it being an 8-4
W
half,
round.
which is exactly what is needed.
बहुत
There
अच्छा
could be
खेले
any
KC वाले, no
semblance
doubt.
of a comeback for Fnatic.
A huge turn of events for the black and orange, with Paris already guaranteed. They'll be looking to remove one of the home teams from making that grand arrival, and on this map which they picked into, you're starting to see some of the strengths come through. The defense is up next for them. Can it get any better?
Your body knows. A sense of victory. Seized when mind, movement, and gear ignite as one.
8-4 FNC के लिए डुएबल है, बट केसी वाले बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं. गाइस सब लोग लाइक बट को यार
लाइक करो गाइस।
होपफुली डिफेंडिंग में अच्छा करे एफएनसी वाले, ये मैप ही डिफेंडिंग है बट केसी वाले जैसा खेल रहे हैं ना, वो लोग अटैकिंग में भी निकाल के लेके जाएंगे। केसी का मोमेंटम आ गया है, वही वही
Actually slightly better than last year, but
ऐसे
you
तो
also
वो
have
लोग
to
भाई
consider the
यही टीम
opposition that our
दिखेंगे
team
फिर
has played
फाइनल्स
up
में,
until this point.
जिन लोगों ने
Up
पिकेम्स
against,
में
you know,
एफएनसी
Koi,
वगैरह
Navi,
ये सब
Apex
रखे
in
थे गए वो।
groups. Now
गया
playing
खत्म।
against your Fanatics of the world,
जीजी।
he is looking like the best player in the server. But
कितना
we
हम
turn
लोगों ने
to the
एफएनसी का
defensive
कमबैक
half.
वगैरह
Fnatic
देखा
have
है,
built themselves a
इनफैक्ट यू नो
foundation. And
11-2
to
से
bring
भी
it up
कमबैक
again, you
देखा
have
है,
to look at that
11-13
head-to-head
कर दिया था
between
सीधा।
him and Kayak. Kayak was lights out, didn't lose a single opening duel on the defense, won both of them, and the pistol round is one which we will remember for a very long time.
Remember, Kayak has only won 5 duels so far.
And he's nowhere near this, so it's all eyes on the B side.
Yeah, albeit respecting the push coming through, but not respecting Sadat as he finds the entry pit.
Who's the one furthest forward? The rest of KC now flooding, getting themselves on site, but looking for a way out, an option.
Oh,
Set up this post plant.
I thought for a minute the spike was heading here as well, but instead, no, it's just
Nice,
Alpha.
Alpha.
But listen,
Enemy remaining.
there's a contest on the Prince of Pistols. It seems
Nice.
to be Alpha, and he'll win Fnatic it.
A usurper to the throne, perhaps. Kayak is surplus to requirements. He'll be hoping to build some confidence up going into the anti-eco. But Fnatic, on the face of it, does a very good job at dealing with the threat here. It's once Alpha finds that first fight and has the wall up, drops all the way back through
एफएनसी
elbow
जस्ट नीड
with the
टू
support of
डिले
his
प्लान
team,
टफ
not leaving
केसी। हाँ
themselves
वही
exposed.
डिफेंडिंग मैप ही है ये।
Knowing KC want to give themselves an advantage.
And the big thing here is that Fnatic have denied the attack, the pistol round, to get close to double digits, right?
And that's the thing, now these 8 rounds feels meager, right, in the face. It pales in comparison to Fnatic just sat on 5, but having this defender's half in front of them.
Yeah.
You have to try and work out what it is that KC want to do, what the theory is here. Already you're seeing Pyro loading up towards the Nightfall.
Well, I mean, so far I don't think we've seen KC interact with mid whatsoever, right? I mean, last round it was straight hit in towards B. This round it's been B main and A main, with only Sadak really watching if anybody takes a step further.
और डिवाइड एंड रूल ऐसा क्या?
There, Boaster and his
वो लोग तो खुद स्प्लिटेड ही रहते हैं, पहले एंड में जो साइड में जाना हो, जहाँ से फ्रैग निकला हो उधर पुश कर देते हैं।
global presence. Still an absence of KC as they slowly make their way towards mid, but it's crashes with the Outlaw. Let's see how closer he can get to his own Nightfall.
Smokes denying any lines of sight though, and that's the big thing here. Oh, but big information, even though the Haunt denies and Fnatic collapsing upon this mid play. An in-zone flawless in the anti-eco round will make this bonus even more exciting.
नाइस फर्स्ट
Very
किल
much in the
की
same way we
बात
saw Fnatic
है।
have a flawless bonus.
हाँ वही डिफेंडिंग में तो
KC,
निकल
sorry,
सकता है ये
Fnatic have
मैप
done
पे
it on their
फर्स्ट किल।
anti-eco. But yeah, if you convert the next round, things do look that bit more scary. The collapse here
दोनों
on
ने
the mid
स्मोक के
position.
थ्रू मारा, अच्छा मारा।
Shots through the smoke, serving them well. Just waiting to see what it is this attack wants to do.
This is our game, boys. This is our game.
Smiles still on the faces. Feeling confident they can turn this around, and why wouldn't you?
Confidence within the ranks, but Kayak not
Nice.
found through the dark.
ये वही ना
Aves taking out
डिफेंडिंग
early
साइडेड मैप
doors,
है
so
गाइस। Let's go.
He's immediately here on the B site as well.
और
So you've
उनका
got
कोई
that second
duelist
player
नहीं
over.
है.
In fact, he's the sole custodian of the space.
Duelist नहीं तो अच्छे chance है एकदम
KC
मारने.
looking to send out, force a way through. Not going to happen. Still delay to be had. And oh, a player identified. In fact, a fair few through that horn that they're going back.
Right here.
Crashes on
Nice.
the line. He's going to take the next of those players. KC walking into trouble. Not much health left on the remaining forces that are now
Flawless
trying to
नहीं यार.
recuperate towards B. And Kayak will drop. Still so much work to be done.
Try and get out of. Nah, no chance.
Let's
KC,
go
the
FNC.
opponent's
Nice
this
play.
Fnatic's way. And as you said earlier on, 8-4 looks meager after 3 rounds in a row from Fnatic.
Absolutely it does, and the one thing that I pick up on in that round is sort of the absence as well of having a Viper, something to really lurk into these sites and feign effective pressure. KC are struggling. They're having to invest Martin's Brim smokes to trigger the wall, to get in there and offload the presence that Fnatic have.
ऐसे ही खेलते रहे बस FNC वाले.
Sheriff's here, yeah, they have the Nightfall up, but you're waiting another round to see it find effectiveness most likely.
Something I want to call back to in earlier conversations we were having in the week in the playoffs is that it was Coach Pal, right, the BBL coach, speaking about how you have to load your comps for the attack side rather than the defense side. And right now, the way that I would theory craft is
KC
that
बोलता
KC
था
have
तुम
loaded for
क्या
the
हो अब
defense side
FNC बोल
and
रहा है
only
तुम
got
क्या हो
8
बे.
rounds, which for me feels like a big failure.
Minimal returns, perhaps the best way to put it, but
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. Kayak starting to gain confidence in these first few rounds, and now through his lens, he
Nice.
looks to
दो
find
बुलेट होते दोनों में एक को ले
two
गया.
from the pole and in position to get
Form में
a
आ गई
little
अब.
more, perhaps, but 3 versus 3, no guns for KC, but a post plant on the cards.
Oh, but Crashy's not identified through the nightfall. And
Nice.
an opportunity to deny this fight and any chance of an upset in this round. Sugetsu Sheriff is the only resistance.
8-8. Let's go.
But resistance is futile. We are all even in this corrode.
Feels a little lazy even to overlook the link position with the Nightfall invested elsewhere. Crashies getting the most. And a timeout coming through from
Timeout
KC,
आ
a
गया.
much needed one at this stage in the game. Their tournament
ये
lives
काम
on
का
the line,
टाइम
and
आउट
Matt's
किया
a
है
good,
वो
of
क्या लिया
course,
था
but
पता नहीं.
Find our decider. Still not completely sold on, you know, their own map pool. These things taking time. Measures put in place. And even thinking about the player change.
Yes.
You don't have LAN experience on all too many.
Yeah, that you don't, right? That's the big thing. I mean, you think about
पहले
all the
वाला
players
waste
in-
कर
in
दिया
the
ना. हाँ
threes
वही.
in VCT.
एक राउंड मिला ही
But
था
even
FNC
then,
को.
I mean, it's not like you could say Pyro's the problem right now.
Yeah.
He's 15 and 12. He's at the top of the scoreboard. He was admirable on Haven. It's just a system which is not quite working to the efficiency that you'd expect, and the attack side doesn't feel perhaps as well thought out as what we had initially hoped for KC.
And well, coming in to the next round after KC's timeout, to talk about what the buy looks like, we are going to get Kayak on his operator, and also Alpha here bringing out the Odin. This map has felt paper thin at times, and I don't think we've really seen an EMEA teams capitalise upon that.
So gonna get from KC here a slower default, both mains attempted again. Pyro over towards that left-hand side is gonna be looking for the orb. He has the prowlers to bring Kayak off the line. Alpha spamming until the bullets are run out. Martin catches Kayak. A huge kill in the round to influence its progress. To give KC half a chance. It's still the ace stack.
KC First time we've really seen them go towards mid and clear it out, but the utility not really there to back it up, and instead, no, they go towards a Fnatic respond to the pressure of just a single knife and smoke, and when it's bringing them closer towards this A side where the spike's going.
Exactly, and when I say stack, I meant utility, but there's no players to play off it now. Fnatic gutting the mid portion just to make sure that they're in the best possible position for a retake as they sit a man down. That's the equalizer. Pyrol taken off his feet. Crashies has his
किसने
number.
एक्टिंग कर दी?
Poster now by his side with the flank closing in. KC will begin to search for that
A
advantage
pushing
again.
full.
Yeah, but Sugetsu's all alone in main, and he's trying to run Scarpa
4v4.
towards the side, but he's playing dangerously.
Still dwindling around, but here is Kron. The onus put on him here. Quick trade.
3v3.
Headshot maybe over-delivering in that situation because it's kept it at 3-on-3. Elevated position Sugetsu. No more to be done from him in the round. And we're still at an even man
Guys,
count
सब लोग
as it
like करो,
continues to
come on.
draw forwards. Double stack of players for KC. Walking in with the Odin. Alpha at the back of the pack. It's
Nice.
that will win it for Carmine Core in the end. The first round on their attack side. 5 times the struggle, but finally
round
they're
speech.
on the board.
And that's exactly what they wanted, right? Finally getting this attack off to a start, but lots of bodies lost after that, after the fact. And still, that attack side economy not looking good, especially when Fnatic can bounce straight back with 3 ultimates lying in wait.
Immediately been checked by the knife. It wasn't for Alpha yet to go ahead and break it. Now this round, a lot more difficult, a lot tougher to crack if you're KC. They've done a great job at removing key pieces from Fnatic's defense before. Oh, what? What is that? Sugetsu's deleted Kayak into the Shadow Realm he sent, and that was something to focus on. The macro, having the Viper's Pit and the op on either side. The A site now loosened up.
Does feel a bit softer. Crashes there to try and reinforce it. With that Viper's Pit holding down B main, it feels as if KC really have only one option, and Sugetsu identified through the Prowler.
You can also see what they're doing. They're sending Pyrol now towards B to fake that they might want to clear through the pit. Problem is, in the meantime, so much utility being spent on A that it's kept Fnatic interested. No rotation yet to be made.
Bring them down.
Time getting low. Prowler not getting Kron.
That's dragged Boaster over.
30
And it
seconds
has,
left.
but he can influence the round through being just Astra, right? And the fact that we're also going to get the ultimate come through, the Steel Guard, and this is a real problem for KC. The firepower not there to support the push.
Preemptive play made, and with 15 seconds, KC have to scale into the A site. The orbital strike to cut off most of the ground.
Brim ने
The
ult
space
कर
that they
दिया
can't
भाई.
themselves flood into. Spike needs to hit the deck, still not committed. Finally, it's a last gasp opportunity, which Crashies cannot deny.
Plant
The
हो
kill's
गया.
still in place
Oh
for
my
Fnatic,
god.
But KC have numbers.
That they do, only one player better, and still Kron to come through, but he's flanking.
Alpha and elbow. Completely unchecked here. Vigilant round the corner, collecting the first. Quick trade. Sadak has his number, as do KC. He will set up the contact, the captain. It's Aves to swing, but it has to be through the molly. Disciplined, in position.
10-8.
Resolute they remain. KC, in the face of this Fnatic oppression on their defender's side, have finally seen the light and found 2 from 2.
Got to remember, Fnatic are fighting for their playoff live. Sugetsu, that should not have been allowed.
Oh, and it was Aves that ulted trying to get the spike down. If that doesn't show the sheer desperation.
I see Hazem planting nachwe, ulting nachwe, planting nachwe.
The panic. But as it sets in, the same could be said for Fnatic. Their second and final timeout used in regulation.
This is elimination as well. You've got to remember, lower bracket run for either of these teams, a very important match, and KC still have one timeout in the chamber if it's needed later into this matchup. As both coaches, or both sets of coaches, try to inform their teams on how to move forward. KC have found a vulnerability in the A side of the map.
They'll be looking to exploit it as much as possible. Fnatic still getting to terms with what it means to play on Corrode. You can see it in some of the rounds. They picked into it now twice, maximizing their time on the new map. We've not really seen them do that since when Lotus emerged all those years ago, and we spoke about it before. That it's so important that they can get up to speed. That is the focus of this exercise, but even then, to be eliminated by KC here would be well below expectation. Despite the stakes, despite what's on the line, huge swing round potentially here coming up in terms of the finance for both. Miss Knife Sadak, but matters not. A main is KC's, and it's a pacey take they'll be looking for.
Yeah, and it's backed by the null command, right? Everything offline. But the Vise of Alpha Year is on the other side of the map, so that's at least influencing the round. The players trying to break out of this link position, but the body's there, the Odin not hitting. Crash is missing out, but Poster
Odin चलाने का ही मौका नहीं मिला.
and players have been so
Nice Kayak.
which Kayak will manipulate to his advantage. Spike
एक
on the
अकेला
floor,
बच गया ये.
and Kayak chasing him down. He needs to be careful.
He has the spike and a full util belt.
Yeah, but 9 bullets in the chamber. That might be all he needs.
Nice 4 kill by Kayak. क्या बात है.
W.
Full
Kayak on
domination.
Once again, it's Kayak wins a round for Fnatic.
A player reborn on the defensive half.
W.
A Fnatic able to spin things back to their own success. It started well. Sadak baiting in there with the jump on low HP to get the trade. A much quicker approach with the KO ult used, but you can see how much it means to the coaches because they know
Let's
भी
go.
good हो
हाँ
गया.
ऐसे ही तो खेलना है पूरा.
a chance to settle the score equal again.
एक राउंड आ
Such
गए
a
हैं
huge
KC अब
piece
बस.
which didn't turn value
Yeah.
in a pivotal round.
Relief for Fnatic. As all the stockpile of ultimates is gone and they're really trying to scale up through mid. They've never really dealt with the top of it. And Kayak, the player who clutched up last round, put under the cosh.
Kayak ही मर गया.
Chronicles there.
Oh my god. Ace Chronicles
Oh
का.
no, cross.
Oh my god.
And we go all even once
10-10.
KC
इस
think
लेवल
they've
से
sieged
कॉर्नर
the
चेक
castle,
कर रही थी.
and the battering ram comes out the other side from Chronicle. 4 kills in an instant, played in by Crashy's ult. Let's quickly.
क्या मारा है
as we
एकदम
come
एम
out
लेफ्ट
the
जैसा
previous
मार
timeout,
दिया.
There's another one invested, and this time it's on the blue side of the server.
फिर से
This will
KC
be
का
the
टाइम
last
आउट.
timeout of this
Last
map
time
in
out है ये.
regulation.
Something which Sadak had always been so good at doing was those pace changes, and here it's a gear shift towards the cliff's edge instead. Still a map to the good, still plenty more Valorant to be played this evening. But KC want to wrap this one up quickly. They've got places to be. Paris, the destination at the end of it all, of course, but in terms of what they change up here, there's a mental game being played between the two. Fnatic reacting very quickly in the previous couple to any presence.
Can't rush a good thing though. Well, they want to get this done early. They might have to wait till to that third map and be patient with it as well. As we head into what is the last 4 rounds of regulation.
Rotation's looking really solid from the defenders at the moment, and Kayak nearly breaking even
अब
in the
बस
previous
consistent
few.
रहना है.
Something
हाँ
I wanted
वही.
to highlight before is, how much is Pyrol assisting the rest of his team? I think while the kills on the surface look good, you want to see more assists from the Fade player here. The scaling has been an issue so far on some of these attack rounds. Take the most out of the tools that they've got. Fight taken from Fnatic in mid. KC quickly again moving into this space.
Yeah, they are. Kayak though on the hunt, and he just
Kayak
backs
पे अल्ट आ
away.
गया. हाँ वही.
Didn't want to bite the bullet, risk the potential of going down. He knows what it means. The whole first half he struggled in those first fights, but now new sense of confidence about his being.
But he's heard everything that's going on in A-Line right
Has.
now.
And that's why Chronicle has arrived on the scene with him beneath the arch.
Comes in at the right time. Sadak denied any lines of sight towards top mid where Kron could be. Look at Crashes.
Walking out.
Nice
Kayak,
one.
first blood on the round.
Trade हो
Shut
गया.
down quickly. Sugetsu on the swivel. Viper wall up. Kron caught with his hands in his pockets. Two players peeking. Still gets out beyond the half wall. And
Nice.
Trashies
Nice.
taking down Martin.
Nice. Martin को
क्या
निकाल
बात
दिया.
है. 1v3 है अभी तो यार अभी come on. अभी तो
अब
जोश
तो
आ
मार ही
गया
देंगे
है.
easy.
Nice.
W 10 level.
10 11.
Third map.
Let's go. Two
Third
more
map
round.
is-
Come on. Come on. We can do this.
Chance was right in front of them.
Think of how many clutches that Fnatic were able to win. Well, at least 3 out of the 4, right?
That now completely alters the dynamic of the game here. KC trying to trade, play as a unit.
Thank you, Cronny. Thank you, Cronny.
It's a little bit split. Needing to create pressure on the extremities as well as middle. There's just so much weighing on their minds right now.
And it feels as if the pace that KC had at the start of this map is starting to lessen and lessen as they don't have a buy. All on Sheriffs.
Match
It's almost
point जा
increasing at
सकते
the
हैं.
same time. They've turned up the velocity of these executions. The problem being that Fnatic are equal to it every single time. they're
Nice
here.
one.
It's a shot in the dark from Boaster. Martin gone with an ult. Should it get to that point? But Fnatic have a few of their own, and really, you are looking towards that final round.
Match point
The KC
जा
create
सकते हैं हम
themselves
लोग.
any
Let's
advantages
go
here. One of them
FNC.
would
हम
be
ही
if
को
Pyro
जीतना है.
could get an extra ult point.
It's Big F. Another Big F is if they can clear Kron in the corner. Utility there, and they're not going to do it.
Nice.
Equal to the task.
पूरी
Brilliant
घेरे
from
ने उस
Chronic
पकड़
with
लिया था
Boaster.
सबको.
And Sugetsu all alone on the site. Ashiyan
एक तो अंदर आ गया.
try and clear this.
Nice.
now, but Fnatic are there.
12.
And they
Let's
will
go.
reach that point.
No more OT. Direct जीत जाओ. Come on FNC. We can do
Yes.
this.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Stage 1 champions showing you what it means to go through the gears, the motions. Taking a little bit of time.
Nice. बहुत बढ़िया
But
खेला ये
rounds like
round.
this are just a confidence boost more than anything else. All the util in the choke. KC can't get past it. They need 2 in a row here. The best effort that they've been able to achieve. The timeline would suggest that they're set up for it, but Fnatic have the tools into round 23.
चलो B
One
side
of them is the pit again.
में ult कर दिया है Viper ने.
Just stop this initial B push.
Last time KC interacted with this Viper pit was when they just sent the lone fade to
अरे
try and clear it
नहीं.
out. This time round,
Crash इसको.
maybe a res to find crashes.
Crashes को मार दिया.
Kayak's there as well,
4v5.
though, and he's immediately re-cleared towards mid, knowing that KC aren't here. This isn't an option for them.
Portal closed.
Was able to draw both
Push
his
नहीं, push
rotation
नहीं,
last
push
time.
नहीं. आराम
Well,
आराम
here,
से खेलें.
Not playing with the util. Sadak holding.
अरे
And has
बाप रे.
Kayak dead to right.
अरे
On
push
the
क्यों करना है
angle.
भाई?
Alfie just re-clearing A in the meantime, using his flash.
चलो एक round किया.
Taking down Sadak. Well, versus
3v4.
करने के लिए.
3v4 यार.
3v3 करने के लिए एक बंदा और एक मारना.
Yeah, and a lot of vice utility to try and get through
Reveal
as
हो
well.
गया Alpha.
Also Kron's orb. A little
Yeah.
more time
अरे.
for.
And Alfia has support.
Nice
There's no stop.
Alpha.
Alfia
3v3.
knocks it
3v3.
into next head, hitting his crosshair. Spike on the ground, Nightfall invested. KC need to try and make their way towards A. They encircle it.
Side
Fight
से
है उसके पास.
करेगा.
An orbital strike to clear out the site.
Huh?
Alfia just managing to escape or so.
अरे
अरे
नहीं.
नहीं.
They've opened it up clearly. And Kron has to try and make his way back through.
1v3.
Multiple clutches for the
बहुत
man
मुश्किल है
already.
1v3 का.
Could the most decorated player in VCT add another clutch to his
NT.
collection? Not
यार
gonna
OT में
happen.
मत
Right.
जाओ. जीत जाओ 11-13.
staying in.
हैं.
With the
11-13.
potential of
Come
a
on.
fifth overtime in as many matches.
काइजाक
as
पे
many
अल्ट है.
maps.
आ गया है. देखते हैं वो यूज भी तो करना चाहिए.
कायाक बोल दे. अल्फा इधर बच जाता तो राउंड अपना ही था थोड़ा बहुत.
क्रॉनिकल्स को पहले पुश नहीं करना था. ये गलती कर दी उसने बहुत. ज़्यादा ही ओपन में चला गया.
Fnatic still sitting on plenty of strong ults though. Strong ults for a retake potentially.
Only problem with that is if Sadak's able to get an
FNC के पास पूरा चांस है. पता
really
3
delay
अल्ट है
any
उनके. 3
retake
अल्ट.
they want to go for.
Exactly. The Hunter's Fury in early. Oh, Aves lands the tag. Looking for Crashy, searching still. Can't
नहीं
find
नहीं
it.
और
Crack-
पिक नहीं एक
Kayak
एक फ्रैग बहुत होता है
tracking
पीछे
down
जाओ
instead. And he's out. No way of a trade. Fnatic wanted the mid-brawl initially. It has served them so well up until this point. Spotted in the back
Hide
line,
कर लेगा
anticipating
सही
the Flash Chronicle, the same fate, but no capitalization. Still here playing from the corner.
अरे
On the wall,
नहीं
Abbas finally takes him down.
अरे यार
KC back in the 4-on-4.
रेड हो गया नो TR come on
A
FNC
direction which KC have picked
3v3
now, and it's a
3v4
B site
sorry
where Boaster lies in wait from heaven.
Sadak still doesn't have the ult, so he can't remove all of that extra utility. He would love to maybe fake towards A, but it's a group up and a B hit instead that we're going to end up getting. Boaster first line of defense. He has an ult, so does Alpha.
अकेला बी पे बूस्टर ही है
That ultimate orb being picked up has been heard. No command used, and
Adam.
Fnatic respecting this. There's a little bit of spam coming through from Crash's Odin, but it hasn't really netted anything in terms of a kill.
Yeah.
लो तो किया है
Boaster maybe shown a bit too much. Gives a pick to
OT
KC.
लग रहा है अब
Still
तो
players low on the
OT
KC
Yeah,
side.
oh,
though. One of them,
Odin spam
Martin,
से गया
melted through the wall. The hopes and
Spike
dreams
ही
of
है
his team might be
planter
slipping
ही
through
है
their fingers.
चलो गन छीन
अल्ट
Trying
अल्ट
to
अल्ट
get
अल्ट
offside.
अल्ट अल्ट
Full setup from elbow in post, but where is the spike planted?
अब
in
मारो
all of
भाई
this?
इजी इजी से मारो
Is there safety? A sanctuary perhaps for KC.
जल्दी करना पड़ेगा
Something
कोई
to sit on.
चांस
Could they
नहीं
take it to OT? Or a Fnatic gonna
अरे
hold the line all the way
stick it
through?
please अरे
He seems to think so.
Shit.
But
हाय
Pablo
ओटी
did it.
ओटी चला गया
KC
हाय
stamped it out to
कैसे
overtime
यार
again.
अच्छा खेल रहे केसी वाले लिटरली अच्छा खेल
Massive
रहे
round
हैं
for KC. And to think as well, you look at Fnatic, they had everything that they needed.
जब जब इम्पोर्टेंट राउंड्स है ना उधर बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं बहुत ज्यादा
Let's go, guys. Let's
Just
go.
a
पूरा
second
लॉक्ड
minute
इन
in the
है
end,
वो
KC
लोग
into
यार
another
ओटी हो गया
OT,
अभी
but
देखते हैं कौन जीतता
the
है
statistical say
अभी तो 50-50 फुल
they have typically won from these positions. It feels crazy to think after the lead that they held early on in this game that faded away from them. But Alex still with work to be done.
KC and Fnatic well aware of each other's positions, as you said earlier, how each other want to play in terms of being scrim partners.
अभी
They've
तो
played
कुछ
each
भी हो
other in
सकता है
groups, remember.
50-50
This
चांसेस
is a
है
repeat matchup. It opened up stage 2.
That's what makes Find all the more interesting if we do go there, because there is tape for both.
They played each other on it.
Exactly. Alpha back to business though. Vice Wall placed on A. But KC have not often looked to actively challenge
B
this
की
space
तरफ
any
ही
more
है
aggressively than his positioning would suggest. Flash searching, but behind smoke finds nothing. So Getsu will want to face check this. Fnatic yet to reveal themselves with the minute mark now crossed.
Seen Kayak identified through that knife as a lone player. Is there anything else at the back of this, right?
Feel the tension.
And with this Viper wall up, KC are forced to either face check this into 3 players or allow Fnatic the space.
30 seconds left.
Gets closer to crunch time. Boaster bold from the corner. Util sent out. Still Sadak trying to hold the line,
Nice.
but Boaster bests him.
कम ऑन ये राउंड अपना है लेट्स गो 2v5
मारो मारो मारो
मारो लेट्स गो
Making this attack work.
बस नेक्स्ट वाला डिफेंडिंग में भी निकल जाए तो मजा आए
Deleted. Alpha, one more.
एक
Now
एक
Martin has it all on his plate.
Against
1v4
4 as well. Crawl in the corner, 2 players to try and swing off of him. This is everything that Fnatic want.
रैंडम फायरिंग
As soon as
रैंडम
that reload is hit, Chronicle
अरे, अरे।
smells the blood in the water.
अरे
Eyes
क्या
bigger than his stomach, perhaps.
ओह,
Martin will get away with another, but this attack round and how pivotal it could be for Fnatic is everything.
नेक्स्ट वाला
As
बस
KC will
निकल
have to
जाए
go
ये
back
जीतने के बाद मजा
And
आ
win
जाएगा
another one of their own. There's simply not
Nice.
enough time on the clock to make it happen.
अभी नेक्स्ट वाला चाहिए
चलो।
अपने को
Play the
नेक्स्ट वाला
blinder
चाहिए
here
चाहिए ही चाहिए नहीं तो डबल ओटी हो जाएगा अपना
in our second OT of this series.
And that's something we need to be aware of, is how well this Viper wall is working in terms of creating that pressure.
Yeah, Christmas. Bro, rotate. Meet.
वो एनिमी टीम को कॉल दे रहे
so
रोटी।
many times. Fnatic needing this duel now, but nobody's there.
Remember, Alpha has stood up though.
अभी बस डिफेंडिंग ये राउंड चाहिए बस और
okay.
कुछ
Is
नहीं
that
चाहिए
the
बस
way
ये
we're
राउंड
going?
चाहिए।
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's see. Ask for the mid duel, and he's set up Kron here to receive it. Fight in main, double reveal. Aves looking to
3v4
profit
हो
off
सकता
it,
है, हो
but
सकता है,
Kron
FNC
had the
हो
double.
सकता
He's
है।
held up his end of the bargain again.
Nice 2v4
Shows
यार,
the
come
rest
on
of
FNC,
Fnatic.
come on,
That's
Come
great.
on, मारो।
Looking very
come on,
lonely,
come
looking
on,
through
come
mid,
on,
and
let's go
Sugetsu, if he goes a
FNC,
step too
FNC,
far,
जीतो।
gets caught out. This round is totally unwinnable.
It might be. It's already feeling the case. But two players who know how to win
Come
a
on
clutch.
FNC, come on।
Sugetsu saying after
दिख
that
जाएगा,
Alpha
इधर
क्यों
से
कूद
दिख-
रहे?
felt this sense
इधर
of
से
calmness
दिखेगा
in years
Crashy।
coming into a match, even with so much left on the line. Still think it possible. A 2
स्पाइक
versus
किधर
2
है?
towards
स्पाइक
A
तो
or B,
मिड में बी की तरफ
whichever way
दिख
they
रहा
go,
है।
but they have to play together.
इसके पास
I
ही
don't know.
स्पाइक है।
That's the problem. Sugetsu's trying to take a timing.
Chronicle has the jump up here, and as
Nice
Sugetsu
spike
walks
down,
in, it's the
let's go
spike
FNC।
held.
भाई
Fnatic moving
चलो
ever closer.
4v1
Pyro to pull them out of a bad position, and Chronicle yet
आ
to
रहा
be
है।
cleared. 20 seconds or less, or we're going all the way
Come
to
on, come on,
bind.
let's go
Pyro walking in.
FNC।
स्पाइक उठा
He's
लिया।
not going to find it with
नाइस
this one.
4 किल क्रॉनिकल
So
भाई
Fnatic
चलो।
FNC W मैप, इसीलिए तो
मैप
खाया था
3
करो W है। ये अच्छा खेला, बहुत बढ़िया। थोड़ा सा अपना अटैकिंग के टाइम पे थोड़ा वो था, बट ये मैप की डिफेंडिंग है तो दिखा दिया डिफेंडिंग करके।
कल
ये लो
कल भी ऐसा हुआ था, आज भी ऐसा हुआ।
W11 केसी वालों ने भी बहुत अच्छा खेला क्लोज, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा अटैकिंग में वो एफएनसी वाले थोड़ा वो हो गए थे। W यार जीत गए हम लोग ये मैप। लेट्स गो 1-1 वी गो मैप 3।
वैसे एफएनसी के मैप में केसी वाले जीत गए, केसी के मैप में एफएनसी जीत गई।
नहीं अपने अपने मैप पिक्स में ही जीते हैं। हेवन केसी का था और ये एफएनसी का था।
अच्छा मुझे लगा हेवन उन्होंने लिया था, एफएनसी ने लिया था। देखते हैं मैप 3 कौन सा है। लोटस गाइस
Your
बॉक्स
body knows a sense of
क्या था
victory
मैप 3?
seized when mind,
कैसे
को देखता हूँ।
gear ignite as one.
बाइंड
Now,
बाइंड
step into your zone.
काया क्रेज
Designed to win.
अल्फा वाइपर तो रहेगा ही। ब्रिम आई थिंक लेगा बोस्टर, क्रैशीज लेगा फेड, साइफर ले सकता है अल्फा यार। बढ़िया खेला यार ये मैप पे तो एफएनसी वालों ने मतलब अच्छा खेल दिखाया।
तोड़ दिया भाई, तोड़ दिया।
अभी बाइंड में एफएनसी को खेलना तो चाहिए अच्छा, बट केसी बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं तो कुछ नहीं बोल सकते हम लोग। ओ भाई 1 मिनट देना, मैं आई ठीक है
किश
गाइस। तब तक लाइक करो 1-1
डिसलाइक करो।
नाइस 1।
1-1 नाइस, ये भी ठीक।
आ गई मैं आ गई. I am very back.
ओके इंटरव्यू चल रहा है.
Mini, there was a few rounds where they relied on their individuals, but talk me through what happened here.
Yeah, I think in the green room we were discussing like, oh, Fnatic look like they're like completely out of this one completely. It could be a 2-0, and then as per usual, when we start doubting them, it's the individuals shining. So obviously
पहले
both
हम
are
लोग
known for
पूरे
his like
मतलब शान
potential,
से
and
बोल
then
सकते
Chronicle
थे
just
बाइन तो
Chronicle. So both
FNC
of
का
them
मैप
together
है,
just, you know, I mean,
एसएन
I
तो
felt sorry for
FNC का
KC
मैप
because
है.
like KC this year
बट
it's
अभी
been
सोचना
a
पड़ता है
problem
क्योंकि
for them
टीम
these kind
इतने
of rounds.
अच्छे हो
They
गए सामने
advantage
वाले.
rounds, all they need to do is like go in together and scale together. But look, like the way they go through like this smoke
इम्प्रूव
together,
कर
they
रहे
just
दिन
like
ब दिन.
kind of line up stupidly.
Yeah, and they're going up against two very experienced players, right? Flyer, you need to count on this sort of experience when you're in these clutches, and also boasted later than wins a 1v1 against Tarak too.
Yeah, I think that they got the unluck part of the draw where they got the most dangerous players in the clutch in the 2v5. They played it really well.
You're not gonna hate seeing these two clutching. I assume Chronicle is waving at his wife. I think Angelina's back in the venue. But let's look towards Bind, because this is going to be map 3 and it is elimination, so whoever loses here will not progress
Elimination
at
नहीं है.
playoffs. And this is also where Fnatic had a choice to ban Bind and go Lotus, or ban Lotus and go Bind. So why do you think they made this decision?
Well, as I said, Sadak has never lost to Boaster on Lotus.
FNC तो
Even
बहुत
this
अभी
year,
ट्राई
I
हार्ड
believe
करेगी.
KC had Fnatic's number
जीतने
on
ही.
Lotus too. I think that Bind is a map that both teams like. KC in the past running that deadlock, very aggressive kind of exit kind of style, and Fnatic running the kind of the Teo, like a bit strange, but I think it's working really well for them.
Yeah. What did you make of their? I guess they've already beat Liquid here pretty recently. So do you like the deadlock vice stuff?
I'm a big fan of it. I think it's actually, at the start of the year, I thought it was a niche thing that's like a cheese get wins, but it's actually looking like it's really, really consistently good.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one and done. And on this comp, I mean, as far as I can see, they've only ever lost against Fnatic actually, running this comp. But Pyro also, I felt like, has been heating up.
Actually, just to go back to the point, the last time Fnatic played KC on this comp, Fnatic had a great game plan against the deadlock specifically. On the attack side, I think you need to look out for them doing like what I call like an anti-Sage default, which means that they're going to go around the map looking for that deadlock wall. And basically Fnatic are going to spread the map, play slow like they usually do, and that style actually works really well into deadlock, because they just get
Chronicle married है ना?
do what they want after. So deadlock becomes
Chronicle आइडिया नहीं है. चेक करते हैं.
मैरिड है. जस्ट मतलब थोड़ी देर पहले ही वो कास्टर ने बोला था वाइफ आया हुआ है.
Fnatic are going to do.
maybe like re-clear behind it.
और Chronicle का एज बस 23 है.
As soon as that wall goes down, they just need something like some re-aggression or some re-information.
20 साल की उम्र में शादी की थी. As per report.
We don't see a lot. So what have you made about the way they use the tickle?
I mean, my opinion's changed over time because I actually did not like it at the start. I thought it was more of like a pick where it's like they're just bringing it over from the previous stage because they didn't get much time to practice it. But after watching G2, for example, play it recently, I think it's actually a good pick.
वो अच्छा ले रहा है. मुझे लगा था Brim देगा.
I feel like that's in his own league.
Yeah, I mean, I made the joke that putting Alpha on this agent is like putting Chovy on Nami, I think, when Drexus was here. But unfortunately, Alpha's been like kind of incredible.
Yeah.
I feel like Chovy will be good on Nami as well.
It's true,
like,
but he's not going to get 40 kills, is he? Like.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. But we are in the final stretch now.
Boaster I think 30 years old है और वो मतलब relationship में है और Chronicle 23 का है और वो 20 साल में ही शादी कर लिया था.
I got them because they're starting on defense with this comp. I think it's going to be hard for Fnatic to work them.
I think Fnatic, because they showed their game plan before, that they can deal with the deadlock specifically very well.
You're really showing your bias here as well, Mini. The Reddit thread is going to write itself.
You know, I love to flame them and stuff, but their game plan against this comp before was genuinely like a blueprint for how you play against a deadlock, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm going to carry on saying what I said after map 1, which is, you know, your alphas, your kayaks, I don't
अच्छा
think
हुआ
they can
जिंगू
afford to
के
have
ऐसे
a
न्यूज़ नहीं
slow
मिले
of a
मुझे.
start. As we've seen so far, you need to rely on them, and it's the same for Martin
जिंगू तो
and
अपना
Aves
क्यूट
as well. On the other side, I think both teams have very
बेचारा यार वो
clear
सच में
win
क्यूट ही है.
conditions, but the pressure is on the side of KC. Fnatic have already made champs, and Hazo and Cairo, if KC lose here, their road will end now.
That's it for Fnatic. It's a road, albeit a bumpy one throughout the lowers. For KC, it is the path of which they have to walk if they want to find themselves in Paris, in Ivry Coqueron, in front of their home fans. Stadium feels like a long way away.
Bind तो कहते हैं FNC का strong में हुआ करता था. अभी KC है तो कुछ बोल नहीं सकते.
Which we saw previously played between the two within the group. As you can see here, Fnatic on that attack side, once the spike goes down, it might already be over.
Well, KC need to stop them getting this spike down, right? That's a way to look at it. KC gonna get no chance of any fights as Fnatic slow roll away once again through the pistol round.
But this is the approach that Mini was talking about, even on the pistol where there's a little bit less utility. Interesting to see KC, I suppose, not running any sheriffs here, but that's the trade-off.
KC का defending है.
Put some of those parts in play. Tarak just monitoring showers. Fnatic start to drop some footfall behind this Viper wall. But no sign of commitment just yet, not until Alpha brings the drone out.
Sound sensor up.
Sadak ready. Gravnet in hand. And a player close by to support him, that would be Sugetsu, but the delay still coming through. No capitalization in kills, but Sadak at least gets the trade. Elsewhere, Crashes is working
Wall
on B.
है इधर.
Going to be a heads up with this wall too, so Crashes has to wait for the rest of the team, and even then a bait not exactly going to help their efforts out. Two players splitting.
दो लोग एक ही जगह बैठे
And
हुए.
they have to force out a hookah here.
Yeah, that they do. And there's also a Vez holding from
Nice.
CT. Boaster finds
Very
Pyro.
better.
And Martin
Nice.
under fire.
बढ़िया start.
Everybody on B
Nice.
is gone. And Sadak has a long road to walk to the site that Fnatic
Planting.
are planting on.
Another Fnatic pistol round queued up.
Deadlock
with it
ही है
being on
इधर
the
एक में.
attack side as well.
कई.
KC setting up for their defense.
सदक अच्छा खेलता है तो no chance.
I fear that some of the same problems with
कुछ भी हो
Corrode
सकता.
may rear their ugly head. The only team in the league not to be running a Viper on bind, KC. And the stopping power seemingly not enough here already.
You can see Alpha getting ready for the flank. The Fnatic players
Nice.
to play him in.
Good
The
start
pistol
for
round
FNC.
will be won on map 3, or the opening of map 3, I should say.
Yeah, and what you get from that Viper is, you know, the decay on players jumping out of hookah, constantly being able to replenish that. And it's just clean fights that Fnatic are able to take in the end. That Vice wall slows things down a little bit, but
Good start.
it's just
ऐसे
another
ही बस
piece
ऐसे
of
ही
utility
खेलता रहे
thrown to the
मजा आ
wind
जाए.
as Fnatic have got the start that they were looking for here.
That they have. And it's the same positions as last round in terms of how Fnatic are waiting to see what KC do, if there's any aggression.
Fnatic on this map. Early fights will be so favourable if they're able to spin them in their favour.
कुछ भी हो
Have to
सकता
think
है
about
बाय
the attack
राउंड
side
वगैरह
on the
पे.
previous map. Yes, also addressing certain individuals, Kayak, Alpha, wanting to get up and running early. He's top fragged almost every game for them so far. Toronto really being that
Extra
statement,
बेचारी.
cementing himself.
Astra is a
amongst the
cute
very
agent
best.
यार, बहुत प्यारी है.
Voice line अच्छा है.
Fnatic into the late round again, starting to work this B space. KC have put even further priority towards hookah this time.
Crossfire. Martin and Aves, but it's the Gecko actually who's identified. Martin gets seized.
मारो.
Left
And
right
that should allow for an easy opportunity onto the fight, but Fnatic hesitant to really take it. And Kayak, well, he's on the B side.
नहीं risk.
Nice. दोनों को एक नहीं मारा, क्या
Nice.
बात है क्रॉनी.
तेहो लेने का फायदा हुआ.
Key component to their success on Corrode.
जगह से हिलवा दिया पूरा. निकलो बाहर.
और
One
क्या?
Viper in the server here who started off well. Kayak
या
looking
तो
to
तेहो
farm
के
up
उसमें
onto-
मारो या तो ये हमसे मरो.
नहीं. हाँ.
Has been
बच
netted.
गए.
Slowly working his way into the corner into safety to
तीन लोग फिर से गाइस, यही पावर ऑफ फ्रेंडशिप.
तीन लोग ही.
through the spike detonation. So
भाई हार्ट
Fnatic
अटैक आ
go
जाएगा
on
इन
the
लोगों
hunt.
को.
Kayak round the corner.
क्या देख लिया बे, अभी तो वापस आ जाओ, हो गया, इतना ही देखना था, वापस आ जाओ.
Behind him, ready to try and break this
इतना ही
one
देखना
down.
था. फैंटम डाउन नहीं,
Through.
फैंटम डाउन नहीं.
Looking a bit dodgy.
नाइस. ओ एस फॉर क्रॉनिकल.
Ace in the end.
एस. ओ
Good for
डब्ल्यू
him.
राउंड यार,
Someone whose
डब्ल्यू ऐसे ही,
performance
ऐसे ही, बस ऐसे ही.
Dropped off
ऐसे
against
ही
Liquid.
खेलना है.
It's a real rarity that you'll see him below par. But it's the weeks following that have shown exactly why he finds himself
I gave you a
in
villain.
Valorant's
I
Hall
gave.
of Fame, as it would be 5 years into the game.
Recap.
For KC, something that we do want to highlight is their 5 versus 4 win rate sitting almost 10% below average.
ये लोग शायद ऐसे ही बैठ जाते हैं
Converting
सेविंग
advantages
राउंड
was
वगैरह
something
में.
that they'd focused on improving a lot. And they'll be searching for an early one here. Push down a short with Martin in position.
अभी बाय राउंड.
There's plenty of bodies to find if Martin wants to go and take a fight.
Sort of in raising that statistic, it's something that they have improved on so far today.
Identified. TP towards backside, and that's what he's going to opt for. Utility used to actually clear him out.
टीपी कर गया वो कब का.
So there's a little bit of a win for KC here.
At the same time, that deep vice wall removed at the cost of just a salvo on Alpha yet. Still plenty of utility for Fnatic to attack with, and once again, they're just testing the A site, moving their focus over towards B.
Come on FNC.
B from Kayak. Spike still sat outside of Market, and Kron already up the length of long with Boaster by his side. Difference being this round, Sadak has the setup, the sensors are there, and a third player also arriving, but oh, this is the change up from Fnatic now through the TP, it's an A pivot.
Only 2 players here. Only 1 Thorns on the ground. It's not looking oh so strong that you would expect. The arc throw is just placed, and when it's used, it actually gets Martin. None of the
भाई
Fnatic
तेहो बहुत
players.
गोटेड
It works
है.
out in the attacks.
पूरा जगह से मूव करवा दे रहा है जहाँ पे होल्ड
In a
करे
bad
हुए.
spot, but so Fnatic in terms of time. They're patient as ever, and we'll get that spike
हाँ
down.
ये
अरे
SCT
यार.
2
SCT
players
बनन
remain
पड़ेगी.
on the defense side, and Fnatic have an advantage, but that extra player only has a pistol.
Keeps things interesting. Lurk of Chronicle has been cut out, but Alpha's looking to interrupt this with his timing through lamps, so Sugetsu has a lot of space to clear.
So, I mean, full sight, right? Where the players are sitting.
क्लियर करना था
They
उसको.
went in towards Showers, but that's where Poster was. Didn't find him. It gets worse and worse because as the
हाय
time ticks
नहीं.
away, the value of utility should be better.
नाइस
Alpha
अल्फा
activates
नाइस.
and takes
ये
out
अल्फा यार का ही मैप है.
Sadak. This is going to have to be the
अल्फा ही मार.
surrender in the site. It's going to be Fnatic to win the bonus round.
टाइम ही नहीं है
एग्जिट
अभी.
फ्रैग. अरे नहीं नहीं ले पाया भाई.
Work out.
एग्जिट
कोई
फ्रैग
ना.
नहीं ले पाया. कोई ना राउंड आ गया अपने पे. कोई
राउंड
दिक्कत
निकल गया
नहीं.
बस.
Everything that they needed in that round, they've
एक वो
smashed the match
फैंटम बच
balance
गया
of
ना.
KC. The approach from them, multi-layered. There was presence map-wide. Find always a map
और काम
that
भी
has
हो गया.
They're stressing.
been a key component of their pool. Boaster described it as an old baby, right? You think back to 2021 and what this initial team was built upon when it came into the organization, and I think, yeah, you just see there, Kron takes the timing. They know that they can reclaim the short space after removing the utility early on and the player presence from KC.
It's an early timeout from Carmine Court. Round 3, everything going wrong. I mean, sure, like, they have been resolute in positions, but in terms of how the sites have worked, in terms of how they've tried to deny Fnatic, it feels as if they're just getting ran over completely.
For Fnatic before, showers had been the main area of focus, in my eyes at least, in terms of how they'd look to manipulate the map where you're expecting a player to be later into the round. Alpha, yeah, very often being so important in just sending the drone out and capturing that back for them, but in the previous round, KC having dropped off of those
टाइम आउट ले
positions,
लिया.
allowed Fnatic in.
हाँ टाइम आउट लिया है केसी ने.
See here, Astra struggles.
यार
maybe in a
एस्ट्रा
non-mirror,
बहुत
but
क्यूट है.
एक्स्ट्रा वाज एक्स्ट्रा करेक्ट.
an interesting one.
क्यूट है यार
Because
एस्ट्रा.
बट एक्स्ट्रा का फायदा
coming
बहुत है
into
एक
playoffs with the only
तो
team
वो कहीं से भी
that were
स्मोक
playing
वगैरह
really
कर
good here,
सकता.
but KC another now.
It's the same again from Fnatic. This time a stack from Fountain, just to highlight how slow they do want to approach it. This time, Carmine Core trying to show some sort of presence behind smokes. Aves noted by Alpha.
Fnatic already with momentum at their backs here on Bind. Speaking to Scott, he was saying of the difficulty moving into champs to generate that illusion that you really do have the wind in your sails with the gaps in play, but the setup for all the teams. And for KC, This is for their tournament lives, for the most important tournament you could possibly think of. Parisian homecoming for the French organization. The blue wall beckoning them.
Yeah.
On this round, Nico was Martin good.
Oh my god.
By Alpha.
Nice one.
Nice shot.
ये देखो तेहो पूरा मतलब वो फोर्स कर देता है.
निकलो तुम भाई.
अरे भाई क्रैशिस.
क्या कर दिया भाई.
भाई
ट्रेड करा दिया.
भाई प्लान करने के लिए वो ही नहीं होता है. प्लान करने के लिए नहीं होता है. गन भी ले लो.
Spike needs to go down safely and will do, but this is a big ultimate.
ओ प्लांटर को नहीं लिया, बच गए.
Chronicle at least is able to trade.
प्लांटर को नहीं लिया, बच गए.
तोड़ दिया शायद. बचा दिया.
डेडलॉक का यही है इम्पोर्टेंट. राउंड पे नहीं उठाएगा. नथिंग देयर. किसी और को उठा लिया. कम ऑन. ये भाई मुझे लगा ये राउंड हाथ से गया. अगर प्लांटर उठ जाता ना तो प्लान करने का टाइम नहीं रहता. 4 सेकंड्स कुछ बचे हुए थे.
डिकॉय को ही उठाता है वो. ऐसा ही.
KC growing tired perhaps of seeing Chronicle's name in that kill feed.
4 kill by Chronicle. एज भी खराब है. खेल रहा है बंदा. उसकी बीवी आई हुई है.
और क्या अब तो जोश आ गया भाई.
ये देखो ये भी बेहोश हो गए. कोच भी बेहोश.
Glad that they got out at the other end. Viper's Pit up and available.
And into another gun round, the rifles of which doesn't feel like we've seen too many of from KC up until now.
Yeah, and it feels like Chronicle having that Viper's Pit is the one thing that Fnatic can use to break the backs of defense.
That's if they move into post, and as we know, 23 from 23, yet to lose one, but the focal point for me again has to be the start of the round.
बहुत बढ़िया कंट्रोल किया है ड्रोन को.
To stave them off as it's a fake TP, double fake TP from Martin. Crash is closing in.
Fnatic scaling up. There's players behind.
ये पावर यूज करने के चक्कर में ही क्रैशेस जा रहा है. देखो खुद देख लो भाई. हाथ में पावर ही होता है. क्या बोलूं मैं. देखो
that Viper's Pit that we spoke about, it is still there and
Warning
available.
के पास है
Thinking
टैब.
about it.
1v3 करना होगा ना.
With this knowledge in mind,
चलो.
क्रैशिस हमेशा पावर के साथ ही गया है.
slow down any retake attempts. You feel like he might just give this one a go with the ult even.
Think about it, but I think he wants just one more. He gets the opportunity, plenty of opportunities.
नहीं होगा. इट नहीं यूज करेगा.
भाई क्रैशिस 2 राउंड पावर के कारण ही गया है. हाथ में पावर होता है, फिर पावर छोड़ के गन लेते लेते मर जाता है.
You even attempt the possibility that it could happen because of how brilliant a game Kron has been having week after week, responding to critics as you expect him to do. Fantastic from Sadak to get a couple there on the A defense, and finally KC off the mark from their timeout.
This time it seems a Fnatic are up. Have a lot more direction. The default more heavier on the A side.
Oh, so gets
अरे कायाक डाउन हो गया.
exploring this extremity now.
Nice.
Alpha 1 knows about the second.
Does he know about the third? Sadak so far back.
Still lingering around with the showers control. It stops any kind of split execution coming in from Fnatic, and it's the first real foray from KC into the limits of bind. Martin hasn't really been trying to force the issue as much as you'd expect with how well he's been doing. That's the step up that you want to see on the defense, really, to offset Fnatic back in control of this game.
इधर पायरो ले.
That's what Pyro is.
Another exposed area on the map. Fnatic knowing that they can contact into a lot of space against the deadlock. Finally the vice wall hit, and that the info. The call to arms for Martin, who's the only real player in a position to actually challenge here.
Whom are you supporting? Dumb luck. I am actually supporting FNC. But the current scenario is like something like KC is also doing well. Even FNC is also not giving up. So both the team are equal. So I am a FNC fan. I love to see play FNC. Hopefully they win, but KC are also doing good, you know. I hope FNC win, yeah. Oh.
Hang on. Low as well.
1v2, 10 HP, not
It's just a
possible.
1 versus 1 essentially. But Crashes wants
NT.
to deny this fight plan.
डिप्लोमेटिक आंसर हाँ वही मतलब क्या ही बोल सकते हैं इसमें लाइक what can I say more? I have to accept the defeat of FNC also if they doesn't perform well, and cheers for KC as well as because they are performing too well. We saw in the first map and also in the second map it was so close. FNC did it thankfully. That's all I can say.
We're so successful. Last couple of rounds haven't been. Well, that's it. We didn't get to post on the.
And who are you supporting? Is it KC or FNC?
A record breaker. That is the first post plant that Fnatic have lost on Bind this year. And if there was any other reason to call a timeout, that would be it. Felt like they had the right measures in place. Just KC stripping away.
PRX, oh my god, that is my damn favorite team.
Ground down.
PRX is so consistent.
Not much money behind Fnatic.
I just wanna see the top teams compete. Answer out of syllabus. Yeah, PRX is goated team. I love PRX Jing. I call him Jingu. He's so good.
Yeah, I would agree.
And PRX is consistent. FNC was very, you know, good earlier. But now they have become inconsistent. And PRX is consistent. PRX is logged in. Hopefully I can see them in champs also with the same energy, same vibe. That's all I can say. Your rank. I don't play comp as of now. I just play for fun, just like, you know, Swift plays and all, Unrated and all. I gave up on compy. I can't take the stress in Mumbai server especially. So I don't play comps. My rank is peak is silver, but I haven't spent more time in that rank, so it's bronze only. I don't play compy. You can check out my streams of Valorant. Always Swift play. Peak rank is silver, but I haven't played much that time because I was doing job. I was busy there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're beginning to flood, but it's just Martin looking for a different angle of
Got
approach.
you, huh?
Dimensional drift
I
used.
can't take the stress of comp.
Actually went all the way to show us,
People are even getting serious in Swift plays and all. What can I say more? Which field are you in? I am in the aviation field. Currently, I am not doing any job over there. Unemployed kind of.
कमबैक हो रहा है केसी
यार केसी का कमबैक as expected. If FNC loses this, they will just get out of the playoff.
Plenty in play for either side. Could very much direct the fate of this first half. Feels like a lot's been done, right, in terms of like
मुझे लगा मैं रेफरल मांग लेता हूँ. अच्छा आप कौन से फील्ड में हो वैसे?
How they loaded the comps for defender side and never got enough on Corrode. Seems the exact same on Bind.
It's hard to see your team getting.
You're also seeing Pyro now fit this expectation that he can fulfill multiple roles. The reason why he was brought into this KC team is he's buying into that project, which is very off the cuff. It's not the standard that you'd expect. The different things that they want to try and run, as we've just hit
IT. Oh, nice.
Pause before we get back into this one, but yeah,
you can like really get some good job somewhere and get a good package for yourself.
We are about to
It's
head
a
back
good,
into game. I
you
was
know,
just gonna say,
feel.
you said that if there was a tech,
यार भाई
that we would
कैसे?
maybe wish a special man a happy birthday. Yeah, so happy birthday to
What
Slim.
happened to
We
my
had more
boy
to go.
Kayak?
We would have sung him happy birthday.
क्या
but
हो
there
गया
is no
कायाक
tech,
को?
thankfully, so
ऐसे तो नहीं
unlucky,
खेल रहा
mate.
था वो.
There you go. Back to it. At the same time,
Recharge
KC in
चाहिए
this
आई.
round have been
हैं
pretty
आइट?
aggressive in terms of pushing
अल्फा को
down
आइट.
A shot, so they have a good
यार
idea
अगर
of how
प्लेज
this
ऑफ में
round
ऐसे
looks.
एलिमिनेट
It's
हो
a
रहे
straight
जब
execute to me.
सेंटिनल G2 PRX ये सब टीम्स के साथ
Flex
मैच
right in
होगा
the forefront still. Fnatic not
तब
quite
क्या
out.
होगा?
Sadak still holding it down. First of the kills picked up and Moster recall of the smoke to wait his way
डेडलॉक
out
खुद
into the
उसके
corner.
वो पावर में वो हो
Best
जाता है
thing
यार.
happening on the
डेडलॉक इज
opposite side.
50-50
Sugetsu
एजेंट.
still doing his job and KC backfilling this space
होगा
with
तो
bodies.
होगा.
Pyro
टिके
beating
तो
out.
चांद तक,
Confident
नहीं तो
move to
शाम
make,
तक.
but one which
वाह
has
ये बढ़िया था कुछ.
established that
हाँ.
authority. Given them
हमारा
complete
तो
side
अल्ट में
control with
मैंने
the spike.
लिटरली एक बार पर्ल में डेडलॉक
Fnatic
खेलती हूँ
go
मैं.
to get this
पर्ल में
back,
मैंने
right?
मुंह पे जहाँ
So
पे वो
many
ओडिन
eyes
लेके
trained
बैठा
on
था
this
उधर मैंने
position.
एंगल लेके
Absolutely
अल्ट
no
करा.
utility
नथिंग देयर.
for
मेरा
नथिंग
तो
देयर.
मोस्ट
get it back either.
ऑन
मेरा तो
स्ट्रीम
ऑब्वियसली
है
है.
वो. ऑन
Support to
स्ट्रीम है वो गेम
jump
प्ले.
out and grab
मैं
it.
उधर
जितनी
से ही
बार
ओडिन
खेला
पूरा
है
स्पैम कर रहा है. मैंने उधर ही अल्ट किया.
Fnatic are
नथिंग देयर. व्हाट?
happy to call it there.
30
Yeah.
seconds left.
10
Clearing
बार
their
में से मेरा
options.
सिर्फ 2 ही बार सही हुआ.
A
राइट.
much quicker round
बाकी
from them. Just
पूरे 8
typical
बार
slugs. It's no
नथिंग देयर.
snail pace that we
नथिंग देयर
get out
वही
of
आया.
them. And to talk about the
सेव
ramifications
करने
as
लग
well
गए
of
शायद.
और
Fnatic
ये
facing all of
साउंड
this to
टैप
also
भी
bring
जो
it
है
back. Of course,
वो
they
शिफ्ट
open
वॉक
up
करेगा तो
quickly
काम
as
नहीं
well.
करता. ठीक है.
You have to think of the
तुम
other
अगर
teams
हो
in this
उसी
stage
रेंज
of
में
the
और
bracket,
एनिमी उसी
right?
टाइम पे
If
वॉक इन कर
Fnatic
ले
were to
तुम
go
भी
out
स्टन हो
here,
जाओगे.
KC keeping the dream alive. That
फिर अगर योरू का
makes them
क्लोन
so much
फेक
more
क्लोन भी
interesting
वॉक
for
इन कर ले और
whoever
उस
it is
वो
they end up
डिटेक्ट हो
facing.
जाए
Now
तो
you've got GX
साउंड
waiting
गया.
in the next game.
मतलब फेक वो डिटेक्ट हो गया तो
सेंसर गया.
साउंड
not in a
सेंसर गया.
position to
पावर
maybe
एक यूटिल गया.
make life more
ऐसा है
difficult for
डेडलॉक.
some of the other teams that they could be facing at champs.
Yeah, and I think as well, like for the most part, when we think of what champs looks like in qualification, it's really simple for the teams
4-4
who
हो
are
गया.
out of the top 4 of champs. It's top 4, top 2 or nothing.
Simple in terms of permutations, but the task at hand, of course,
Oh, of course, yeah.
a difficult one. But KC up to it. 4 from 4. Breaking Fnatic's post plant
बन गया
along
मेरा
the
तो
way.
काम.
Could this be a sign of the times of some change on the horizon? An aggressive move made themselves. Double combo on the
अरे
flashes is
बूस्टर को पकड़ लिया.
fantastic. And Martin teed up to take the first of the round.
ओह
Oh, and Kayak at the same time catches Sadak trying to retreat. There's an opportunity to
3v3.
fight towards the B site, but it's so far away. KC have a chance to deny it.
Yeah, Martin caught inspecting his own footwear, but forfeits the space in the end. It's a very deep thrash from a
आ रहा
launch.
वही से
Alves
वही.
not wanting to get caught and making sure he makes the full clear, but Fnatic fighting through elbow. Left alone in this endeavor.
खत्म.
Only problem is look at Hooker right now. Sugetsu's still lying in wait.
Oh, but Kayak on the line and Aves still falling back. Sweat beads on his forehead, knowing that he's the last
Plant हो जाना
line
चाहिए
in
था
the
अभी
A
तक.
site and Fnatic.
केसी का प्लान जल्दी जल्दी होगा. गेको है ना. विंगमैन को डाउन ये लोग जब छुपे रहते तो नहीं करते. होने ही देते प्लान.
बट गेको में एक और एक दिक्कत है. अगर विंगमैन डाउन और बहुत पीछे है तो खत्म ही हो गया फिर करिए. सुसाइड करने जैसा हो गया.
Martin inside the smoke. The first of the kills needs more though.
2v2.
Finds himself removed. Getsu looking for the gravity well to stop the
गया
ball.
गया. मार्टिन भी है.
Goes in, crashes edge of the area.
And both KC players now together. There's no Dizzy. There is a wingman to clear close
बढ़िया.
corners. But both players make their approach.
दोनों ही अच्छे प्लेयर जिंदा है केसी में से.
A star to use. Silent drop attempted. Kayak not yet hearing it at all.
मेरा कभी-कभी अरे
punishes it and it's all on crashes.
Crashes come on wingman defuse पे.
Wingman on the defuse. And Aves to save the day.
विंगमैन डिफ्यूज कर रहा है.
कायाक को हो क्या गया है? What the hell?
नहीं खेल पा रहा.
Advantage as well that they can begin to grow.
सिंपल 1v1 है.
And when
Time
you
to
think
rip
that
this guy.
Fnatic have the right
उधर
group,
देख
the
भी
right
नहीं रहा
call
था, वो
to
कहीं
go
और
and
देख
push
रहा
it
था,
a little
फायर
bit
आया
more
उसने
forward.
उधर देखा और मार दिया.
And have is giving it.
Yeah, and for KC, the big
इसकी
takeaway
नजर
from
लग
that
गई
round is
कायक
they're
को.
not scared to make a play. This combination of flashes between the Dizzy and the Yoru flashes is brilliant because you've either got to break it or turn face away from it, which means that you're going to get caught in an awkward position. Boaster finds himself on the receiving end.
And the big thing as well is since Fnatic's timeout,
W
KC
lineup.
have been able to win 3. It's a total of 5 in a row.
Still feel like you need to see more.
Yeah. The question entirely is, do you invest that second timeout later in this half, right? Do you want to really challenge what KC are able to do, or keep one
No way.
timeout in your back pocket for when you move to defense?
So we're waiting to find out. Fnatic will be happy with how this half has gone so far. It's up to scratch, but their attack also the stronger of the two. And with pieces in position, something from the strat book, an A execution with Shower's control this time.
Trying to get out. Utility good.
And the cat
What?
the kill! Suggestion completely blind!
Blind था क्या? कायक blind था?
His postal sheriff, and he's
हाँ.
only able to find
Oh
one
my
that
God.
was Sugetsu. So KC will at least be even on the half.
Sugetsu showing his best side. Both of the players that we've seen
भाई replay दिखाओ एक बार. Replay.
international events on multiple
हाँ.
occasions, that is, with 11 kills right
आ
now.
गया replay.
Brilliant anchor work from them, and even Sugetsu, a player who's been around so long, almost having to reinvent himself as an anchor
भाई
on smokes rather than
कैसे?
sentinel in this KC
ये
side.
भी blind था सुगेत्सु.
Retaining the role with all the shake-up that the pyro change would have made. Ults for them to work with now.
I think the most interesting thing out of all this, right, was we were expecting an improvement from KC, and it still continues.
3v3.
That was the spike down.
Boaster finds a double, but it's that concession.
Yeah.
Alpha penalized. A little less utility to hit the sights with. You're really looking at Kayak being the one to close the gap. A recurring point that sometimes just the setup perhaps not quite being there for him. Needing to over-deliver in some senses as he's currently just bookmarking the B space.
Trying to make their way over. But it's what KC have to come back in with, right? If Fnatic even are successful and finding Pyro, getting the spike down, you've got to be looking at the Annihilation, the Steel Garden, if
Time नहीं है अभी
the
ज़्यादा.
Cosmic Divide. This is not over even if Fnatic can get to post.
Ooh. Pyro has the wall for long, and he's ready for this TP if it comes in. Early Steel Garden, buying plenty more time.
Yeah, think how long those primaries are going to be offline for.
Nightfall to come in.
Ult भी आ
Pyro's
गई.
way. This to set KC up for a 7.
गया एक बंदा
All
detect
focus on him as it stands.
करके रे.
Sugetsu's arrived to the scene. The knight in shining armor sprays down his first, but there is more
2v2.
to find. Chronicle supported by Crashy's other side of the wall. Sadak arriving
Right.
with an ult of his own.
अरे
It's not quite gonna
Waste,
hit.
alt waste.
Stepping out
Waste.
into the open. Saving face for
Nothing there
Sugetsu
होगा बढ़िया.
in another clutch.
Nice
On the
भाई
other side.
जीत
अरे.
गए. Oof.
And in a head-to-head we've seen so many times across
6-5.
the years. Chronicle has remained on top.
And continues to do so. Big round to win out if you're Fnatic. It's not just the fact that you win the round and bring yourself one step closer, but all 3 ultimates that I named were used.
Terminator Chronic.
ओ भाई बहुत मुश्किल से जीते हैं ये वाला राउंड.
So when you think Fnatic were finished off, their fist emerges from beneath the lava. KC here with Martin bringing the op out for what feels like the first time in this series. Boaster is outlined on the other side of the smoke, but just doesn't pull the trigger.
Fnatic at the same time hard prodding this A site. Martin changing up his angles, being dynamic as ever. I mean, Fnatic would have identified this op on B, but it's now A side. Kayak needs to be careful.
KC re-clearing
Oh no.
Alpha on a very wide angle, gets caught on the full clear by Martin. Mesh broken kayak. Fnatic still plotting course across the map.
Big information through that arc rose. Got to remember, KC only knew that Alfia was towards this side of the map.
He's gonna flash himself for the peak. It's not the off.
Oh my god, yaar, kaise?
5 versus 3 situation. KC in prime position to get a 7th to keep their
Martin के पास
advantage
operator
in the
है.
second half. But it's the B site execution again
30 seconds left.
that we look towards.
If they can get these two players clean, Fnatic can find themselves in a 3 versus 3 post plan. Big if though.
An even bigger exchange about to happen. Boaster first through the window. Sugetsu able to claim it.
7-5.
The rest with Sadak.
Okay.
In zone flawless. Minimal returns you would feel for the defender's side.
Abhi defending FNC.
And Fnatic have to follow this up on a half which
Easy
has
guy
suited them so far.
Listen, it was a 7-5 half that Fnatic were able to get on their defence last time out. That would give us overtime, and the way this series is going, that's probably the expected result. We'll find out
7-5.
after the break.
Doable for FNC, but KC वाले बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे.
Red Bull gives you wings.
While the KC fans watching at home still may be a ways away from booking their flights to Paris in the hopes of seeing their team there, do have a discount. VCT EMEA 15 or 15% off those champs tickets as we've unlocked further capacity at the Accor Arena. Ivry Kukaron, the home stadium of KC, hoping to step out in front of the blue wall, but it still feels so far-fetched. A lot of thinking has been done. The often animated Stadak now sat with a stoic expression. 7-5 the scoreline. KC leads, but that could all very quickly change.
Yeah, we were just talking about it the last time that these two played. Remember, Bind was one of the maps, and Fnatic put up a positive defender side. Can they go one better here as we head back into the second half? Pistol round, which Fnatic have shown they are good at time and time again. Kayak hasn't had the best start to this map once again, but it's always the defender side where we see an uptick in his performance.
And always that second half, the same for Alpha, yeah, the two players highlighted by the desk coming into the map. Close to the one with a lot on his plate right now.
Arey baap
And
re.
Martin, the face of opposition, has managed to find the opener.
Kayak looking to find something else, break off the weaker arm of the push, but they haven't found Sugetsu.
Oh,
nice.
Will get him though. Put the advantage
Nice.
towards Fnatic. Is Kron
Martin
puts the
अकेला है.
post at home. Unless Martin can come up with a clutch. It's a must for Martin now. Has one TP, finds his first. Fade away Martin. And the spike planted on the other side of the box.
Yeah, up against Crashes, but he's taking so much damage.
Nice one.
And Fnatic will find a very important pistol round.
Coming right down to the wire, the 1v1s. Alpha wins a huge engagement down short. Stunning his way in after Kayak gets a clean kill. Same for Chronicle. And Martin's best efforts still outshone by the Fnatic full force. Those are your win
7-7
conditions.
हो जाएगा अभी.
Might just be a wave goodbye soon.
It could be Mr. Cool
Hi, Petrus.
showing up. Into this round. We expect Fnatic now to go and even out the round count.
Slow attack speed is
ये लोग ऐसे आते हैं ना तीन लोग एक साथ.
especially with a comp like this.
एक साथ
There's
खड़े
not a
हो
lot of
जाते
utility
हैं.
to throw at it if you want to go down that route. Playing through the channels already and setting up players in showers with the spike, so potential to come back here later on if they want to. Just getting orbs onto Martin has to be priority number one. 2 away from the dimensional drift coming into the first gun round.
I mean, Norb, Spike Plant, whatever way you can do it, even finding kills, I mean, he's good for it. Fnatic are starting to send bodies towards this B side of the map, leaving A a lot weaker, and KC with making the right decision on which side to hit.
One caught by the net other side of the wall. KC flooding out. Pipeline is tapped by Sadak. In fact, they want to go ahead and chase down at least another kill, and they're going to pick up two.
अरे क्रॉनिकल्स क्यों गया पहले?
Like more than just a silver lining here for KC, but that's the spike now dropped by Boaster. And Fnatic starting to find players in position on site.
Shigetsu just led
2v3.
Realistically, just trying to hold off. Martin's going for the round the world.
Goes the full way round, and he has the space now to get the B
क्या हुआ
point.
इतना शांत क्यों हो जाते बीच बीच?
कौन मैं?
It's going to be enough.
हाँ
So
और
an
क्या?
extra 300
मैच
credits.
वो क्या
per
कमेंट
player.
करूँ और
And his ultimate available for the next. But could he win it with Phantom in
1v3 है nice.
And there's the
7-7.
No.
Let's go guys. 7-7 हो गया है.
7-7.
That they were looking to build towards in the next round. So that being said, Fnatic's bonus
इसके बाद है नावी और
pretty
वाइटिलिटी.
decent overall. Rifle saved.
नावी में हीरो है ना?
नावी पे हाँ नावी पे हीरो है.
It's a check in the box for both teams. For KC, securing extra finance, full shields on almost everyone, and the Euro ult of Martin, of course, having its part to play in this following round. And for Fnatic, finding the first couple.
सेंटिनल का एक भी मैच नहीं देखा. सेंटिनल के सारे मैच लेट नाइट ही होते हैं 2 बजे के बाद.
Than what we saw from KC is push these extremities, and this time it's long. And statement of intent from Kayak.
Finding this so much space for Fnatic. Look at the bodies straight away. The reaction to this, starting to head towards the A site. Martin using the dimensional drift to clear out.
Still don't have full backside control though. Fnatic with a monopoly on this, and Kayak continuing to use his lurk. Has dropped the fake out to potentially trigger the flank watch from the wall as well. KC still setting up, still no spike plant.
Yeah, and this is going to be a problem because Fnatic are now waiting for Kayak to get into position, and finally he does so, getting Sugetsu. Spike down, and the
Nice.
गया.
Nice Alpha. क्या बात है? Oh my God. Let's go. ऐसे परफॉर्म करो, नजर ना लगे FNC. Come on.
It's a monumentous round for Fnatic and an
Monumentish round बोला भाई. Monumentish.
Monumentish.
ये क्या होता है monumentish?
ये कौन सा नया आविष्कार कर दिया? Monumentish.
Clone to step over the wall on the second side of short, so anyone still considering the possibility would have been looking elsewhere. A layered defense as the rotation is called quickly. And a timeout called on the KC side.
KC ने फिर से एक टाइम आउट ले लिया है, जो कि मेरे ख्याल से अर्ली है, क्योंकि पिस्टल राउंड जीतेगा जो, वो दूसरा राउंड भी तो जीतेगा ही ना. उन पे लाइक यू नो बाय है, फिर एक राउंड वो लोग ऊपर गए, तो मतलब क्या
एलेक्स की तरह भटक गया क्या?
ये भड़का ये रहा है, व्हाइट कलर जो पहनना है पहन के बैठा है ना, ये बोल रहा है बोलो इनको, बोलो नहीं हो रहा है. 13-0
कैसा खेल रहे हो तुम लोग ऐसा खेल रहे हो जिसके मेरे समोसे में आलू नहीं निकला. कैसे खेल रहे हो तुम?
Second of them was Martin getting a plant in towards the end, but KC have been able to find site control. It's their own post plants which have struggled.
इनको भी टाइम मिल गया.
Compare that to Fnatic and how efficient they are from a similar position, and there's a stark contrast.
मैंने इतना क्या बोलते हैं, FNC के कोच को हमेशा शांति देखा, इतना कभी ये देखा नहीं कि वो रीच करता है. बहुत शांत बैठ, जितने भी सारे कोच से सबसे ज्यादा शांत देख.
We've seen a fast pace look from KC, a slower one. Looks like after the timeout, they usually go for the quick look, and towards Hookah, that's what you're expecting here.
नाइफ अच्छी तो है.
But at the same time,
Deadlock.
Fnatic are happy to give that to Carmen Court. Would rather just leave Kayak with a TP towards A and him holding on the longer line of sight. Fnatic are maybe thinking about
Kayak ने अपने वो भी शॉट मिस कर दिया.
as they send the drone down.
Some important reconnaissance in the information game for both teams. Fnatic with their B long control again, and for KC revealing where
और
this
एक शॉट
operator
मिस कर
currently
दी
sits. Still wanting to take the long control as Kayak has backed up towards defender spawn.
Oh, and
ऑलमोस्ट
Boaster
फंस
just
जाता
caught
बोस्टर.
all the utility being sent, but Alpha, he has his line of sight back just at the perfect time.
Boaster playing
इधर
इनके
against
तीन
Flash,
लोग
waiting
एक
for Alpha
साथ
to
आते
take
हैं.
contact, and it
भाईचारा ऑन टॉप.
नाइस.
and it goes
स्पाइक
their
डाउन.
way.
अरे क्या मारा
Though
मारा
through the
भाई.
TP,
टीपी में गिरा
KC
है
need
तो
to
इधर
make their
से
way
आना
back up
पड़ेगा.
आना
below
पड़ेगा.
to challenge
आना
this hold
पड़ेगा
and
तुमको.
get
ठीक
आना
है.
back
पड़ेगा.
पड़ेगा.
in the teleporter.
कुछ
I'm
चारा
not sure
नहीं
if
है
Fnatic
अभी.
have
कुछ
realised
चारा ही
this
नहीं तुम्हारे.
entirely, but they have players in the right position. You look over towards A, it's both Chronicle,
ये
Crashers
करेंगे.
waiting on the other side of
सेव.
the door to open up, and with the money on KC, looking like it's going to be a save call. I mean, there's just not enough time. Too far to go, too far adrift.
10
Just seeing
seconds
if he
left.
can spot a straggler, but
Saving.
Fnatic have done their job. The defense gets
7-9.
stronger, and KC's money, well, there's a hole in their pocket.
W.
चलो ऐसे निकाल.
आया क्या शॉट मिस मत करना. दिल पे धक धक होने लगता है.
वही तो.
And with that being said, there's two
क्या एक और टाइम आउट ढूंढ रहा है
big
क्या किसी?
influences on the
नहीं.
server. And it doesn't just come
Last
through
time
the
out.
kills, it comes through the calls and the plans, the creations that they're coming up with round to round.
Yeah, and for Sadak here, you can see as well how
ये
switched
कहीं का
on he's
आपस
been
में
throughout the
वो
entire
चल रही है
halftime. He
बातचीत.
was the one leading the
दोनों
conversation.
को दिखा रही है.
That's why
नहीं.
he's here. Imported
IGL
from
है ना.
Americas, a world champion in years gone by, trying to fly the blue flag for KC, but with a shortage of IGLs regionally. He was one of the best to bring in. It's these mid rounds that you're really putting under the most scrutiny. Mixed in
Nice.
try and make something
Nice.
happen, but with Martin and Pyro blunted,
भाई W यार स्पाइक ही
Argentine
डाउनलोड.
has limited tools at his fingertips.
Kashi's happy with what's been got. Knows where the spike is.
3v4 बट काyak
Well,
पे
the
ऑपरेटर
replay
है.
confirms the information.
I have the spike. Spike dropped.
KC would have
गेटो को
ले लिया
स्पाइक
spike.
दे दिया गया है.
area of the round where Fnatic have so often been well set up when we think about the calling and what KC want to do. It's a freeze for now. Just seeing if they can spot some kind of overextension, but with the knowledge that Kayak is on the line, yet to be routed out. He is ready for this.
KC still taking their time.
But
चलो आइक
we're
में
so
फंसते.
concerned of KC's post plants. If they can even get the
इनका
spike down
विंगमैन
here, it's
इनके
gonna be
हाथ
so
में
difficult
वापस
to
भी आ
convert.
जाता है खम्बू इनका.
Well,
नाइस.
Kayak's got the angles that he's been looking for. That
देखते
spike
ही ऐसा है ना
down
मतलब.
and KC left scrambling.
बाउंस बैक हो
How do
सके
we
बाद.
even get this one into post? But they're trying to take it a step further through the smoke. Still utility being thrown at them, and still they can't get any semblance of control.
Oh my God, nice.
The spam working, and Fnatic
W
now
वो बढ़िया था.
on double
YouTube.
digits.
10-7.
Not the full investment from KC. That's
और
the
बस
round
3
coming
राउंड.
up and just as important as the last. Still seeing a lot of the same issues though.
3 राउंड से. मुझे क्यों लग रहा है और एक टाइम आउट है.
Finding the first couple of kills with the setup, and Kayak's op now firing on all cylinders. Everything falling into
अगर जीत
place
गए
as
तो
you
किससे लड़ेगी
expect.
फिर ये?
आई थिंक जायंट एक्स से या फिर टीम हेयर
And just
टिक्स.
even getting
जायंट
the
एक्स
spike
प्रोबेबली.
down now feels like such a Herculean effort for KC.
Still,
जायंट एक्स का गेम प्ले भी अच्छा है.
हाँ.
बुरा नहीं है. बहुत अच्छा खेलता है.
you look at the ultimates, only
But it-
really one online,
but-
right? I mean, sure Sadak's a couple off, but in terms of executes, finding that extra step, that extra something. KC,
बहुत ज़्यादा
So far
प्रीमोडियम
to
क्यों
go.
दिख रही है. बहुत ज़्यादा दिख रही है हिसाब से.
You can see it's same
हम्म.
as before. Sadak part of the pack,
ये लोग तो
On the
3 लोग एक
Sentinel.
साथ ही आते हैं.
having two of them obviously influences things a
3
little
इडियट
bit.
जैसा नहीं लग रहा है. राजू
Working with the group,
कस्तूरी.
Pyro involved.
जा भी जाते साथ में जाते हैं.
They will leave the former in position towards Hookah. Spike setting up towards long, and that is where Kayak lays in wait. Through the looking glass, he could very well decide KC's fate for the rest of this year. Oh, and it's a collide to wipe them out.
वो का शॉट था, काया क्या शॉट था वो, बहुत बढ़िया शॉट। एक ही ऑपरेटर के शॉट में 2 मार दिए।
Althea to support, and not a lot of time left. It's a thankless task, jumping out from hookah into the open arms of Kayak again. But the utility, it's not even going to buy them enough space. Poster finds Pyro, Alpha finds Martine, and Fnatic find 11. They've got
टाइम नहीं है, टाइम नहीं है।
Just trying to even just get away with a rifle. What the winners in the round. Fnatic are trying everything they can to not allow that, but it will be that gap of
चलो 7 level.
bigger and bigger. But even
Nice
the smallest
one.
of triumphs is an admission of defeat.
मुंह पे ही आ गए थे, हमारा ही।
Not been able to get past Fnatic's impenetrable defender side.
2 राउंड बस, 2 राउंड।
Successive, and through the scope of Kayak,
क्या शॉट
he
था।
delivers the bullet which may just have put KC's Paris run into extinction.
Need that back.
We're not quite on the very last chance yet, but we are certainly getting there.
Bring them down.
Trying to challenge Crash's hold on Shivers. What? 2 rifles in the mix.
You can see the play. It's Alpha's ult here to crunch.
Exactly, but I mean, it would only really be one player that they would find. Kayak's operator.
Nice one, Kayak.
I was going to find Martine. I don't think it's even necessary to invest ultimates, which allows Fnatic in the next round to have 3, potentially 4, depending on how many orbs Kron can collect.
Sadak should have been the next to find his name written on a tombstone. Martine, the one exclusion from this round as it stands. Those conversations of consistency to be brought back up again. Because Fnatic, ever consistent on their defensive holds. The spike has managed to break into the site through the hands of Sugetsu.
अकेला बचा हुआ है ये।
He must deal them
क्या कर रही
some kind
अरे
of
भाग रहा यूट्यूब पे यूट्यूब आ रहा
all the way out.
वो बढ़िया यूट्यूब पे यूट्यूब आ रहा है, वो भाग रहा।
कनकस भी कर दिया। कनकस भी हो गया। नाइस।
और आओ चलो 7-2 लास्ट मैच पॉइंट पे
Fnatic still favourites wherever you put them in the bracket. They rewrite the narratives themselves. That's always been the story, especially in stage 2. Never to be sent to lower. KC never return. The opportunities for them to finish it on Corrode, perhaps now. The one that they'll look back on in the following months. But as it stands, the big thing for me continues to be Martine. I mean, he's broken even. That feels, you know, just not quite enough. And I hate to point the finger, but this is him in the limelight, his chance to step up, and it's Kayak instead.
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but I think there's been many more problems than just player
एक और
performance
round,
in
come
this.
on.
लास्ट राउंड है, बस मार दो भाई।
The game plan just hasn't hit for Carmine Core.
3 जाएंगे।
The spike now beginning to group up with the rest of the pack. It seems like the final curtain call could be on A.
You want more? Here's more.
Do have some ults to throw at this, but it's the last left to give this half a chance. Fnatic in position.
चलो
They have to
showers
shower
पे
control
शॉट
again. KC need an outlet, need something in their last opportunity.
Nice one. Chronicle ने बचा लिया।
Plaguing them from getting to Paris, but KC
अरे यार।
They will live to fight another round. Keeping
ऑपरेटर आ
themselves
गए।
alive for one round longer. That's what it needs to be. One
नहीं
round
थी
at a
ऑपरेटर
time,
सेव नहीं मारा।
taking it slow. You know, off the back of that round win,
They did also get Martin's dimensional drift up online, and that's what they need to do, is space these ultimates correctly, get through Fnatic's own ultimate cycle, which is up online and available. Yeah, a couple for Fnatic, and a couple used by KC in the previous. Kron's pit towards short. Not often will he ease up from this position. Martin's ult is the direct counter and the expected one. KC may want to play with those kinds of expectations. Is there fuel in the fire for Sadhak to turn this one around? The group up on B feels like the right play.
ये फिर से 3 लोग वापस एक साथ.
Finding that information allows Fnatic, when you'd imagine, to start to throw people towards the B side, but no, instead stalwart in the positions. Maybe
Come on,
KC
एक
were
round
taking risks
चाहिए
themselves and
यार.
move towards the E side.
एक round
Looked
उससे
like
एक
they
round
were.
निकाल.
At the very least, Martin is going to create some sort of a fake here. Using the ult, he has the TP to
Chronicles की
clear
शादी हो
who
गई ना?
searched for
हाँ,
Chronicle within
Chronicle
the
की
fuse.
शादी हो गई.
हाँ तो Chronicles की शादी में नाचेंगे.
But doesn't last for long. It does not. And Fnatic will start to have an idea and a quick
अरे
TP
दो लोग
through
उधर टपक
allows
गए.
KC to enter in towards this round with 2 big picks. But they're going elsewhere. And 20 seconds remaining. Kayak lies in wait. His operator to hit. And the spike down.
Nice.
God.
Nice spike down. Oh my god.
शॉट तो था वापस ये अकेले ही बच गए. दोनों अकेले ही बच जाते कहीं.
W भाई बिना
भाई,
प्लान के जीत
FNC
गए. Oh my
गए.
god, FNC won यार. Let's go. भाई साहब. Oh my god, pure roller coaster, pure emotion.
भाई मजा आ गया.
हाय W. Oh my god, बहुत इसमें हार्ट अटैक वगैरह सब थे. पूरा रोलर कोस्टर था. भाई एंटी केसी बट FNC जीत लिए. माय गॉड.
क्या ही मैच निकाला है. बढ़िया.
एब्सोल्यूट सिनेमा.
24-12. But Fnatic just up to the challenge here. Yeah, and even Chronicle just below Sugetsu on the scoreboard of the final map was really feeling himself from Corrode onwards, made all of the difference. Commiserations given by the Fnatic
भाई
players.
बहुत अच्छा है. दिल
बहुत
जीत लिया.
हार्ट अटैक दिलाई लोग.
It's a shake of the hands at the end of the day, and they won't be able to make the homecoming that they would have been looking for.
उफ अच्छा लगा.
Respect shown by the fans as well. There's too many issues to try and fix in that honeymoon period. You can't put it down to just one problem. They tried their best, but could not succeed this time. And they deserve to take their bows.
ये लोग बाहर हो गए ना?
मतलब हाँ बाहर हो गए. See you next year KC.
Next year.
GGW. मजा आया यार. बहुत मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसा लग रहा था जीतेगी हारेगी जीत के. Let's go FNC. क्या बात है. Who are we? FNC.
बस मेहनत करने की जरूरत और है.
Has just about gone through it in the end. Too grand of a celebration from them, knowing that there is still a lot at stake. And heading into champs, it's all about the map pool, all about making those improvements.
W. मजा आया.
As well, we're talking a lot about champs and about that story.
बहुत ज़्यादा हार्ट अटैक वगैरह भी थे बट मजा आया. WFNC क्या बात है. W बहुत अच्छा लगा. ये let's go.
We'll be hearing from them in just a moment.
देखते हैं इनका next match कब.
Even on the other side of the server, Pyro stepping in and doing a pretty good job, all things considered, on a couple of maps, but that consistency so hard to build over time. Just waiting. Now as we
revealed नहीं है अभी तक. कल
just
आएगा.
a moment. He is waiting on the stage with
ओके Giant X है और टीम हेरिटिक्स के साथ मैच होगा किसी ना किसी को. ये 2 टीम बच गई
I'm
हैं।
now joined by
नावी और इसमें से जो जीतेगा उसका
Nice one, yeah, nice one. W gameplay.
Who's in the crowd? I
फुल
see you
मैच है।
interacting with the crowd a lot today.
I mean, if you have so many moments in the game, you actually want to be proactive with the crowd. I'm not gonna lie, today was the day.
Yeah, very special. I think they
बहुत
really
बढ़िया
enjoyed it as
खेला,
well. They're still
finally जीत
screaming
गए।
out for you. I would love to talk about your form right now because I think during the regular season towards the end, maybe individually there were some issues, you know, on the server. But what's happened since? Like, your playoffs form is incredible.
I actually start trying.
You actually started trying?
Nah, I mean, obviously, I knew we're probably gonna qualify to champs. If not because of me or my individual performance, definitely because of my teammates. And I knew if it's a perfect chance for me to take a proper rest and start practicing near the playoff stage. So I think I chose the right moment. I feel pretty confident and I'm ready to come on stage here and perform really well and maybe in the future on champs as well.
Now, you guys have been innovating, you know, a little bit here and there. We've seen some things coming out from you guys. But the defense on Haven, like, what is going on in this Haven defense? How many reps have you had on that comp?
Not that many, but it's a progress. We got 5 rounds on defense.
That's
you
what
know,
I said,
that's a win in my book.
It's more than 0. 5 is more than 0 every time.
Previous was 1, so.
Oh, there we go, more than 1. And in terms of Corrode, that comp from KC, we've never seen that comp before on Corrode from any team in the world.
बढ़िया खेला
What was your
FNC,
initial
मजा आ
reaction
गया।
when you saw them lock in the triple initiator double smokes?
I think they will just try to shuffle it.
चलो मैं अभी जा ही रही हूँ।
स्ट्रीम ऑन ही है।
हाँ, बंद कर देती हूँ ना। चलो गाइस, बाय बाय एवरीवन। थैंक यू सो मच जिन्होंने जॉइन किया, फिर हमें सपोर्ट दिखाया। थैंक यू सो वेरी मच। बहुत अच्छा लगा हमें एफएनसी का मैच देख के। ऑब्वियसली रोलर कोस्टर जैसा था क्योंकि यू नो एलिमिनेशन था। तो कल वॉच पार्टी है, किसका मैचेस है कल? कल है क्या? कल है तो कर लेंगे, बट आज सीरियसली बहुत मज़ा आया। फुल एकदम एब्सोल्यूट सिनेमा जो बोलते हैं ना, वो वाइब आया। तो आप लोगों से मिलते हैं अभी नेक्स्ट वॉच पार्टी में। होपफुली सबकी फेवरेट टीम अच्छा परफॉर्म करे, सपोर्ट करो अपने टीम को। एंड WFNC, हु आर वी? FNC, लेट्स गो गाइस, हियर वी गो। And it's me, Priyanka, signing off from today's stream. Bye bye, Pookies. Take care. Good night. Have a good night. Bye bye.